Half of both of those games.
Well, tomorrow would be whether or not you want to. Miami and Houston game is the middle one, and then Xavier, Texas is the late game. Anyway, we'll talk some hoops coming up in a little bit. You guys can hit us up on the J Southland Tow Service text line 913-586-7610. And today we are giving away a 4-pack of tickets plus parking to the Royals game next Thursday. A week from today, it is opening day out at Kauffman Stadium. Royals taking on the Minnesota Twins. We're also expected in the next hour to have MJ Melendez join us. We'll talk opening day with the Royals left fielder, right fielder, maybe catcher sometimes, all over the place.
You know, that's bordering on super utility. You play 2 outfield corner positions and catch. I mean, I don't think he's ever going to play an infield spot. Never going to be like Witt. It's not going to show him play second base tomorrow, but still.
Yeah,
He's become a lot more versatile.
We'll talk to MJ about the World Baseball Classic. He was there with Puerto Rico and in supporting his country, representing his country. So we'll talk all things baseball and see if he's into any of the college hoops stuff going on as well. But let's talk Chiefs. You heard Nick mention wide receiver again. That continues to be the number one discussion around Chiefs fans. And there's a little bit of an update yesterday on someone that towards the end of the show we had mentioned, like, okay, if McCole Hardman is signing with the Jets, which he did on that 1-year deal, the Jets' room is a little crowded. They're going to probably want to move Elijah Moore. Maybe we were planning on talking a lot about Elijah Moore today.
We were.
And then yesterday, very quickly, Elijah Moore gets traded to the Cleveland Browns. So, okay, Elijah Moore, not an option. He was traded to Cleveland. And by the way, if you're asking would I have done the deal, yes, I would. Elijah Moore, over the next 2 years, is only owed like 1.4 this year, 1.8 next year. So, yes.
And you would have traded down like 25, 30 spots in the draft. Worth it.
So I would have been all about that. But that's in the past. Can't happen. Elijah Moore is a member of the Cleveland Browns.
Maybe they want to trade him,
The one thing that continues to happen, though, man, is maybe they'll trade him next year.
Let's think outside the box. Let's see if the Browns want to trade Elijah Moore now.
The Chiefs, man, this is just another one of those, like, another opportunity that they've had. They've had every opportunity to either retain guys or add. They just haven't. And I don't think it's because if someone tweeted at me last night, like, Brett Veach just sleeping at the wheel. Like, no, I don't think that. If they wanted.
He's just on vacation.
Like, if they
Phone's
wanted
blowing up.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
Puts in his drink like it's a Corona commercial.
He has no service. He's on a remote island. He's like, oh,
Just
crap.
off
I knew
the
I was
grid.
forgetting something. Free agency.
The league year started March 15th. I thought it was April 15th. No, like, obviously that's not the case. If they wanted Juju Smith-Schuster back, they could have made a deal work. Like, if they deep down wanted him, they could have made it work. If they wanted McCole Hardman back on that 1 year, $6.5 million, they could have made it work. I'm deep down convinced if they wanted Jacoby Myers, they could have made something work. And yes, if they deep down wanted to trade for Elijah Moore, I think they could have made it happen. So, no, I am not panicking.
I'll be honest, though, man. We're getting down to the names now that I'm worried their big offseason wide receiver signing is going to be them trading for Greg Dortch. Because at this point,
It's so disrespectful to Greg Dortch.
we've made fun of on this show anyway. So he was already a target. It kind of made sense.
He was a joke week one when the Chiefs were playing him. He ended up having almost 500 yards.
Yeah, but I don't want that to be their big off-season move.
It's not the big off-season move.
Who's left? Like
the same two names, man. The same two names.
Well, and Jeff Darlington is reporting that OBJ might not be on the market much longer.
The quote from Darlington does make you wonder if it's down to DeAndre Hopkins or a surprise guy, which I still think if you're looking at what is Brett Veach doing, the likelihood of there being a move that nobody's expecting, because you know what, as Nick said a year ago today, they traded Tyreek Hill. Nobody expected that. Like, I think there's a possibility of that potentially happening. Jeff Darlington today, though, did say, quote, "We should very much consider Odell Beckham on the table for the Jets. Financials are still in the way, but I still think Odell Beckham will end up with the Jets." That's from Jeff Darlington. He's very well connected. Like, I don't think that's...
Trust his reporting.
Yeah, I don't think that's a quote that we should just say, oh, no big deal. Like, I think that's pretty strong.
Well, in fairness, if you're going with a 39-year-old quarterback, there is no messing around in the it's Super Bowl or bust over the next 2 years. You can't be waiting around to see if, maybe we'll put some together next year. Like, no. If you're going for the 39-year-old former MVP, you have to go for it all right now in this moment. So they should be more aggressive with OBJ. Look, I respect the fact that one thing I think we know for sure about Brett Veach is he has a dollar amount or a value or a trade value he caps himself at, and he does not budge from that number.
By the way, it's not a bad thing.
No, it's not. But at times you can take, I've said this before, like a little bit with yesterday. It's like, this is a time to me that you could, I don't know, move off it a little. Because move off at a little, whatever they'd offer Juju Smith-Schuster, he's still cheap. McCole Hardman was cheap. I don't think Odell Beckham Jr. is going to be all that expensive. But clearly, whatever this final number comes in at for him, and we don't know yet that he's going to get traded to the Jets, just Jeff Darlington reporting that he still thinks. Yeah. Jeff Darlington reporting that he still thinks that's where he'll end up. But it's starting to feel like your options are only in the trade market. Look, I made a Greg Dortch joke, but like at some point, it's like, that's why I mentioned Elijah Moore yesterday, and we'd originally planned on having that conversation, because when they trade Elijah Moore, that felt like the quintessential perfect Brett Veach move. Doesn't cost you that much to go get him. Doesn't cost you. He's not expensive. So what? You got these 2 years left of the rookie deal of Tony, or 2 years left of this rookie deal of Elijah Moore. You couple that with the 3 years you got remaining of Sky Moore's rookie deal. And yeah, you're not doing it with the veteran guys you can trust, but you're going to put a bunch of talented wide receivers who were relatively decently rounded draft guys. And you're going to put them in one room together, and you're going to see who rises to the top. But then Elijah Moore quickly went. I'm like, okay, well, who's left, man? I'm not panicked because the Chiefs have done such a great job, generally speaking. But I would tell you that I'm a little bit concerned that their thinking is at this point, what if we'll just make these work? And you're like, I don't want that. And that's selfish.
I would like Beckham. I would like DeAndre Hopkins as much as anybody, one of the two. And it seems less likely this morning that it's Beckham based off of the Jeff Darlington report. It seems like if there's the big name, you're down to DeAndre Hopkins. Sure. And that's what grabs headlines. That's the sexy stuff. I understand. But to your point at the end, if they can sign or draft players that they think will equal the production they lost from Juju Smith-Schuster, if not more, then that's all that matters. It doesn't have to be the sexy name. It doesn't. That's ultimately what matters. Like, do they believe with their coaching staff, with their quarterback, that they can get similar production to what they lost between McCole Hardman and Juju Smith-Schuster? If they believe the answer is yes, and it's some guy that we don't think is nearly the big name and a guy they draft, but it is the same production, then is anybody going to give a damn?
Yeah, but I mean, where are they getting 900 yards? Like, I understand. Like, nobody at this point, unless it's DeAndre Hopkins or Odell Beckham Jr.
It's not from one guy, I think, is going to be the answer, Cody.
But I mean, we just did that. We just took the
and they were the number one offense, right?
I know,
but they did just do that.
There is a limit, though. We have to admit that there is a limit of how many, because otherwise, why not just sign 7 dudes who had 300 yards last year and we'll make it work? Like, there is a step down, drop down level at some point where you're like, you might want one good wide receiver.
They're not trotting out the two guys on futures contracts and hoping they're their number 1 and number 2 wide receivers. They're not trotting out Justin Ross and John Ross and then going with a couple undrafted guys.
Now you have to Venmo
and saying that's fine. I'll Venmo myself.
I don't know. You actually recused yourself from the financial side of things, so that's going to have to be $1 to me. but you can do 50 cents to each of us. I don't care.
There you go. Can you even do that little bit amount of?
I don't know. The guy actually who texted in about Justin Ross yesterday, he actually Venmoed me $1.50. So some people are being generous with their fines.
at least $1. That should be the new standard.
The point being is, like, yes, obviously they have to have bodies, but they're not. The wide receiver core that exists, it's not just nobodies. What you're saying is you can't have a bunch of nobodies, and I would push back and say they're not nobodies that are in the wide receiver room. That's a bit of a stretch. It is very
MVS
difficult.
is the biggest name, and he's like a 650-yard guy.
We know the current wide receiver room also will not be the final wide receiver room. Whether it is a signing, whether it is the draft, what is currently there is not going to be the final product. And it's very difficult and almost rich at this point for anybody to convince me that I should be panicked based off of the very conversations we had a year ago and the panic that had set in and like, oh my gosh, locally and nationally, mainly nationally, what is this offense going to do? What's it going to look like? It's very difficult for me to have that same reaction now after I just saw how they did it. In fairness to your point, they went out and signed Juju last year to make up for it. So yeah, they need to go
and MVS technically.
So they need to go either sign somebody and draft somebody that's going to give them a decent amount of production. But I also do think they believe deep down that between Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney in particular, that there is going to be some of that 900 yards is going to come between two of them. And so you might only be looking for a guy to give you an extra 600 yards next year. And that changes the dynamic. Now, that's not me telling you that I don't want them to go and find a way to trade for DeAndre Hopkins. We are all three of us on the show are on board with that.
Yeah, we've definitely switched fully to that. We can talk more about that later because I think there might be a hang-up.
Yeah.
An issue that could arise from that deal, absent just the normal, you got to be the team who gets it done, but still, That would make us all feel better if that just happened today or tomorrow.
Tonight, though, Sweet 16. We mentioned college hoops. K-State in action. They're in the Garden tonight, one of the most historic, if not the most historic venue in all of basketball. The Wildcats 1.5-point underdogs for this game. Like, how are you feeling about Kansas State? Because we know right now, to this point, it has been a great story to the Sweet 16. The question is, how long can this story continue? Does it go past tonight, or does it end in the Sweet 16? Or are we going to be talking about tomorrow on the show, Kansas State being one win away from going to a Final Four?
I think they're going to win. I understand that they're once again an underdog. It's funny too, because like you look at the seeding, you're like, they're way better than that. And honestly, it's not like the Big 12, which was the best basketball conference in the regular season. They haven't like way underperformed. They have the second best winning percentage of anybody who put multiple teams in the tournament. Out of any, because like technically the Ivy League has a 100% winning percentage because they put
Princeton, baby,
one team in the tournament, right? But when you look at the major players, the SEC, the Big 12, the Pac-12, they have the second best winning percentage. So the Big 12 hasn't like dropped off of what it was supposed to do from a performance standpoint. And at this point, I would say, generally speaking, K-State was only going to go as far as its guards played well. And right now their guards are playing great.
Yeah.
So why would I be betting against them if Noel is playing some of his best basketball? And honestly, I know that you shouldn't factor this in a lot. But somehow, New York kid goes back to New York, plays at Madison Square Garden. I'm having a hard time thinking this story ends at the Sweet 16. I think, considering how well he's played in the first two rounds of this tournament, I anticipate more play like that from him tonight. I expect him to beat Michigan State. And us for tomorrow to be talking about they're having a chance to go to their first Final Four since
the 60s,
The
right?
60s, when the tournament was 16 teams. Mm-hmm. So you had to win
when it was played back
two
in
games.
Municipal Auditorium.
Yeah, classic venue.
Yeah.
Look, and I'm not going to knock them because they technically have. I looked it up because I wasn't sure how many Final Fours. Like, God, have K-State ever been to a Final Four? Because I couldn't think of one in my life. They have been to 4, but they were all in like the 50s.
Not
and 60s.
In the 64 team era.
It wasn't
of college hoops. Yeah.
Yeah. It was in the 16 team era. And look, they can't help how many teams were in the tournament at the time they play us. I'm sure Kansas fans get in this argument over like football trophies or whatever, or Helms trophies or whatever nonsense people want to fight over. But, unlike Missouri, who also had a chance to get to a Final Four when there were just 16 teams in the tournament, K-State's actually been there, but it has been forever. Anybody who is a currently alive K-State fan probably doesn't remember them ever being in a Final Four.
And Jerome Tang in year one has a chance to match the best season that they had under Bruce Weber. Remember, this was the K-State team that was in the Elite Eight in 2018. Things opened up. They were there in 2018. This go around in year one, Jerome Tang has a chance to match what they did towards, the 2018 prime at that time when people were actually starting to think, oh, maybe Bruce Weber is going to work out just fine for Kansas State. Obviously, it didn't end that way. But Jerome Tang in year one, to have them in a position to go to an Elite Eight, and then, yes, have them in position with the win tonight to get to the Final Four is pretty remarkable.
This would be one of the best first seasons in college basketball history. He would have taken over a team that wasn't in the tournament and take them to the Final Four?
Yeah, if they get to the Final Four, it's not even close. If they get to the Final Four, it's not even close. And there's repercussions, too, big picture for Kansas State. We know the transfer portal was something that Jerome Tang was able to attack and put this team together. Well, now you're Kansas State. You're one of the final 16 teams playing, and you get to play in New York City. Like, there's some big-time benefit heading into next season for what just getting to this point is for Jerome Tang. If you're K-State, you mentioned guard play tonight. They're going to lose some of these guys. Needing to go out and find a guard in the transfer portal. Well, getting on this kind of a stage, they were the standalone CBS game, Sunday against Kentucky. Now they're a standalone game to open up the Sweet 16 tonight, and they're playing in New York City. Like, there's some big-time benefit for Jerome Tang going into the future, going into this next offseason as well from the transfer market. As far as the game tonight, my question will be if Michigan State, and I don't think they will they shoot the three ball as poorly as they did against Marquette? They still beat Marquette by 9, but they were like 2 of 16.
That's been the theme of the tournament, though. Nobody is shooting the three ball. Kansas State's are 0 for 11.
0 for 12, 0 for 11, 12, and then made a couple unbelievable threes late.
Yeah.
But that'll be my only question. So, like, Michigan, I think it's a really close game. We ask tonight, will there be any blowout games? This won't be that one. I would be stunned either way. I do think this might be the closest game of the night. The spread certainly indicates that a little bit, too. But Michigan State's going to shoot the ball better from 3. K-State probably the ball overall better from 3, too. So that would be, like, the difference. If Michigan State, who was 2 of 16 for 3, if they're able to shoot more closer to their average,
40%,
I think that leads to a win for Michigan State. That would be my only thing. But I think it's going to be the best game of the night. I think it'll be the most competitive game of the night. Again, the other ones later on this evening, Arkansas, UConn. That one actually might have a chance to be a little bit of a blowout than people think. I just think UConn's been the best team in the entire tournament. I know Arkansas just beat KU.
They're playing the best in the first 2 rounds.
I think UConn might end up having the widest margin of victory tonight because the other games, Florida Atlantic, Tennessee, and then Gonzaga, UCLA might be a classic tonight. No, you don't like it?
No, I'm like, like you just pulled out a delicious plate of ribs. Like, that looks good. UCLA. Like, I can't wait to get my hands on that.
40-year-old Drew Timme.
Here's the real question about the three ball. Like, it does come down to the three ball in a lot of these games, And I think that's kind of what basketball is all about. Is you gotta hit shots at this point in the tournament.
College basketball expert Nick Schwartz here. You
gotta get the lid off the basket, guys.
Why do you think 3-point shooting is down in this tournament versus other ones?
I think that teams come out tight the first weekend.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the ball, the Wilson ball.
No, the jitters. You got to work out the jitters the first couple of rounds. This point, nerves have settled a little bit. You're playing with house money. If you're K-State, if you're Florida Atlantic, if you're Michigan State, you weren't supposed to be here. You weren't supposed to make it to this point in the tournament. So let's just go out and have fun. Let's play loose.
That's kind of the pregame message when they
be with your friends.
When they have the camera inside when they have the camera inside the locker room and they show Jerome Tang talking to K-State All Access, it's going to be like it's going to be part of what you just said there, Nick.
I can promise you this. We learned this last week, and this will continue to be the case until their season ends. There will not be a looser team in the tournament than Kansas State, and that is because of their head coach. And I think for the longest time, fairly or unfairly, Kansas got a reputation of playing tight in the tournament because Bill Self is part of what makes him so good is that he is this ultra competitor, but that there was this notion that he coached tight, right? He was too hard on the guys during the tournament, and that's why they came out and played tight sometimes. I think that was a little bit overblown, and I think he has loosened up with age. That is not Jerome Tang. Jerome Tang is not somebody who seems to coach tight.
No, they're loose, but they brought their big boom box on the trip too. That thing that's been, of course, they put out some viral videos involving that, and obviously Tang dancing in the locker room a little bit.
Should he take his shirt off like Musselman? No. That would be an even looser move than what he's been doing.
Are you asking if that should just become the new thing in college basketball?
No.
Also, how in shape do you think Jerome Tang is?
Compared to Musselman? Or
compared to Musselman.
Oddly enough, I know this may surprise you. I haven't spent a ton of time analyzing what I think his body fat percentage and muscle mass composition is.
In fairness to Cody, you are the only member of this show and of Sports Talk Radio in Kansas City, maybe across country. You have your hot coach NFL ranking. So it was a fair question about college basketball coaches.
Okay, yeah, but that is specific to the NFL.
Can you rank
I think there is a direct correlation between attractiveness and NFL head coaching success.
But not in college basketball.
Well, there's too many coaches, Alex. There's 363 coaches. I can't do them all.
Just rank the final 16 in hotness.
I'm one man.
What a week.
I'm one man.
Rank the final 16.
I could probably do that. I'm going to need to do a little bit more homework on Princeton's coach, on FAU's coach. But for the most part, I can tell you this.
Where's Tom Izzo and Rick Barnes at for you?
I can tell you Rick Barnes is going to be near the bottom of the list. I'm here to tell you right now. Rick Barnes is not going to score well.
Oh, man. College hoops.
Rick Barnes strikes me as the type of guy who eats a lot of cheese.
What? Why? Why do you say that?
I don't know. You ever just get those vibes?
No?
No, I've never thought watching Tennessee or when he was at Texas.
I
never thought, man, Rick Barnes, he must eat a lot of cheese.
Come on, guys. Take this seriously. I mean, specifically with anybody. Have you ever thought, that guy looks like he probably eats cheese?
Mike McCarthy.
What, because he cooks for the Packers?
I just got that vibe.
He's a Kansas boy.
He is.
Grew up out in, he went Baldwin?
Yeah, I think his daughters went to KU,
So you know what? That actually checks out.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I know we were talking about, you had mentioned maybe a couple days ago that baseball was, considering maybe altering, not changing, but altering some of their rules for the pace of play stuff.
Before opening day.
Yeah, because they were trying to figure out ways to just make sure that the initial rollout of the new pace of play rules goes smoothly. They have found the dumbest scapegoat for that. I just thought you should know that in the new enforcement, through the stuff yesterday in the article by Jeff Passan, One of the bullet points, new standards will be enforced for bat boys and bat girls whose ability to quickly retrieve equipment will help efforts to speed up the game. According to the memo, the league will evaluate the performance of the bat boys and bat girls and could ask teams to replace them if their performance is considered substandard.
This is incredible. Wait a second.
This is who they're trying to take down?
About time.
If the bat boy or bat girl is too slow to go run and grab the ball that went behind the backstop, there might be a while. There's someone timing them and be like, look, you're below the league average. You got to get somebody quicker to go get that baseball. Speed this game up a little bit. You got to have some in-shape bat boy, bat girls. Nobody is out of shape. Let's go. Is that what you're telling me?
Really? This is who we're putting it on? The bat boy and bat girls of the world? Because what? They move?
Don't you think it's about time? Don't you think the bat boys have gotten off for too long? They just kind of get away with whatever they want.
I don't think I've
moseying around up there, taking their sweet-ass time.
Usually they're actually hustling. Usually they're pretty quick.
Should we just switch to bat dogs? You know, they can move much faster.
That'll take a lot longer.
No, dude, let's do what the rest of baseball's doing. Bat robots, okay? We're going to electronic strike zones. They're putting chips in the footballs.
What if it's just like a little shed to the side that you could just like open up a pull screen and get the bat out of it?
Let's get some of those Boston Dynamics dogs. They can do pretty much anything. Just have them run up there, grab the equipment, and run back to the dugout.
Those MIT Boston Dynamic dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
You just have like a bin in the back of them where you can stick your like batting gloves or elbow pad or whatever.
The bat boys aren't getting paid anyway, are they?
No, I'm sure they get paid.
I thought it was like an internship thing.
I guarantee you bat boys get paid. Maybe this is a question for Sam Mellinger.
How old are bat boys?
I don't know. Someone I went to college with was a bat boy for the Royals at the time.
He was in college?
He was in college.
And he was getting paid?
I don't know if he was getting paid.
How do you even get that gig? Are they posted on LinkedIn?
I think a lot of it is somebody knows somebody, and I think that's how it works for a lot of that.
And I'm sending
I'm
sending the Royals Vice President of Communications, Sam Mellinger, a text asking him about this whole bat boy situation.
My guess is
that's even get you a part-time summer job.
My guess is they have to.
I'd be the worst bat boy. I would be the worst.
My guess is they have to pay them a little bit. Like I don't know if it's a combined bat boy / clubhouse attendant thing or whatever. My guess is there's some type of.
What if we find out these bat boys are just raking in the dough? Making $24 an hour.
I do know if you're like a clubhouse attendant, Cody can probably speak to this. There are times where some of those guys will get tipped by the players, though.
Yeah. You're picking up those stinky towels all year?
Especially if you're like the teams will come in on the road and you're the clubhouse attendant for the visiting team clubhouse. Some of those guys will come through and tip them.
There's a general assumption, just like tipping out of a restaurant, where you are kind of expected to tip a certain percentage, no matter, like a certain dollar amount, like $100, $200, $300 for every like road trip. There's like an I'm telling you right now, the Royals have a written guideline of what you should be tipping to clubhouse attendants. It's not a rule, but they have written guidelines that suggest tip $200 for this day.
Can we ask MJ about all this? Can we ask him about all this when he joins us?
Fine, that's fine.
Bat boys, clubhouse attendants.
At some point this hour, maybe, if not beginning of next hour, MJ Melendez of the Royals is going to join us. We'll ask him about the bat boys and how that works. Because we've seen it, right, where someone will hand their car keys off to some random individual and they'll go get their car detailed while they're playing the game, right? We've all seen that happen in the clubhouse before, so I don't know.
Cody does that too, by the way.
Yeah, Cody tries to make a few extra bucks, and he's like, I'll detail your car during the game. I don't need to go up in the press box. I'll just give me your Range Rover. I'll go get it detailed. When I come back, it'll be spotless and good to go.
Be a good side gig.
Coming up next,
speaking
of the Royals, yes, at some point today we're giving you a chance to win that 4-pack of Royals tickets and parking at opening day. But let's talk about Brady Singer. Something that we asked Vinny Pasquantino, playing in the World Baseball Classic, and how much of an adjustment is that to not preparing during spring training? So what does it mean for Brady Singer, who didn't get a whole lot of action during the World Baseball Classic? That's coming up next.
Cody and Gold.
Would I rather have my ween slammed in a car door? Or would I rather have my fingernails ripped off with a pair of needle-nose pliers? I don't know. I can't decide.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
We were talking about maybe a good side gig was being a bat boy. So maybe you're realizing, hey, I need a side gig. I'm not getting stable enough pay, consistent enough pay. It's just not enough. I need a new career. Well, how about getting a new career in just 4 months?
I don't know if bat boy is a full-time career, but I know IT is. So you don't have to do gig economy. You don't have to have side work. You can start your new career, as you said, in 4 months just by going to Centric.com/610 and seeing what options are available for you at Centric. They always say, Their job is to get you a job. And because they work with so many people who are looking for IT workers, they're really successful in making sure you get a job in as little as 4 months.
Yeah, they have a great track record. Over 1,500 companies have hired Centric grads. That's the kind of relationships they have built up to help you find a job in the future. Again, their job is to get you a job. We're talking about Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Cloud offerings, just to name a few of the opportunities.
Cybersecurity. If Nick's been using your computer and you want to make sure that, you're safe, it can cover anything you want, which means you get to choose the career you want. Go to Centric.com/610 to see what a new career in IT could look like for you.
6 words that strike fear in the hearts of hospital and nursing home administrators everywhere.
Joint Commission, Accreditation, Protocol, and Reporting.
But Keller Fire and Safety is here to snuff out the worry. Keller knows all the protocols for compliance testing and reporting. They are helping hospitals and nursing homes in the KC Metro and Northeast Kansas avoid stacks and stacks of paperwork. When you need someone on your side, keeping the Joint Commission happy, call Keller. Keller Fire and Safety. KellerFire.com.
The tournament is heating up, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Go to FanDuel.com/610Bob and sign up today to claim your no-sweat first bet. Then you can wager on everything from the money line to point spreads to which team will be cutting down the net. All on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. Take your shot at a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Go to FanDuel.com/610Bob to sign up. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official partner of 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued. Non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
You remember the road trip you took together? The music you listened to? The laughter you shared? Visit Shane Company for a gift as special as your memories. Beautifully designed jewelry crafted with attention to every detail. With the largest selection of styles and a range of prices, it'll be easy to find a meaningful gift for someone special in your life. A ring is always a beloved gift. Choose a stylish band, a signet ring, or a 3-stone anniversary ring. To celebrate a year together, or a lifetime of love, give a gift with diamonds, like diamond stud earrings. We offer both natural and lab-grown diamonds. Jewelry featuring a colorful gemstone makes a wonderful gift because it's so personal. Every stone has unique properties and its own symbolic meaning. Shane Company sources the most beautiful gemstones from around the world, so you have the best selection to choose from. Sapphires in over a dozen colors, opals, rubies, and more. When you give your gift, it'll be another special moment to remember.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
If you're looking for the best in barbecue in Kansas City, then go to my favorite restaurant, Smokehouse Barbecue. There are so many things I love about Smokehouse Barbecue. Their hickory pit beans are phenomenal. Their world-famous Cajun buttered chicken wings are outstanding. And, of course, their baby back ribs just fall right off the bone. But what I love most about Smokehouse Barbecue is that they've been family-owned and operated for over 35 years. And they have 3 convenient locations in Zona Rosa, Gladstone, and Independence. Check them out at SmokehouseBBQ.com. It's Smokehouse Barbecue.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside. It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
Hold on. So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price asked today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer to your alert card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code GOLF for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill up. That's code GOLF. Use code GOLF for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill up. Back in New Jersey, Wisconsin.
I did relation the hard way. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I fib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms: irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell NoTimeToWait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit NoTimeToWait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here. College basketball is about to get crazy, and BetQL makes it easier than ever to cash your bets. BetQL analyzes every single matchup so you can succeed with your bracket pools and individual game bets. Which teams will pull off an upset? Who's going to cover the spread? BetQL handles all the hard work so you can win more consistently. Head to BetQL.com today to start your 3-day free trial. That's BetQL.com. BetQL.com today to start your 3-day free trial.
The 610 Sports Radio Sign is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit GetDum.
Chief is brought to you by Max Motors. 9 major vehicle brands.
Max Ford Hyundai of Manhattan is proud to be an official partner with K-State Athletics. We're passionate about helping you with your automotive needs. Visit maxmotors.com to learn more.
Coverage of opening day is brought to you by the KCKPD, accepting applications for new and experienced law enforcement officers. KCKPD.org for more information. Equal opportunity.
All right, back here on Cody and Gold. Again, we're expected to have MJ Melendez from the Royals join us at some point in the next 30, 40 minutes or so. We'll be giving away a 4-pack of tickets to opening day plus parking as well today on the show. Each show has a 4-pack plus parking to give away, so we'll do it. The Drive will do it this afternoon as well before they hand things off to the K-State Sports Network for K-State and Michigan State. I will say, when we had Josh Vernier on yesterday, and I know he was talking to us, hey, he's like trying to be honest, and we didn't seem like there was a lot of positivity around it. One player, though, that you should feel good about is Brady Singer, of course. And I got an email about Brady Singer yesterday from Caesar Sportsbook. And did you know that he has anybody to win Cy Young?
What?
Yeah, that's a real thing. Now, it's because he play.
Sure.
Right? So, like, Garrett Cole and DeGrom are favorites, understandably so. Brady Singer's like 50-1 to win the Cy Young. I'm not telling you he's going to win this.
So Chris Jones to win Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. So I'm not telling you he's going to win
year.
But it was and it's gone down. It was 50-1. I want to say he's now like 30-1. Because
Cy
Young. 24% of the bets were for win Cy Young. We know he ended the season extremely strong. His last 15 starts or so to end the season, he was 7-1, 93 2/3 of an inning pitch, and had .22 ERA. The one concern is, and we brought this up with Vern, is World Baseball Classic, great experience, but he barely pitched, man. And now he's not going to be the opening day starter. He's just not stretched out enough, and there's a chance maybe he's not ready for the opening series.
I'm pro World Baseball Classic. I've made that very clear. But you have to find ways to let people still get ready for the season. Singer pitched 2 innings. That's it. Gotten twice for an entire World Baseball Classic. Very simply put, when he pitches today or tomorrow, he won't be ready. He won't be ready for the start of the season. He would normally be your opening day starter. You just laid out the stats. He was 7-1 with a 2.22 ERA to end the season. He would have been their opening day starter. He could have had this career moment coming off the season as a highly drafted guy. And now I'm worried his entire first month could be weird. Maybe he's not as worried about it as I am. Maybe he thinks he can get himself back up to speed. But this off any of the stuff he would have done to get himself in the position he was last year. And I get it. Last year was weird too. And it didn't slow him down. Because remember, last year he wasn't in the opening day rotation, which is insane to think about now, and was clearly wrong. I don't think that they would go back.
At that point in time, I think the reasoning was Bubic was throwing more strikes, right? Wasn't it? It was
Bubic had a much better spring training, and he was throwing more strikes. So they just had their best opportunity, right? So to me, it's when you're considering it, you should think that maybe that wouldn't throw him off. He wasn't thrown off last year, but at the same time, all the stats you just mentioned, Gold, that was later in the year. He had his routine when he was under the beginning of the season didn't go quite that well because it was weird. I don't want this to hold back the beginning part of Brady Singer's season just because they never got him in the World Baseball Classic, and it feels like we're off to that for the second consecutive year. This will be a question we're coming up in a week because he'll join us, I'm sure. He joined us last opening day, so I assume he'll join us next week for opening day. But I am worried. I am worried that this is going to throw off his rhythm at the beginning of the year.
Well, first and foremost, it's definitely going to eat into his availability. We know, that's just fact.
It already has done that.
That's just a fact because he's just not simply stretched out enough. I think what Vernon thinks maybe he'll get innings here in his next opportunity that he pitches in spring training towards the end of spring training here. And so you got to be careful with him because you also don't know that, but you also got to be very careful about just that aspect of that, not pushing him too far early on in the season either. Unfortunately, early in the year, we know you don't need 5 starters, and so you can be a little more flexible what you're asking some of these guys to do. But this is someone that would have been the opening day starter if it wasn't for playing in the World Baseball Classic. Like it's going to be Cody, I'll assume. And Vern mentioned that they're going to do some weird starter release show, basically.
That's the dumbest idea.
Who's
trying so hard to be
honestly, who is watching that? I mean, who's going to watch a show that unveils who the opening day starters are going to be across baseball?
I don't watch the March Madness release. You know what this is?
That Selection Sunday shows are better than this, man.
Release shows, they're just full of bad ideas, man. Just admit it. A lot of the release shows are dumb. And it's just a bad idea, and you should just release it all and then discuss it. And in baseball, it'd be better to just discuss it the opening day started. They're just trying to make an event. They don't have any events like that.
But this is, the NFL does the schedule. The NFL does the schedule release show. It's the NFL. It's king. They tease it weeks out in advance and all that. So we roll our eyes.
You didn't even know the baseball one was happening.
The baseball opening day one I didn't know was even happening. And then the other releases like Selection Sunday, that actually is appointment TV for me. I love that. That's fun. They finally fixed the format for what they tried that one year. Remember they took like
and then the bracket hour. Leaked.
They took an hour to release it, and somebody released the bracket ahead of time. So yeah, I don't know why that's happening. The one thing is, it looks like it'll be Greinke probably for opening a week from today,
which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it being Greinke for opening day, but it should have been Brady Singer's chance. And just don't want him to have a slow start to the season. Because we don't want the Royals to have a slow start to the season, and he's so imperative to their success. And last year, he had a bit of a slow start to the season as a result probably of ending up in the bullpen, then having to be sent back down to be stretched out. And remember, we asked, was it a shock to the clubhouse when he got sent back down? Multiple players, including Witt, were like, yeah, that was shocking. Then all of a sudden, Brady Singer wasn't with the team because we all think of him as one of the best pitchers on this squad, and came back up and had a great year after. But I would like a full 6 months of a regular season of great Brady Singer. And I feel like this now somehow, unfortunately, because of how he was used in the World Baseball Classic, is going to impact it. And I think that he was told, I think he was under the impression probably that he was going to pitch more than that. And the Royals probably were too.
Get to Nick's notable notes here in about 6 minutes or so. 1 year ago today, the Chiefs traded Tyreek Hill. Little do we know that weekend prior, the Devontae Adams trade to the Packers really is what was the final straw to get Tyreek Hill traded, because if we believe everything that's been reported and said by the team, that they were willing to go to a certain dollar amount, then Devontae Adams gets traded, new contract to the Raiders last year, that changed the market. That's when they realized they were not going to be able to go to the number that Tyreek Hill's agent and him wanted to go to, and so they gave him permission. I think it was around in the 10 o'clock hour a year ago today. In the 10 o'clock hour, like 10:15, all of a sudden, there was Adam Schefter sends out a tweet that the Chiefs have granted permission for Tyreek Hill to seek a trade, right? We're like, holy crap, what the hell is going on? And then, I don't know, 30 minutes later, there was some rumblings. Oh, maybe the Jets and Dolphins. Which one? Jets and Dolphins. We're all taking a look at their draft pick selection.
Trying to figure out what we want.
I think at the time we were preferring they traded him to the Jets.
One of the highest possible pick.
At the time. And then within 10 minutes after that, he was traded to the Dolphins,
11:34 a.m.
Yeah,
so almost exactly, we are almost exactly a year apart. We're an hour off. It's 10:43.
Yeah.
So I look at this as the moment that should both teach the Chiefs a lesson, and this was the moment that Brady became the best GM in the NFL. Because this began his perfect offseason, didn't it? Nothing but hits after this, man. He traded away a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL and then nailed the entire draft and all of his free agent signings worked. Like, this began the offseason of perfection for Brett Veach. Now, that's the one thing I would warn you about the whole wide receiver conversation we've been having and will continue to have on this show, which is this whole, hey, it worked last year. He had a perfect offseason to make up for it. He traded away. He took a huge risk in trading Tyreek Hill, and his perfect offseason led the Chiefs to another Super Bowl, so nobody cared. By the way, if you're curious what came from those picks, so the 29th overall, that eventually got traded so that they could move up. So it turned into Trent McDuffie. The 50th down, that ended up with Sky Moore and Darian Kennard. And the 4th round pick ended up in Joshua Williams. Any of those guys contribute to the Chiefs Super Bowl win? All of them. Even Sky Moore, who had a very quiet regular season, did score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. So certainly did factor in at least at the late part of that year. And they still have picks for this year's draft.
Plus picks this year. They still ended up with the number one offense.
All the salary cap
and
flexibility.
the cap flexibility. Right now, we'd be talking about a cap hit this year probably of $30 million.
We'd be describing that they might have to let Chris Jones go because they couldn't afford him. Because that's the craziest thing about this is if they hadn't
they wouldn't have been able to sign Juwan Taylor. One of those things would have happened.
There's a pretty strong, honestly, I think there's a pretty strong likelihood Chris Jones wouldn't be here. Does anyone else think that that's probably what would have happened? Like if they signed Tyreek Hill to the money they'd offered him last year, that means no Chris Jones, right? It's that, or like you said, no Juwan Taylor. But if we know the Chiefs, they're way more like offensive tackle versus a defensive lineman.
And this is why, if you're a GM, they always look ahead to the future. They're not shocked that all of a sudden we're sitting here talking about the need for Chris Jones to get an extension. We all know that's going to happen. But at the time, they knew the impact. If they would have given Tyreek Hill the deal that he ended up getting in Miami, there were going to be consequences going forward with tough decisions. And it's very clearly the correct. Not that Tyreek Hill's not fantastic. He had a
he's great.
Great year for the Dolphins.
They might have traded him like 4, trade him a year too early. They might have traded him like 5 years
Maybe
before.
So would they have won the Super Bowl?
I was getting ready to ask that.
This past year, the answer would have been they still would have won a Super Bowl. That's this past year because Chris Jones would have been on the team last year.
Yeah,
Cody's talking about not getting an extension.
No, but I'm not just talking about just Chris Jones.
But no Trent McDuffie,
just
no
everything.
Sky Moore, no. It just changes the whole dynamic.
I don't think it's the personnel as much as how the offense changed. Patrick Mahomes was forced to evolve as a quarterback.
I still think they would.
Andy Reid was forced to change as a play caller. Like they had to. Yeah. They had to alter their identity as an offense, and I don't. They probably still would have been the number one offense in the NFL. Yes. Patrick Mahomes probably still would have thrown for 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns. But I do wonder if they would have grown enough as an offense to still win the Super Bowl. Because let's not act like they ran away with it. Like they still did grind that Super Bowl out.
They won 14 games. I mean, without him. I mean, it's one of those where having Tyreek Hill.
They could have won the Super Bowl, but I mean, I guess to this point, Nick, it ended up being the best possible thing for Mahomes because they needed an evolution of their offense in order to combat what other teams were doing against them. But we saw that late last year where they started to look a little bit different than that. They were starting to hit Tyreek Hill shorter. They were adopting the year before, right? They were beginning that transition. I still think Andy Reid, even with Tyreek Hill, could have done this version of the offense. It just supercharged it.
Yeah, because getting to how we laid out the timeline of what occurred when they traded Tyreek Hill, none of us are saying this, but let's remind everybody. Initially was never to trade Tyreek Hill.
Nope. They had to give him a bunch of money.
To answer your question, I still think they would have been right there because they would have evolved in a certain way, but they killed the best chance to win a Super Bowl last year. It just got to a point where the dollar amount was going to handicap them potentially going forward. And so they wanted to make sure that wasn't the case. To your point about the Chris Jones, I think it's a great example.
Or they would have moved way more of Patrick Mahomes money into the future, and it meant 2, 3, 4 years from now, maybe Golden's a slightly bigger issue, or other guys are being let go. It could have changed a lot of different things.
Gotta write something down.
Nick's notable notes.
Oh, guys, I didn't even realize what time it was.
Oh, yeah?
It's Tang time. Jerome, Tang time, guys.
I feel like you or Cody, but mainly you, because this is all about you from the press conference, should have had a Tang song today.
A Tang song?
A Tang song. Will you do it if they make the Final Four? Will you get a Jerome Tang song?
What would
you want to do a duet?
If I did a remake of like a popular song, what song should I redo? I'm trying to think of a song that has an ang sound. Oh,
thong, 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 thong.
Tang, 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 tang. No, I don't like that.
Tang, 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 tang.
Oh, what if it's She Bangs by Ricky Martin?
She tangs.
She tangs.
He tangs.
He tangs. He tangs.
Yeah. Oh, baby, when he moves. I mean,
it's pretty good.
There's potential there. We go for low-hanging fruit when it comes to song remakes.
He tangs. He tangs.
Pasquantino, Despacito.
Hey, don't overcomplicate
I'll do a song if you want.
Exactly. Take the easy wins when you can get one. All right, guys.
Nice gift, Cody, that you just tweeted out.
Okay, you kind of previewed these earlier, Alex, but I think it's time to put pen to paper. We did this last week. March Madness is still here. I know the first weekend's where it's at, but these are some big games, so let's go through them. 4 games tonight. First one, you know them, you love them. Jerome Tang and the Wildcats taking on Tom Izzo and Michigan State. I think this is the most exciting game of the night. Michigan State, despite being a 7 seed here, 2-point favorites over the Cats. What do we like, guys?
We were talking about them a little bit earlier in particular. I do think this will be the closest game and will be the best game of the night. Maybe you make that UCLA Gonzaga game. That's the only other one I think that has a chance to be better than what will be a really close game. I think this could actually be a little higher scoring than people think. Both teams, to me, will shoot the 3-ball better. K-State will over 11 to start. And
Seems unlikely.
Michigan State's not going 2 for 16 for 3 either. And they still won by 9 against Marquette. I'll go Michigan State to win this game. Tom Izzo, that team, to me, beat a Marquette squad that I thought was going to head to the Final Four potentially. I didn't pick them in my bracket, but like the way they were playing, they looked like one of the best teams in the field. I thought that was a really impressive win. So I'll go Michigan State minus 1.5 at FanDuel right now.
This to me is a lot like the Kentucky game. Michigan State did a really good job in their first matchup of making a game, but it is fairly obvious which team has more talent on the roster, and it's Kansas State. And their coach has already proven a lot of the. I understand Izzo's got all the experience in the world, but Tang is not in any way shook from the moment. So I like K-State in the game. Game's going to be close.
Game 2, I mean, there's another good one, guys. Arkansas versus UConn. And UConn, as the 4 seed, is a 4-point favorite over the Razorbacks.
I'm with Gold, though. UConn looks like one of the best teams in the tournament.
As they should be. Up to 4.5 now at FanDuel. Arkansas, impressive win. Come from behind win. They were down double digits, as we all know, against KU. I think UConn has been the best team in the tournament, and I expect that to continue. It was not a good matchup when we knew that going in, Arkansas and Kansas. I think UConn actually wins pretty comfortably. I'm not saying they're going to win by double digits, but if UConn wins by 6 or 7 points, would not be stunned at all against Arkansas.
Is this the Goldie lock of the night?
No, I won't say it's in this league. I don't have a Goldie lock
But you'll
tonight.
let us know.
I'll let you know if I have one, yeah. I certainly feel more confident that UConn covers the 4.5 than I do that Michigan State covers the 1.5 against K-State. That's for sure.
Oh, so there's not a Goldie lock play every day.
No, Goldie for a reason.
Because they're locks.
You got to feel a certain way about it, man.
Does anybody call you Goldie locks?
We've talked about this before. Goldie was something that was
If
called.
you had blonde hair, it would be easier.
Then unfortunately.
Maybe let's talk about that in the next segment.
We got your hair blonde.
We got to keep it rolling for now.
We can ask MJ Melendez because he dyed his hair for Puerto Rico.
That's right. If he is good enough for him, good enough for you. Game number 3. This is the one that probably will have the few people tuning in for.
I think so.
9 seed Florida Atlantic, 4 seed Tennessee. The Vols are 5-point favorites.
Yeah, I mean, no question. This is not the one that stands out to anybody. It's Florida Atlantic. It's Tennessee. You're kind of like, okay.
It's the lowest point total by like 10 points of the night.
Yeah, 129.5 is where the total sits. I think it's the lowest total of the entire Sweet 16. I believe that is true. So,
I have the least amount of interest in that game out of any of them, and Tennessee is definitely better, and that's who I think is going to win.
Tennessee's defense is so freaking good. I know they were a popular upset pick in round 1 because they can't score the ball, but when you have the nation's number 1 defense, they're going to make life hard on you, especially against a 9 seed.
The physicality of Tennessee against Florida Atlantic is, to me, a problem for them. I'm not going to bet Tennessee minus 5.5. I think Tennessee wins. If you want to go money line, then you'd have to parlay it with something because it's minus 245. But yeah, I think Tennessee, we saw the physicality against Duke. To me, that's a problem for Florida Atlantic. And then we get to the best game.
All right, when are you guys going to pick an underdog? Gonzaga, UCLA, the 3 versus the 2.
Well, it's not this game, Nick.
West Coast showdown, boys.
You're not going to find me picking the underdog in this game. I have
Bruins 1.5-point favorites.
UCLA in the national championship game, so I'm not going to pick against them in this game.
Yeah, but you can change. We're giving you one free change.
Gonzaga's been to the Elite Eight 4 times in the last
You're not still going to put Arizona in the national championship game.
I think it's weird if you're going to put your bracket together and you have a team making the Final Four or the title game, and then you are picking them to lose. And basically, it's a pick 'em.
Okay.
Information changes. It's basically a pick 'em.
I got you.
If this was UCLA minus 4.5, then no, you could take Gonzaga to cover. But it's 1.5. It's basically pick 'em.
Okay, then let me ask you guys this then. Let me ask you guys this before the games tip off tonight.
Yeah.
If you were to re-predict the national championship game.
Okay.
So you don't have to stick to your original predictions. If you national championship game from the 16 teams left, who are you going with?
Alabama, UCLA. I believe that can happen. I don't have to think my regions here. I think that's possible. Alabama, yeah, I think that's possible. I'm trying to remember if they would have to play in the semifinal.
No, yeah, that's right. You got it right.
Yeah, I was like, I need to see the bracket sides before I say two teams who would end up playing.
Who was in your original? Sorry, who was in your original one to begin with?
Alabama won it all in my original one.
So
Honestly, I would still.
Why change? Yeah.
Well, I just don't feel like that's likely to be the case. But are Alabama and UConn on this bracket? They're not.
No,
then I would probably Alabama and UConn would be my new.
My original is still in play here. My original was Alabama over Texas. Sticking with Alabama over Texas.
Might as well stick with it at that point with those two teams.
They played well, so.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's no reason to.
Now the fact that that just assures that Alabama's losing this weekend because we're all predicting them to win it. They just look so freaking good, man.
There is a boost, by the way, on FanDuel. K-State and Tennessee to both win. It's boosted to plus 250. So if you do think the Wildcats win and you feel confident in Tennessee, you can boost that up.
That's my Nick.
That's my Nick Schwartz. Take a second mortgage out on your house lock of the night.
That both Tennessee win.
I like the idea that you take out a second mortgage by tonight.
Yes.
It's not a lot of paperwork or anything. You're just like, I'd like my house value, please. One loan.
I don't know, Cody. I'm not a homeowner. Sue me.
Those are Nick's notable notes. Coming up next, I don't know why people are asking for more teams. Great tournament that we have that we're talking about, but it is occurring. I think it could lead unintended consequences. We'll get to that next.
You're listening to Cody and Gold, brought to you by Concrete for asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance. GAN Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANasphalt.com. Subscribe and download all new episodes of Nick's Wavin' in the Wheat podcast, released every Thursday on the 435 Podcast Network and the Odyssey app.
In just 2 months, it'll be 2 years since we went basic from my vision. I'm going back and all the things that have changed since then. I've been able to do a lot easier traveling, all because of not needing contacts or glasses anymore. A trip to Colorado, we're going rafting. There's no way I would have been able to wear glasses on the rafting trip. We were getting soaked. Water was coming over us. I just would have been a pain. Would have had contacts in all day long. My eyes would have been itchy. It was that. Maybe it was our trip to Nashville over the last 2 years where we were out very, very late on Way Street there in Nashville. Next morning, no way my contacts would have wanted to cooperate. None of that matters anymore because I don't use contacts or glasses. See better than I ever have, and it's because great staff at Dury Vision told me after extensive consultation that, you know what? You are a candidate. Despite being told you're not a candidate in the past, you can undergo SBK Advanced LASIK. Just call Dury Vision like I did, 913-491-3330, or go online to Dury Vision information how you can make the best decision ever like I did.
Integrity, engagement, safety, and transparency. Not just words, but a lot. The Kansas City, Kansas Police Department. The KCKPD is currently accepting applications for both new and experienced law enforcement officers. Starting yearly pay is over $50,000 a year with opportunity for more. Civilian personal jobs are available in records and dispatch. For more info, email recruiter@kckpd.org. That's kkpd.org. Join the KCKP team, an equal opportunity employer. The Landing in Liberty, the largest sports bar north of the river, and the home of over 65 HD TVs with every sports package. Hey, our motto is game anytime. 10,000 square feet under one roof to provide adequate social distancing. Our nonstop patio is not covered, but in the winter it's home to the only dine-in heated igloos in the Northland. Each igloo has its sound system and seats up to 8 people. The Landing great menu featuring the best Kansas City and the home of Ben Mallard Chicken Fingers. Most of our menu items, dressing, and wing sauces are house made. Daily food specials, Happy 3 till 7 p.m. Live music on our smoking patio Thursday through Sunday nights. Make your next destination the Landing in Liberty. Food, fun, music, and sports. The Landing in Liberty, 1189 West Kansas Street in Liberty. Check us out online at thelandingeateryandpub.com. We'll see you at the Landing.
Maritime Adventure destination. Great guests, hunting and fishing tips, Saturday at 5 a.m. on 610 Sports Radio and the Odyssey app. Listen on demand at 610sports.com, weekend programming channel, presented by Wholesale Battery.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone, America's #1 brakes destination. We have the pads, rotors, drums, shoes, and brake fluids to improve your stopping power. Right now, save 15% when you get any 2 Duralast rotors with a set of Duralast brake pads. Missing a tool? Ask about our free Loan-A-Tool program and borrow the tools you need to get the job done.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the MPD Group 2021. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool.
Hey guys, this is Keenan Thompson. I have a problem with you. Yes, you. None of y'all told me that AutoTrader has millions of new and used cars that I can shop from home. I thought we were friends. I put smiles on your face, but I'm not smiling. No one told me that with AutoTrader, a dealer can deliver cars to my home or that I could shop by price on AutoTrader. No one. Consider this friendship that you just learned we had officially over. Finally, it's easy. AutoTrader.
The tournament is heating up, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. That's because right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Just go to FanDuel.com/win and sign up today to claim your no-sweat first bet. Then you can wager on everything from the point spreads to which team will be cutting down the net. All on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use.
Must be present in state where lawful to wager. 21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable sportsbook bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Or visit FanDuel.com/RG Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Tennessee, Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342 Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 or visit KSGamblingHelp.com Kansas. 1-877-7770 Stop Louisiana. Visit MDGamblingHelp.org in Maryland. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. 1-800-522-4700 Wyoming or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net West Virginia.
You can change your career in just 4 months with Centric.
Go to Centric.com/610 and see for yourself how you can start that new career. We talk about it all the time. It's easy to get into a job you don't want. IT is the future. Make it your future.
More stability, more consistent pay, more career advancement. That's what they offer at Centric because cybersecurity and IT is the future.
You can pay with a GI Bill and several other financing options available. Go to Centric.com/610 and start your new career in as little as 4 months.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios. One and done night with K-State, KU, and MIZ. Wednesdays starting at 6 o'clock following the drive on 610 Sports Radio. KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
11 o'clock hour here on Cody Engel. Just getting started on a Thursday. Get to the trash of the day in 20 minutes or so. We'll also get back into Royals baseball here in 10 minutes with someone that we're going to find out if he can actually reach the level that everybody assumed he could get to. And in the noon hour today, that'll be your chance to win that 4-pack of Royals opening day tickets a week from today. Oh, and parking. That's very, very important as well. Parking also included. So you just got to buy. You just got to pay for your own beer and stuff at the game.
People don't like paying for parking.
Parking, the tickets taken care of with that 4-pack in the noon hour.
Is there anything people universally hate more than having to pay for parking?
I think
no one's okay with
cities,
it.
people are more accepting
well, it's just
of it.
different.
They don't
Here,
like it, but
our sports teams for now at least have the giant parking lot that they share. That's not how it is at 95% of places. Or when we get downtown baseball, there'll be lots, but there'll be a bunch of different lots, or you'll take public transportation. You'll hop on the streetcar. You'll go down to the plaza for drinks before, and you'll take the streetcar from the plaza to the nearby the stadium, that kind of stuff.
By the way, guys, we've gotten a lot of suggestions when we threw out the idea of writing a Jerome Tang song.
Okay, they are.
I mean, the text line's been great, and if you have any, please text them in, 913-586-7610. We had mentioned She Bangs.
But
by
he
Ricky
tangs.
Martin. He tangs. Everybody Tang Chung tonight.
Oh.
Nothing but a G Tang.
Well, they
Even though
put
they don't
Tang
really-
nothing but a G thing. So
That
you
one-
would Tang
that one-
nothing but a G thing, right?
But they don't really say that in the song.
They say ain't nothing but. They're just replacing ain't with Tang.
Yeah, but it's not like a refrain where they go
Yeah.
back to a lot. So that one might be
Yeah.
tar. Anything with Wu-Tang, so you could just say, but that's too
Yeah.
close because you're not.
Wu-Tang? They always say it at the beginning of the song.
They
but
say
don't just,
Wu-Tang
use it
Clan
forever.
ain't nothing to F with, but again, it already says Tang.
Yeah, we're not
so,
trying. Yeah, we don't want to do that.
This one's get the Witch Doctor, ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah, bing, bang, walla, walla, ting, tang, maybe? I don't know how you would do that one. There's
That's
a song
probably
called,
how it would go.
There's a song called Bang Bang by Dispatch. I'm not familiar with that, but it's
Tang
pretty
Tang.
self-explanatory. You could just call it Tang Tang.
Well, we'll continue
Again,
to say.
if
I don't think
K-State-
anything's beaten out He Tangs yet for a song we should do yet.
Again, for the Tang
so far,
song,
that is the leader in the clubhouse.
for the Tang song to happen, they have to make the Final Four. That's how it has to happen.
Agreed,
So they got to
agreed.
win. They got to win
You gotta do
tonight, and
something
then
really
win and
special.
win this weekend, and then we'll have a whole week of Final Four build up, and then we'll unveil a song.
That's how we'll honor that program the only way we know how.
With a cover of a Ricky Martin song about sex.
Turns out Ricky Martin didn't even like having sex with women. So
That's true as well. That's true as well.
the things we do for showbiz, guys.
Oh man. We were talking about K-State there and Jerome Tang and in the tournament, which has been fantastic. I think we would all agree there was some great moments, whether it was Furman while we were on the air beating Virginia, of course, Fairleigh Dickinson knocking off Purdue. There's been some classic type of games. The K-State Kentucky game might have been one of the best games of the tournament. K-State or KU and Arkansas was fantastic as well. And so I was surprised yesterday when one of the front page stories on ESPN was from Bill Connolly, who said, how do we get more mid-majors in the NCAA tournament? Right now we got a 64-team field. We know we have the play-in.
68, really.
Yeah,
but
so to narrow down to 64, they have the first four games as well. And the first four, fine, whatever. It is what it is. Why do we need more teams? What are we trying to do? The tournament. Why are we trying to mess up this tournament that is fantastic? That last weekend.
I mean, I'm sure
for
somebody
4
used to
straight
say that when it
days-
was 16 or 30, like I'm sure that.
16. Yeah, I mean, that's just a different era in general. But why do we need more teams? First of all, let me start there. Why do you think we need? Let me start there. Do you think we need more teams in the tournament?
I mean, half the teams have 0% chance to win it anyway. So
There's that. There's also, I don't
more.
need a bunch more 17-win teams sneaking in. Because the idea, if you're like, oh, it's going to be more mid-majors, we're going to get more Princetons and Wichita States and Drakes and UMKCs of the world getting in. Okay, on paper, it doesn't sound terrible. We like the underdog, we like the Cinderella story. But I think what would happen, Cody, if you told me they expanded by 10 or 12, is we would end up with the crappy 11th best team in the Big Ten, or we would end up with the last place team in the Big 12 this year.
But if you added
I don't
more
want
teams,
that. I don't want Rutgers in. I don't need that. You got plenty of spots. You have no right to complain that you didn't get in the tournament when you have a 68-team field, let alone if you bumped it to 90.
But when you, and I think they're always, this is a monetary thing. We've talked a lot about this with other sports and other things they're always trying to do with these sports. I'm sure the NCAA, it's the last big moneymaker they've got left. Everyone else in college sports is leaving their ass. They already don't have any control over college football. All these players are being paid now. I think it's Notre Dame's AD has asked the government to step in to set like a minimum amount of payment that student athletes can get. You're like, get the hell out of here. So it's always back to that. They want the control and they want to go back to that. So they're wanting to do that. Why? If you're doing this, I would have one major stipulation that if you're going to do this, because again, we know that it's just like there were 8 Big 10, 7 Big 12, 8 SEC schools. You already have automatic qualifiers. Why don't you just guarantee half of those spots for mid-majors? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, why can't you just say...
I actually agree with that.
But that's the thing. I don't know if they're willing to do that though, Cody. Because if you want to add more mid-majors, then it has to be that.
Do more automatic qualifiers for mid-majors.
It has
It's
to be
taking away
that.
some of the conference tournament because anybody who loses a conference tournament who was the best team in their conference all year is still going to get in, but good. They were the best team in their conference. They have a chance to win an NCAA tournament.
You have to be
game.
willing to let go of something if you want to change something for the better. The one thing I think everybody would agree with, okay, we can do without that, is the conference tournaments. You don't need them. They are unnecessary. A lot of teams don't care about them. If you
Whoever
change
wins the regular season of those conferences.
If you changed the format to the point where we're no longer going to reward you for finishing 7th in your Power 5 conference, then it puts way less emphasis on those conference tournaments.
I think some of the small conference tournaments where everything is on the line is actually really entertaining and fun to watch. When everybody knows that this is a game where you're in or your season is done, I think there's some intrigue to that. Not as much as the NCAA tournament, of course, but there's some intrigue to that. You're just continuing to devalue the regular season, which some people may not care. Because there's a huge chunk of
not
people
for the mid-majors.
There's a lot of people that
college football did that, and I don't care.
There's a lot of people that don't care about the regular season anyway. There's a lot of people that just watch March Madness, just watch the NCAA tournament to begin with.
I think we've all turned into college basketball fans more that way. I understand we all watch some, but we've turned more into slowly and slowly over time. The three of us have probably turned more into. I'd rather just watch it in March.
As long as you're okay with continuing to devalue the regular season.
I think every other sport doesn't seem to care about
I'm confused
that.
about that.
How does it not devalue it? Nick, we're going to add 15 more teams.
No.
If I'm a Power 5 conference, then
I'm talking about the proposal that Cody suggested, which is just don't expand the tournament. Just stop. Expand it for mid-majors.
We're having hypotheticals, so nothing's off limits. I will say, if they're adding 20 more teams, they're not going to give all 20 to mid-majors guys.
No. I'm not talking about expanding the tournament at all.
Cody was talking about expanding the tournament.
I was saying if they did.
I don't think you should expand at all. What I do think you should do is rework how you currently select your field and stop giving so many of these spots to Power 5 schools who go 500 in their conference and finish 8th in the Pac-12. That to me is the biggest problem with the tournament is you're rewarding the 7th best team in a Power 5 conference.
Right. No, so that I agree with. I thought we were talking about expanding the tournament, and you guys were saying to have half the new.
No,
expansion
I hate the idea. I hate the idea of expanding.
I don't want to expand it, but could there be some reworking of? I don't want to see the 9th best team in Power 5 conferences.
Yeah, who was the 8th team in the SEC who made it this year?
Arkansas went 8-10
in their conference.
Yes.
Ugh. I just don't believe we need more 18-win teams in the tournament. So yeah, if you're gonna do anything, it needs to be an adjustment to some majors. But again, it would require a complete adjustment of how the committee looks at this, because we know if you're just going off a resume, these small conferences aren't going to be able to compete resume-wise because they just don't.
And that's the biggest issue.
They just don't play the same quality of
schedule.
Strength
of schedule is always the tiebreaker, and of course, an Arkansas team who finished under 500 in their conference is still going to have a significantly better strength of schedule. But again, if we're coming down to not devaluing the regular season, we're going to say, what did you earn? Yes, you played a tough schedule. You also lost to every good team in your conference. Why am I rewarding you simply because you're a Power 5 school? That's it. That's the reason why these teams are getting in. You're a Power 5 school, so by default, you played a tougher schedule than a mid-major.
To me, it's just like evening the playing field of saying, okay, they played a less tough schedule. We understand that. But Arkansas has every other advantage to be good. They can recruit at a much higher level. They can bring in much more talented players. They get, just to me, the NCAA tournament is made in the general reason. Look, we get to the Elite Eight and Final Four, probably in a different conversation. But what makes the NCAA tournament great is it doesn't matter what school you go to. Your team is going to get a shot. So putting more schools like that in is always better, in my opinion, especially than what you're saying is like the 9th best team in the Big Ten. But that's the problem with the expansion. But again, if you're going to expand and you're like, is that even going to bring in? You're saying, look, if they expand, it's just we're going to end up with the 9th and the 10th best teams in the Big Ten. And I'm saying if you expand, you got to lock up a certain number of those spots for the mid-major schools. Otherwise, it's even worse of an idea.
Yeah, the example that's given in the article is Fairleigh Dickinson. We know the story there. They're one of the teams in their conference weren't even eligible, but they had the lowest rated strength of schedule in the country. The only what they go by a BPI top 100 team that Fairleigh Dickinson played was Pitt, and Pitt beat Fairleigh Dickinson by 22. So their lack of strength of schedule did not prevent them from beating Purdue in the tournament. So that's the argument of can we find a new way to try to balance this out a little bit?
And we're talking about margin of error too. The margin of error for this mid-major team is better not slip up once, or you're done. Whereas I can be an SEC team, slip up literally more times than I succeed, and they're going to say, but look at who they played. At some point, is there a value of, winning the games? I love predictive measures. I love Ken Baum, Bart Torvik, all of this. But at some point, what you actually accomplish should matter more
This
than
was the
who
college
you
football
are.
playoff conversation this year when everyone's like, put Alabama in. I'm not talking about who has the most talent on their roster. They lost 3 times.
Win your games.
Actually playing the game does matter somewhere, right?
And in football, losing 3 times, that's obviously a much higher percentage of your games. And like in college basketball, you lose 5 games. That's a hell of a season. In college football, you lose 3. That's why that Alabama
But we
thing
let in
was...
these teams that go 18-11, and they say, yeah, but look at their schedule. Like, they lost 11 times. They finished 6th in their conference. Stop telling me how great of a season they had.
I mean, based off of, and this is why, so I don't want them to expand it, but if they did, it would have to have some reassurance, like you were saying, Cody, of the mid-majors getting more of the spots, because North Carolina would have snuck into the tournament, guys, if there were 90 spots. Oklahoma State and Rutgers would have been in the tournament if there were 90 spots. I don't want to see either of those 3 teams.
I'm all right.
I would much rather see South Dakota State. And that's the second team. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I'd rather watch them because they would have had, and again, maybe they got the same chance to win. Maybe Vegas would tell you that they're actually 2 points worse, but it's infinitely more entertaining as a sport.
We'll get to the trash of the day here in about 6 minutes or so. Royals opening day a week from today. We'll keep reminding you in the noon hour today, you'll have a chance to win that 4-pack of tickets to opening day plus parking. All 3 shows today giving that opportunity away. So let's talk about Bobby Witt Jr. We know he is someone the Royals, of course, are planning on building the future of this team around, the face of this franchise, if you will, along with Salvador Perez going forward. And the expectations for Bobby Witt Jr. from the minute he was drafted and certainly working his way through the system to his debut. Heck, we took a road trip to Arkansas. Thinking of Arkansas. We took a road trip to Arkansas to watch this guy a couple years ago with some listeners of ours down to Fayetteville in the area to go down there and watch the Northwest Arkansas Naturals play. The hype around him has been insane because there's a thought, Cody, that he can be a superstar. Not just a very good player, but a superstar. It has the sense like this year we're going to find out, is he going to actually be the superstar or is he just going to be a really nice franchise player? Because we obviously can
This
see
is
the
supposed
talent.
to be the leap year.
The talent is obviously there. We saw flashes of everything last year. But to be the superstar that everybody thought he could be, this year's going to me, decide that. Do you disagree?
No, I think it's going to determine how high his ceiling is. You go back through last year and you're right. You see all the skills. The guy hit 20 home runs. He stole 30 bases. He's kind of fun and electric to watch. But he still hit 254 and had an on-base percentage less than 300 and had difficulties.
Yeah, the defense was a big
defensively.
Big deal.
For a large majority of it. He was a really good rookie player, a way above average rookie player, right? And he does some athletic things that most guys in Major League Baseball can't do. But there still needs to be a push forward for what he is going for if he's going to be this guy who commands a $300 million contract. I still have faith that Bobby Witt Jr. is the most talented player on this team and will take the leap this year, that this will be the season that he shoots into the stratosphere and we will be blown away by it. The projections have him with less home runs, less RBI, less steals than he had just last year.
The less steals one doesn't make any sense to me considering the rule
Bigger
change. Because
bases
stolen bases are going to be up this year across baseball.
Wait, who thinks that Bobby Witt Jr. is going to have a statistically worse season?
Baseball Reference.
And is that a person or is that
That's an algorithm.
Oh, an algorithm. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's why baseball's awesome.
Dude, you just cited algorithms from the college basketball tournament. You just gave me Ken Palm and some dude I've never heard of.
And what did I say? I said we need less of them.
Whatever the hell
and I said we need less of them.
Schrodinger's cat. What did you mention?
And guess what happens?
Who was the second guy you mentioned, by the way, for the
Bart Torvik.
Okay.
And that's why I said. And that's why I said we need to stop relying on algorithms to make decisions.
I think that Bobby Witt Jr. is going to have a great year.
I do too.
I could be wrong that this is not going to be the leap, but I am still a big believer in the superior talent he possesses. Because if you really grind down all the things he did last year, how many players in the majors are capable of having over 30 doubles, over 20 homers, over 30 stolen bases, and be largely for half of the season in an offense that didn't score? He wasn't even protected for half of the season last year. Then MJ got called up. Then Vinny Pasquantino got called up. The offense actually started to take shape. He had some protection, and then he got to play better. Like, I worry a little bit, like we said, less with the Brady Singer thing with him, because I think he knew that he wasn't going to play a ton for the World Baseball Classic versus I think Brady Singer, thought he was probably going to play a little bit more. But I just go through month by month last year, and when the middle of the season hit is when we saw the best version of Brady, that June, July time.
Yeah.
And then, He took the slight setback at the end of the season because he'd probably never played 150 games before. He started cold. It took a while. I think we're in shape for the best version of Bobby Witt Jr.
They obviously need it, not just for this year, but for the long term. If you want them next offseason to be in a position where, to me, there would be no excuses to not increase the payroll, to not spend some more money, well, then Bobby Witt Jr.
He's got to evolve.
Prove to them that he is the main, that guy you build around. This goes for Melendez. This goes for Vinny Pasquantino, Brady Singer, and others.
And those guys do matter, but Bobby's still the bell cow, right? We still view him as he needs to become the best player on this damn team.
Yes. No, plain and simple. I mean, he has to be the star of the team.
Someone might hit more home runs. Someone might, whatever. Because Vinny might hit more home runs this year than Bobby, or MJ might hit more home runs. Someone might hit with a higher batting average than Bobby Witt Jr. this year. But he's got to be the guy that's like, damn, that's the best player on your whole team. And honestly, I still think that that's coming for Bobby Witt Jr. I don't think at any point last year, I thought he was the most talented player. But at any point last year, do you think he was the best player?
No.
Like the second half of the season, you could have argued Vinny was their best player. He was hitting better than anybody else on the roster. Like MJ Melendez had a tough start himself at the beginning of last year. So it's like, which version of this are we going to get? And I still think in the long run, stardom is there for Bobby Witt Jr. Maybe it's just an optimistic approach because we want to believe it and we went down there gold and we've been watching this kid since he was like 20 do some spectacular things.
Look, it's not, I mean, he finished 4th in Rookie of the Year, so it's not,
He had a really good year.
And Julio Rodriguez just had an absolutely ridiculous year and was on a playoff team. So when we were keeping an eye on that as the season went on, that was, Bobby Witt Jr. could have had an incredible season last year.
I think
biggest Julio Rodriguez probably still wins the award because that's how special of a year it was for Seattle's rookie.
Even more than his defense, by the way. I think that the biggest jump that Bobby Witt Jr. needs to take is he's got to stop striking out so much. He's got to be, with his athleticism, he has got to put the ball in play more. Just get on base more. Like, he has too many skills to not be more, he needs to be less free swinging. He's got to be patient. He's got to take some more walks. He's got to strike out less. That's where the biggest part of his development still needs to kick.
Trash of the day.
All right, 913-586-7610. Trash of the day. Nick, I know you don't currently, but you had like a family pet, cat or dog growing up or something, I'm assuming? Okay. Cody,
I currently have a dog and a cat.
Okay. You've had that throughout your life, I think.
Yes.
I've only had dogs. I currently have a dog as well. I ask because there was a poll that was taken that says almost half of cat and dog owners want tattoos of their pets. To which I say, who the hell are these people they're surveying?
Well, maybe it's because you have no tattoos.
Tattoos, yeah, but
you're a prude.
Tattoos, because I don't have a tattoo. What?
Well, I also
tattoos of their pets. The study of 2,000 cat and dog owners found that 25% would consider getting a tattoo of their current pet. 25% are already planning to get one. Another 16% said they already have a pet-themed tattoo on their body.
This surprises you way more than it surprises me. People get tattoos for personal reasons.
I love my
dog.
They
love their animals.
A tattoo, even if you're someone that does have a tattoo of your dog.
Name something you will spend more time with or be more closely associated with than your pet.
Right, but
you've had that dog live with you in 4 different cities.
And I wish the dog would. I wish my dog would be alive for 40 years. But we all know most pets are a 10 to 12 year pet. And you don't forget them, but I don't need a tattoo when I'm 70 years old from my dog I had in 2023.
Yeah, this is an anti-tattoo stance, not an anti-dog tattoo stance, I believe.
Then how come you don't have
because
one? Don't you love your pets? You have. How come you don't have any?
I don't have any tattoos.
You're saying I am. So are you anti-tattoo as well?
I'm not anti.
But then
so
I'm not
there's a big difference.
Anti-tattoo. I don't have
one. It was
one.
the way you said it. You're like, when I'm 70, it'll be all wrinkled. Like, that's all tattoos. Whether it's a dog or not a dog, that is unimportant to the stance. Like, to me, I think this is just like you would never get a tattoo for anything.
Probably not, but would you get my funny thing is
I'm not saying I'd never get a tattoo.
You're not answering any differently than me. You don't have a tattoo and you said you're not going to get one.
No, but I'm not saying I'd never get a tattoo. I'm not against the idea of it. I just don't have one currently.
Okay.
But if I were going to get a tattoo of something, I would want it to be something that had personal meaning to me.
Well,
a pet to me qualifies under that umbrella.
50% of people.
10, 12, 15 years. That's a long time to have a pet.
You and your wife get matching tattoos of each other. No, of each other.
We have kids, right? So
get your initials of your kids.
Just initials? Shouldn't it have like? I'd like it to have some like stylistic.
Do whatever you want.
I guess. I don't want to just.
Would you, Nick? Where are you at on this whole thing?
I mean, I have a tattoo, so I don't feel like I'm the person to ask. I don't have a tattoo of my pets, but so I don't really. I'm not going to judge people who have tattoos.
Again, that was not the whole. Cody turned it into that, but that was not the conversation.
I just don't think Colt's ever going to get a tattoo.
No,
like, under any
so
circumstance.
No, but I just my theory in general is I'm not going to judge anyone for why they get a tattoo. Everybody has different reasonings for why they would get.
Some people just get like Mario on their arm because they think it looks cool, and sometimes people get them for like personal reasons.
I knew a guy once who had the Dr. Pepper logo on his forearm, and I asked him why. He said, "I thought it looked cool." I said, "Okay, well, that's your decision. Who am I to tell you that your love for Dr. Pepper is not good enough to be etched onto your body permanently?"
There's a religious component, right? Like where like nobody in your family has like a tattoo.
Nothing to do with religion.
But I thought that is there not? No, I'm asking from a tattoo perspective. Is there not a religious component about not getting a tattoo?
No.
Wow.
Not that I know of.
You went
You're
there.
Breaking news to me, if that's the case, Cody.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong here. I thought you had mentioned that in a separate conversation we had about tattoo.
I can't believe you went there.
Because I said I'm okay. Obviously I'm wrong because there's no way I'm going to be more right about the Jewish faith than Alex.
That would be brand new news to me.
I'm probably basing this off an episode of like Curb Your Enthusiasm or something. I think like when his friend can't get buried in a certain cemetery because of a tattoo. So clearly I should probably not take my life lessons from
you know what you should probably do is go look in the mirror for a little bit.
It did say further on, I was going to get to it, but half of the people said they think they could sell merchandise of their pet to other people online as well. That they could have a photo of their pet on like coffee mugs and people would buy it. Why would you buy someone else's dog? Why would you buy someone else's dog photo?
That's somehow more ludicrous than the tattoo thing.
What's that?
That somebody thinks somebody would buy a picture of your dog on a coffee cup.
33% of people surveyed have custom designed their own pet merchandise, and half are pretty convinced they'd be able to sell it to other people. Why would I buy a bag or a mug of, let's say, Cody's dog on it? Like, why would I buy? That'd be weird, by the way. Could you imagine if I just had a mug of Cody's dog?
What if that dog was really special to you?
I mean,
or you know, why would they care that it's special to me though?
Well, no, if it was special to him as well, like he came over to your house a lot and he pet that dog and he.
But that's only selling the mug to one person.
Well, yeah.
Where's the mass appeal for this dog?
I hate to break it to you.
Shop together.
I hate to break it to you. I don't think you're going to be doing like iPhone sales here.
That's what these people think.
Yeah. It's not just that they have merchandise with their own dog on it. That there's half the people think that they could actually get people to buy the merchandise of their pet to other people online. That's pretty crazy. That's the trash of the day. Coming up next, we get right back into the Chiefs, and they've had every opportunity to do something, and they haven't done it. So what's the next step? We get to that next.
There's Kelsey to the end zone.
Cody and Gold brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Honestly, it might take more time to get a tattoo removed than it does to get a new career in IT, because over at Centric, they can get you in a new IT career in as little as 4 months.
Yeah, that's how quick you can find your career in the future. Think about it. Right now, maybe you're driving around, you're doing your job as you're listening to this show, and you're like, yeah, this is something I've been doing for a while. I'm not enjoying it. I know that the pay's not great. It's not consistent. It's not stable. 4 months, like Cody said, you can go to centric.com/610 and find out how they can work with your schedule, by the way, for a brand new career in IT. And IT, as we know, is the future.
They have funding options. Obviously, you can go to Sally Mae or a GI Bill. They'll make sure that this plan works for you. Russ Mondry can walk you through step by step to see how that new thing can go. You're talking about those jobs. It's not just about doing it. It's about having a career arc, having some growth potential. IT has all that because IT is in every single field you can possibly consider doing it. More stability, you said, more consistent pay. Those things are also available if you just go to centric.com/610.
Yeah, call our friend Russ Mondry. We had a chance to talk to him multiple times, and he's a big sports fan, by the way, as well. And he has told us that when you're looking at future careers and you're looking for stability as well, that 4 months, their curriculum, they're willing to adjust on the fly. There's other places that perhaps have curriculums, and once the semester starts, that's the curriculum for the entire semester. They're able to adjust on the fly because of their great network of companies that they work with as well. Again, centric.com/610.
There's no better time to hit the court for some exciting action in college basketball. Sign up with BetMGM using bonus code JoshK1000 and place your first bet on March matchups. If your wager loses, you'll still receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets. And find out why March is the most magical month in sports and take your shot at tournament wins. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly and offer resources to help you make appropriate choices. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager and physically present in Kansas to bet. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. First online real money wager only. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
It's Josh Klingler. It's that time of year again where I'm throwing stuff on the outdoor flat top for dinner. And I stopped by my neighborhood Hy-Vee store and beeline to the meat department for some ribeye steak to make some cheese steaks. By the way, Hy-Vee Prime Reserve beef is the same steakhouse quality you're going to find in Kansas City's best restaurants. It's the highest quality corn-fed beef raised on family farms right here in the Midwest. I'm also on a salmon kick right now, and I only buy Hy-Vee's Responsible Choice Seafood, backed by their commitment to sustainable and responsible sources. You hungry yet? I'll catch you at the meat and seafood department at Hy-Vee.
Spring into savings this weekend at Hy-Vee's gigantic 2-day Fuel Saver sale. Shop Hy-Vee this Friday and Saturday. Swipe your Fuel Saver Plus Perks card and earn a 50-cent per gallon fuel discount with your $50 purchase. Look for Hy-Vee's everyday value and low price lockdowns throughout the store. Spend just $50 and save 50 cents per gallon. That's a $10 savings on a 20-gallon fill-up. You'll jump for joy this Friday and Saturday only at your Kansas City area Hy-Vee. Valid in store only. See store for details.
US 69 Express Constructors is hiring for all positions. Stop by Doubletree in Overland Park on Thursday, March 23rd from 3 to 6 p.m. for an on-site interview and start earning competitive wages and benefits immediately. We'll see you there.
The tournament is heating up, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. That's because right now FanDuel is giving new customers a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Just go to FanDuel.com/win and sign up today to claim your no-sweat first bet. Then you can wager on everything from the point spreads to which team will be cutting down the net. All on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use.
Must be present in state where lawful to wager. 21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable sportsbook bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Or visit FanDuel.com/RG. Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Tennessee, Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9 with it in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 or visit KSGamblingHelp.com Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP Louisiana. Visit MDGamblingHelp.org in Maryland. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. 1-800-522-4700 Wyoming or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net West Virginia.
Catch the basketball tournament pizza special only at Old Shawnee Pizza. Get a medium one-topping pizza with a small order of breadsticks for only $16.99. Call or go to ShawneePizza.com today. Only at Old Shawnee Pizza. 2 locations, Shawnee and Lenexa.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage? You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Mobil 1 can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP extended life oil filter for only $38.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hi. Who's this?
Buzz. He appears whenever you eat Honey Nut Cheerios.
Like a genie?
Sure.
Ooh, does he grant wishes? I wish I lived in a giant boot. No, I wish I could swim with a humpback whale. No.
I can grant you a delicious bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios, which can help lower cholesterol as part of a heart-healthy diet.
Ooh, with heart shapes, too.
Happy heart-shaped Cheerios are back for a limited time. Pick up a box of Honey Nut Cheerios at your local store for an easy, delicious, and heart-healthy start to your day.
Scott the Scots here. Do you hear that? Bring the mic in close. That's not how the grass should sound. There's weeds everywhere in this lawn. It's time to take action with Scott's Turf Builder Triple Action. It gets 3 jobs done at once. Kills weeds, prevents crabgrass, and feeds your lawn so it keeps growing strong. Ah, much better.
Get a bag of Scott's Triple Action today. It's guaranteed, or your money back.
Feed your lawn. Feed it.
For your guaranteed biggest refund and 50% off tax prep, switch to Jackson Hewitt. 50% off is a limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Mostly cloudy today with a high of 51.
Weather brought to you by Auto Trader. Shop millions of new cars, used cars, and electric cars on Auto Trader and find your 1 in a million car. Finally, it's easy. Auto Trader.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getgm.com.
Chiefs coverage 610 Sports is brought to you by Park and Go. Book Park.com.
Getting ready to go on vacation can be stressful. Lucky for us, there's Park and Go. Easy online reservation, free instant shuttles, luggage assistance, and all spots are covered. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. The best deals in airport parking. Park and Go, family owned and operated.
Coverage of opening day is brought to you by the KCKPD, accepting applications for new and experienced law enforcement officers. KCKPD.org for more information. Equal opportunity employer.
One of the bullet points, new standards will be enforced.
Chiefs Kingdom. This is Mitch Holtis, and welcome into the Chiefs Red Half Hour on Cody and Gold. Every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner, the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
All right, let's talk some Chiefs football. It's the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Again, coming up in about 30 minutes, at least in the noon hour. That'll be when we're giving away that 4-pack. I know a lot of people have been asking about that. 4-pack of tickets to opening day a week from today out of Kauffman Stadium, plus parking. But yesterday, towards the tail end of the show, Elijah Moore ended up potentially being on the market, we thought, and ultimately got traded after the Jets signed McCole Hardman. So, okay, Elijah Moore was an option. Chiefs didn't pull off a trade for Moore. He ends up in Cleveland. We know there's been plenty of rumblings about Odell Beckham Jr. and DeAndre Hopkins. You just keep going through, and Hopkins and Beckham are still options at this point, although Jeff Darlington mentioned today on ESPN that he believes that Odell will still end up signing with the Jets and that Beckham has a mutual interest. And, of course, we know Aaron Rodgers is going to factor into some of that with the Jets. But I'm just going through, like, all these names and all these opportunities, Cody. Like, they've had every opportunity to go and improve the wide receiver core to this point, and they haven't. You may, on one end, say, well, that scares me. That concerns me. On the flip side, to me, that tells me that they have the plan in place that we may not know about. A lot of times...
Are you basing this, though, because it turned out last year they had a plan, even though maybe at some point we were concerned about it?
I'm basing it partially on that for the wide receivers, about how the panic happened when they traded Tyreek Hill and they still were the best offense in football. That's definitely like 50% of this. And the other part is, even go back to the Orlando Brown Jr. trade 2 years ago. At that point, everybody panicked when they whiffed on Trent Williams, when he ended up staying with the Niners. And we're like, what is this plan? And then when the plan comes together at the end, because that's the thing, they have a plan.
But even you were worried about it at that point because we didn't think Orlando Brown Jr. was on the table.
Right, but that's kind of my point, is like right now it seems like, well, if you don't go and do that, what the hell are you going to do? What? I have confidence, and I think this organization to this point has shown time and time again under this regime in the last 3-4 years, 2 Super Bowl rings, perfect offseason a year ago, their ability to draft that. I'm not concerned. Like, if they wanted Juju Smith-Schuster, if they said, you know what, Cody, to be a top 5 offense, we have to have Juju. Guess what? Juju Smith-Schuster would be a Kansas City Chief because they offered him a contract. They weren't willing to show as much love as New England was, so he chose to go to the Patriots. Fine by him. Never going to fault anybody for taking more money. If they wanted McCole Hardman back on a 1-year, $6.5 million deal and felt like he really is someone we have to have part of this team, he'd be back with this team.
The real question, though, is because you're right, but that might have been, hey, let's say Juju was plan A, but the price got too expensive, and then Odell's plan B, but maybe he gets too expensive and he ends up with the Jets, and DeAndre is plan C. Sometimes whatever your plan is doesn't come through. Like, how far down on the, what do you think the plan is remaining? Because, I would say my next plan would be get DeAndre Hopkins, trade for him, pay him what he wants these next couple of years, and bring in DeAndre Hopkins. But I hadn't even thought about some of the problems that might exist in this deal. Like, there's reporting right now that DeAndre Hopkins doesn't want to practice at all during the week. DeAndre Hopkins, for the last couple of years, in order to keep himself healthier, which hasn't worked necessarily, but, has been like, I don't want to practice during the week. That's not really Andy's bag. Matter of fact, that was one of the criticisms of Eric Bieniemy under guys like LaShawn McCoy. Be like, hey, he treated me like I was just every other guy. How dare you? But that's the Chiefs' model. The Chiefs' model is to create that. So if the DeAndre Hopkins plan goes through, just out of curiosity, you obviously don't know. We don't fully know the answer. What do you think the Chiefs' plan is? Yeah. Let's say Hopkins isn't their plan. Yeah. What do you think it is?
Yeah, so real quick, let me go back to the DeAndre Hopkins point and your concern about him not practicing. I would argue if you want to win a ring in your career, DeAndre Hopkins, you're getting down to the end of your career, buddy. Then you want to go play with the best quarterback in football. You want to go to the organization that's won 2 rings in 4 seasons, get your ass out of practice. If not, go get traded to Cleveland. Have fun over there. I mean, it's pretty simple for me. And if his answer is, I don't care, I don't need to win a ring, then fine, he won't be a member of the Chiefs. So I think it's pretty simple. I don't think that's that big of a hurdle.
Like you're saying he's got to cave to what they want to do, not the other way around.
It's pretty simple. As far as your question about the plan, yeah, like we don't know even a couple years ago. Was the Orlando Brown plan F or was it plan B? Was a year ago?
It was like plan C.
Was Juju Smith-Schuster and MVS signed? Were those plan E and F?
Juju was clearly plan A, right? Because they tried to get him the year before.
But my point is just that this team has shown, whether it's plan B or plan D, that they have been able to make it work. And yeah, I have plenty of faith. So the next plan, if you tell me that Beckham can't come here, DeAndre Hopkins can't come here, then I'm assuming they're going to sign some random veteran receiver that we don't even know exists. Okay,
you think it's going to?
And they're going to draft a wide receiver in the 1st or 2nd round, and they're going to rely on Travis Kelce, wide receiver number 1, because that's what he is. That part cures a lot of this problem. I've told you time and time again, the only time I'll be concerned truly about the wide receiver core is when Travis Kelce is no longer in Kansas City, or he is what you think he won't ever be, which is not a 1,000-yard receiver. Like that will be when I'll be concerned. But if I know Kelsey's 1,200 to 1,300-yard guy next year, and then I have Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore, who to me will have an increase in production. We're trying to find 900 yards, by the way. That's what we're talking about with Juju. We're trying to find 900 yards. If all of a sudden Juju...
And we're trying to find 12 because McColl's gone.
Okay, so 1,200 yards. So MVS...
Based on what happened last year, not total.
Yeah, like MVS, let's say he's about the same. Maybe there's a 100-yard increase. Sky Moore, maybe there's a 200-yard increase.
There's McColl's number.
Kadarius Toney, maybe there's because I think it's true, maybe there's a 300 to 400-yard increase for Kadarius Toney. I go draft a guy. It's not crazy. My point is, it's not crazy to go get to that 900 yards. We're only 250 yards away at this point in time.
You're making it sound like I should anticipate some trade that's going to make me sad.
A trade? Nobody's saying trade.
Well, because to me, some of the free agent wide receivers available, I'm not even sure fit the model you're talking about. Because the way you broke down the numbers is we're looking for a between 400 and 600-yard receiver, not a 900-yard receiver. Which
you don't need one guy to replace him. I would prefer they do that. You told me I can't. You told me I had to go.
Which means like
down
the Chiefs announced a trade tomorrow for Kendrick Bourne, and I'm like, oh God. Is this what I have to settle with? Because that is yet another decline in what they're doing. And I understand they'll have a rookie wide receiver too. This is why, I'm telling you right now, if DeAndre Hopkins didn't fall through, before I started getting in this 400-yard receiver plan, my plan would be to go up in the draft.
I just up. I told you, go draft a wide receiver.
No, I meant go up, though.
Oh, you're saying
at this
top
point,
15?
Yeah, screw the 400-yard free agent wide receiver.
Yeah.
And I'm going up in the draft, and I'm getting a guy who is 700 yards. And I'm looking for the full-blown replacement all in there before I try to go find out if, I don't know, Jawan Jennings is available. I'm mentioning the saddest names because I'm a little bit worried that what's actually going to happen is in a couple of weeks, Nick, and I'm sure that you guys can, but what's going to happen here is in 3 days, they're going to announce some trade with some team for some wide receiver that we're like, oh, okay.
Well, all right, doom and gloom, Cody. You're being a little doomy. You're being a little gloomy.
What do I do? Do I think they're going to win
No, you're not.
7 games
Come
because
on,
of that?
Okay,
I'm also
let me cheer you up.
I know we're...
Cheer me up. Okay, I'm ready.
Go ahead, Nick.
Okay, guys. There's still a lot of wide receiver free agents. All right? There's still a lot of names out there.
I don't think this is... I don't like this list
Okay, well, listen. DJ Chubbs, turn that frown upside down. Okay?
I retract my endorsement of what Nick's about to say.
How about a little guy? How about a guy by the name of Kenny Galladay? What's that do for you?
More than your wide receiver,
That's
you
right.
know?
How many failed Giant receivers can you have in one team, though?
Well, there's plenty of room right now. You only got 3 receivers on the roster. Okay, you don't like that? Try this one on for size. Formerly Robbie, now Chosen Anderson. He is chosen, guys. What about Chosen Anderson?
Zero interest.
Could he be the missing piece? Okay.
Zero interest.
All right, you know what? You're right. I'm on the wrong track. Let's bring back somebody who knows the system, knows the offense.
Are you
a guy
say
by
Byron
the name
Pringle?
of Byron Pringle. Or you know what? You don't like him? Sammy Watkins, also available. A couple of familiar faces. Bring him back in. Get him reintegrated into this new Chiefs offense. I mean,
let's just get Julio Jones in here instead, you know?
How about Jake Kumaro? Jake Kumaro. Yes, that is a real free agent wide receiver.
He's 31?
And guys, that's just the tip of the iceberg of the names that are available. There's plenty more where that came from.
Oh, my God.
Rashad Perryman, N'Keal Harry.
This is the saddest list of wide receivers you've ever given.
Dante Pettis. Demarcus Robinson, by the way, also free agent.
There's your 500-yard wide receiver.
Yep.
And also knows the system, Nick, as you had pointed out previously.
It is. I just don't know how many times we have to fall in this trap. I know we got to talk about solutions and everything. I get it, but it's March 23rd.
By this time last year, they had traded Tyreek.
A year ago today was the day they traded for Tyreek, or traded away Tyreek. Tomorrow, the 24th, tomorrow a year ago is when they signed MVS. The draft is still 4.5 weeks away. I am far from worried about what Brett Veach is going to do with the wide receiver core. And if you're saying this just because of Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, yeah. And I think that overall there will be some improvement with some of the guys. I'm more optimistic than you are, obviously, on Kadarius Toney's role next year. I understand the concern with the injury stuff. That is the biggest concern for me. But if all of a sudden Toney is a 600-yard receiver next season, that is a huge chunk of what you're asking to replace too. And we all think they're going to draft somebody. The question is, are they going to draft a top 20 pick, or
are they going to take another guy in the second round who's good for 250 yards? Because
I'm just not. I'm not going to be very concerned. If you tell me they don't sign another free agent and they don't draft a wide receiver, then okay, then we can have a conversation. I don't believe that'll be the case. I feel just fine. I mean, we just went through this a year ago, and it's not done yet. Multiple offseasons in a row, we've oh my God, because they didn't sign everybody on day 1 and 2 of free agency. They didn't get their solution on day 1 or day 2.
But we're about 48 hours away from they had Juju, they had MVS.
So
we knew they were going to draft a wide receiver, and they had it solved.
Let's see what happens in the next 5 days. Yeah.
Because I mean, and I don't know how many days it'll take before you're on the side. Like, if we're 2 weeks away and this is still the wide receiver unit.
Well, then I'll be banging on the door more about on this desk about going up and trading up and drafting. I would argue about that's part of the offseason. For whatever reason, we've assumed they can only if there's any team that should realize you can improve your team in the draft, it's us here in Kansas City. 21 to 22 picks have been contributors to this football team. So they got to solve all the problems at wide receiver or any position in the first 2 weeks of free agency, or it's been a failure, is laughable to me.
You know what some of it is? They have not been able to recently solve their needs at wide receiver in the draft. That's probably why, in addition to that, it's like that doesn't feel like it should be plan A, but until last year, they weren't good at drafting defensive ends.
Exactly.
I get it. And they took a pretty good one in George Karlaftis.
Wow, just in the nick of time, boys. Am I right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Is this when you're going to tell me they're taking offensive tackle instead of a wide receiver? Is that what's going to happen here?
I don't know. I haven't checked the draft.
I'm fine with that.
He always looks at it right away. Who is this from?
DeLon Jones.
This is from Greg Allman. Allman.
The Allman Brothers?
No, not the Allman Brothers.
Wasn't he Greg Allman?
Allman. A-U-M-A-N.
Okay.
He is an NFC South reporter for Fox Sports. So, he's not covering the Chiefs or
the cover the Bucs.
I think he still does cover the Bucs, but now now the rest of he has branched out to cover the rest of the division as well. With pick number 31, Greg A. has the Chiefs selecting offensive tackle.
Damn it!
From Ohio State, DeWand Jones.
I seem to remember a certain mock draft that we did on this show yesterday, Cody, that had him going 31. Do you remember that?
If I got to watch Greg Dortch catch 50 passes for this while they have it on, I'm going to be so mad.
Relax.
Why is it always Greg Dortch?
Relax, man. Relax. It's going to be fine. It's going to work out. Also,
another wide receiver off the board, by the way, Jamison Crowder to the Giants. For some reason,
how dare they not sign Jamison? Are we going to freak out because they didn't sign Jamison Crowder? I mean,
God, no.
We did our priority list earlier this week on,
and I was lower on tackle.
Yeah, and that's fine. So I get it. I really don't have a problem if they draft a tackle at 31. And it's funny just because that's the name that we pulled yesterday in our mock draft as well.
Well, he's the tackle who will likely be available towards the end. I'll say that if they get the pick right at 31 and he's a really good right tackle, they're going to do the same thing they did last year, which is have a top 5 offensive line in the NFL. And if you're not going to have, I'll say this, if you're not going to have the weapons that you need, then
Just
you
give
have
Patrick all the 7 seconds on every drop.
I thought that was part of their plan last year. Part of the reason when they built all that stuff around the offensive line was, hey, we're taking a dip down at the wide receiver, and what we're going to do as a relation to that is we are going to just give Patrick Mahomes all damn day to throw. He's one of the least sacked quarterbacks in the NFL. He had one of the most amount of times in the NFL. Like, if you're going to do that, fine. Like, I guess just build up the offensive line to its greatest point. Because I felt like that was the Aaron Rodgers years for the MVP, although he still had Devontae Adams. But one weapon to one weapon, as we said, Patrick Mahomes does still have Travis Kelce. Because the rest of the wide receivers around Devontae Adams, those 2 MVP years weren't great. He just had all day to throw, right? Do you like that actual player, Nick? You're the draft expert.
He's got the longest arms of all time.
Well, they like that. And that also matters for tackles when people draft him. Not just for the Chiefs, but for a lot of NFL teams.
Turns out Ohio State is going to be producing some freak athletes.
How many first-round picks do they have?
This year?
Stroud? Let's say he goes like how many?
Well, they have both Paris Johnson, who's the other tackle.
Johnson, and
the reason why Paris Johnson is projected to go higher is because he actually played left tackle. DeJuan Jones played right tackle for the Chiefs.
This is always
for Ohio State.
By the way, when you have a guy who's going to be in the top 10 who plays left tackle, that'd be the easiest I could flip this guy to left tackle decision ever. Be like, the only reason he wasn't playing left tackle is because that guy was a top 10 pick. Not because he can't play left tackle, which I think that's I'll say this, for as much as I give a hard time, this isn't like how I would hate safety. Like, this isn't I'm not dying on this hill like I was the Michigan safety from last year, where I would have absolutely lost my mind. I see where there can be a benefit in this, and I do like the flexibility of, if we still have to move Jawan Taylor to right tackle because there's a problem, having another guy who could potentially play it, that 5 or 10% chance that Jawan Taylor's actually a right tackle, that would significantly improve your right tackle plan. Wiley did a fine job, but that would be a big bump up. And still good at left.
Another one.
Another mock draft, guys. This one hot off the press.
I hope it's like a Todd McShay. We haven't got like a Todd McShay one.
And this one,
what's Todd doing? Is he sleeping?
Todd is selective when he releases his mock drafts. I'll tell you who isn't, though. My guy, Kevin Hansen.
Who?
Kevin Hansen of Sports Illustrated. This, guys, is mock draft. I don't know where we were the first 4, but this is mock draft 5.0.
He's already at 5? This podcast only put out 1?
Also, by the way,
draft is in KC.
Why are we in this mode of always saying 1.0, 2.0? Just say 5. Just say 5. Nobody's ever like 1.3. This is my mock draft 1.3.
What about 1.5, where, you just do the first round that
I feel like one guy came out with mock draft 1.0, and then everyone's like, oh, I should probably put a point there afterwards.
Well, it's so different. It's I don't know, like the XFL, this isn't XFL 3, it's XFL 3.0. They're calling it XFL 3.0.
It's an improvement. It's an enhancement upon my last one. Kevin Hansen, guys, he's been doing this for a while now. Mock draft 5.0. He had the Chiefs taking with pick number 35, wide receiver out of Boston College, Zay Flowers.
I see that name a lot. I keep thinking, like, are they ever going to take a wide receiver size? And then you actually look at all the wide receivers in the draft, like, are they all 5'9" and 180 pounds?
So there are actually.
Are they all that size?
You know what's kind of odd, and this is what is a little enticing, is that a lot of the bigger-bodied wide receivers are projected to go later in the draft. There's a guy whose name's escaping me out of Stanford, who's projected to be a 2nd or 3rd round pick. Xavier Hutchinson from Iowa State. He's bigger, 6 foot, 220. Trey Palmer from Nebraska. These are really popular picks, but they're not guys projected to go in the first round.
Because all the first round guys are like Zay Flowers size. Like, his Wikipedia page says he's 5'10", 172 pounds.
Yeah, he tested as 5'9".
Like, if you didn't like the idea of bringing back McColl, then you shouldn't really be looking for this type of wide receiver, right?
Well,
Gold,
earlier, 2 things real quick. Earlier this week, we went back and forth on that when I think it was the kid out of North Carolina was mocked.
Josh Downs.
And that was one of the things I had brought up, is like, I'm kind of sick of that. But also, I don't know if it's fair to compare everybody to what McCole Hardman was in Kansas City.
Well, here's my biggest...
small does not necessarily mean gadget.
Well, no, here's my biggest issue with that. It's that we are assuming that is the reason why McCole Hardman wasn't a great receiver.
Yeah, it's because he wasn't big, and then Tyreek Hill was like 5'7".
Have we considered the fact that McCole Hardman's just not very good?
Yep.
That maybe he wasn't a hard worker. That maybe, like, he didn't do the things to become a good football player. It's not to say that everybody who looks like him or is built like him is going to be bad. Now, I'm with you guys. Like, of course, we're all attracted to the guy. I had to stop myself. I had to stop myself before I even got the word out. We all want the prototypes, the guys who are 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2", big, strong, athletic, can make the freak plays, but usually those guys get drafted a little bit higher. But it's not to say that the smaller dudes can't be really, really good in the NFL.
No, there's plenty of like shorter wide receivers who find themselves into being valuable assets. It's just a lot of times it seems like the Chiefs draft these guys and then they all kind of use them the same. Again, it's like the Chiefs'
big
history.
Receivers, Juju Smith-Schuster and MVS. MVS is 6'4". That doesn't mean I want to go get the next 6'4" receiver. Juju was so built. I don't want another Juju because it's not like he's he's a number one receiver. He's just another dude.
Greg Dortch is only 5'7".
Text line pointed it out. Michael Wilson is the wide receiver from Stanford. Thank you.
It's concerning that all of their wide receivers would be the same size. Although in fairness, it's like
MVS is 6'4". Tony's 6 foot.
And we talked about like a trade for Tyler Lockett. He's pretty much Zay Flowers size. So I mean, it's not that you can't be the kind of receiver that Juju Smith-Schuster is at that size. It just feels like every receiver in this draft who's projected to go in the top 40, most of them seemingly are fitting this model of size of receiver.
Look, I mean, we know Travis Kelce, tight end, but lines up all over the place, right? Lines up in the slot, lines up outside. This goes back to when we've been discussing phrasing it as pass catcher instead of wide receiver or drafting a tight end.
Trying to include the tight end.
This is where you get into whether it's Kincaid or other guys that I know Nick likes Kincaid.
Yeah, you want someone with size. Dalton Kincaid's got that for sure.
Yeah, you've got that, and it's someone that you don't have to just line him up as a tight end. You could have him in the slot throughout, especially his early part of his career. So that's where that becomes intriguing. Maybe if you're on board and you're saying, I don't want the shorter wide receiver, well then you start looking at a bigger pass catcher. That's not to say wide receiver, but then the best of those are the tight ends, not the wide receivers. Unless you're talking about Quinn Johnson, who, again, they would have to probably trade up to 15.
I don't know. He's fine. It's weird. He's kind of all over the place. Yeah. Some people think he's a top 10 pick. Some people think he might fall to the mid-20s. Like, I think Mel Kiper Jr. had him going 24th. Who knows?
By the way, if he's available at 24, then all of a sudden you're in trade range where you're not giving up a ton to move up from 31 to 20. Like, it's not impossible. The Chiefs, we know, last year moved from 28 or 29 to 21. So 31 to 24 is not much different.
Just keep trying to think about, like, every time we get it back into
what do you
wide
give
receiver.
up, like a 4th-round pick?
Very similar to whatever that compensation was last year to move up. It's probably very similar.
Yeah, which is like a 4th. It's just not. It's not going to be that expensive overall. And we know that, like, sometimes they still get wide receivers. I think maybe it was like a week ago, Nick, that you pointed out, like Henry Ruggs and where Jerry Jeudy went, and then how, CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson went after those guys. It turns out they're probably better NFL wide receivers than the two guys who had gotten taken ahead of it. It's not hard for Quentin Johnson to just be like, no, we don't want that guy. And then for him to all of a sudden be at 26 and be the best wide receiver in the draft is not weird.
And it's so funny looking back on sometimes the scouting report. Like, the reason why Jerry Jeudy went ahead of CeeDee Lamb was they were like, well, Jerry Jeudy is one of the most polished route runners we've ever seen coming out of college. And they're saying, CeeDee Lamb is good after the catch, but he's not great at separation. Well, seemed to figure the whole separation thing out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were doing this the other day.
Based on athleticism.
When we were talking about DeAndre Hopkins, and who's, of course, been in the league for a while now, but we were going back and looking at his draft profile. We all laughed at one of the weaknesses they listed, which was like, struggles to track the ball in the air or whatever, which now is like one of the things I think of with DeAndre Hopkins is like, good luck. If you're a defensive back, while your ass is still turned around, he's found the ball and is already catching it. So it's just funny how that kind of stuff happens.
My God, in that draft where Ruggs and Jerry Jeudy went, the next 4 wide receivers are all better than both of those guys. CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Brandon Ayuk, and T. Higgins are the next 4 wide receivers, and Michael Pittman Jr. Next 5 wide receivers.
Wasn't T. Higgins like the first pick of the second round?
Yep.
Not even a day one guy.
Turns out it worked out pretty good for them. Michael Pittman was the second pick of the second round.
Coming up next, we'll get to what's trending, your chance to win that 4-pack of tickets and parking to opening day. And we'll talk some K-State hoops tonight. They open up the Sweet 16 against Michigan State. So what's the path look like? How long can this ride continue? We'll tell you next.
Cody and Gold on 610 Sports Radio. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
There's no better time to hit the court for some exciting action in college basketball. Sign up with BetMGM using bonus code CTAP1000, that's CTAPP 1000, and place your first bet on March matchups. If your wager loses, you'll still receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets. Find out why March is the most magical month in sports to take your shot at tournament wins. So give yourself a chance and use that bonus code CTAP1000. BetMGM and GameSense reminds you to play responsibly and offer resources to help you make appropriate choices. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager and physically present in Kansas to bet. New customers offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. First online real money wager only. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Hello, Madame Dupree. I'm here for my fortune telling.
Come, gaze into my crystal ball. I see financial stability.
Nice.
If you switch to T-Mobile, because you can get their price lock guarantee, so they won't raise your rate for talk, text, or data ever.
Wow, ever? Verizon and AT&T don't have that.
And I see a free Samsung Galaxy S23 Plus and no trade-in required.
No trade-in? Hey, wait a sec. Do you also work at T-Mobile?
Well...
Get the new Samsung Galaxy S23 Plus at T-Mobile, free on our Max plan when you switch. No trade-in required. Plus, you get our price lock guarantee, so we won't raise your rate for talk, text, or data ever.
With eligible port-in, $800 via 24 monthly bill credits and $200 virtual prepaid card rebate, plus tax for well-qualified buyers. Contact us before canceling service to continue remaining bill credits or credits stop and balance on required finance agreement is due. Register prepaid card code within 30 days. Allow 8 weeks. Price lock exclusions like taxes, fees, select promos, and third-party services apply. Details at T-Mobile.com.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war in the term life industry. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man aged 45, non-smoker, can get $1 million of coverage for $75 per month. Level rate for 10 years. Or a man aged 50, non-smoker, can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of $110. Level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for a new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote. 800-786-9161. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 1-800-786-9161. Remember, 1-800-786-9161. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-smoker rate class. Exam required to qualify.
You can change your career in just 4 months with Centric.
Go to Centric.com/610 and see for yourself how you can start that new career. We talk about it all the time. It's easy to get into a job you don't want. IT is the future. Make it your future.
More stability, more consistent pay, more career advancement. That's what they offer at Centric, because cybersecurity and IT is the future.
You can pay with a GI Bill and several other financing options available. Go to Centric.com/610 and start your new career in as little as 4 months.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war in the term life industry. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man aged 45, non-smoker, can get $1 million of coverage for $75 per month. Level rate for 10 years. Or a man aged 50, non-smoker, can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of $110. Level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for a new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote. 800-786-9161. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 1-800-786-9161. Remember, 1-800-786-9161. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-smoker rate class. Exam required to qualify.
Ask Sherwin-Williams during the spring sale, March 24th through April 3rd, and get 35% off paints and stains with prices starting at $28.92. That means 35% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, 35% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
When people have a craving to explore new and traditional Asian cuisines, they head to P.F. Chang's, where scratch-made dishes come from the 2,000-year-old tradition of wok cooking. P.F. Chang's wanted to explore new possibilities for their website. They turned to AmericanEagle.com. AmericanEagle.com re-architected P.F. Chang's website, integrating multiple third-party systems to create a unified digital experience. The results? Improved page speed and performance, personalized content based on users' location, intuitive online ordering, an increase in organic search visibility, and a 40% increase in new users. For scratch-made Asian cuisine, visit your local P.F. Chang's or go to pfchangs.com for website design, development, digital marketing, and hosting that produce efficiency, revenue, and results. Visit AmericanEagle.com. P.F. Chang's and AmericanEagle.com. Another example of the best businesses in the world, turning to the best in the business for websites. Go to AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW1. That's 877-WEB-NOW1.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios. Subscribe and download to the all-new Character Concerns podcast with new episodes every Tuesday leading up to the NFL Draft in KC. Find it on the Odyssey app, 610sports.com, or wherever you get your podcasts. KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app. What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending.
Number one on What's Trending, K-State Hoops tonight, opening up the Sweet 16 against 7-seed Michigan State. The Wildcats 1.5-point underdogs. Tip-off at 5:30. You'll hear it here on 610 Sports Radio. Pre-game coverage begins at 4:30 as Kansas State, and we'll talk more about this, trying to get to an Elite Eight for the second time in the last, about 5 years. 2018 was the last time they were in the Elite Eight.
Really looking forward to the game. Obviously, it's a close point spread, but from K-State's perspective, year one of Jerome Tang continues to just feel great, because if they lost this game tonight, they would still feel tremendous about where they are, the season they had, the coach they'd hired. Yeah. But God, if you win tonight, then Saturday with a chance to go to the Final Four for the first time since the 60s, completely different feel to that game. This one feels way more house money because the pressure really is on to be the first time in 60 years to get where you want to go on that end. Feel a lot different. Next up on What's Trending, Aaron Wilson at least reporting that maybe it's a bit of a more of a long shot on DeAndre Hopkins. He claims that the market is headlined by the Bills, per NFL sources. 5-time Pro Bowl selection has interest in the market. He claims that the Chiefs and Ravens are not among the bidders right now due to the financial impacts in those things. I don't know if it's going to happen. It's always seemed like OBJ was the more likely candidate than DeAndre Hopkins. But the report from Jeff Darlington earlier today is that the OBJ market's headlined by the Jets.
Yeah.
So who knows? I don't know if the Chiefs are going to end up with any of these two big names remaining, but at least Aaron Wilson reporting that the Bills could be in on Hopkins. I guess in a second we can talk about whether or not that's the same as we felt last year about,
during the season,
some players.
Yeah, during the season there was, Odell Beckham Jr., even if he doesn't sign here, just don't sign with the Bills, right? That was a conversation everybody was having. Ultimately, he never played for anybody. But yeah, so financial expectations might impact interest from the Chiefs. He didn't say the Chiefs are not among the bidders. He said financial expectations might impact any further interest from the Chiefs. Then said Ravens not
that they can't afford
bidders.
them, that financial expectations. Because the Chiefs clearly have a certain amount of money they're willing to spend at the wide receiver position this year, and they have yet to cross that threshold.
Maybe there was some truth to everybody reading into, I don't know if you guys follow DeAndre Hopkins on Instagram, but last night he tweeted out, or not tweeted out, he put on a story, lyrics, and he actually played the video to Bob Marley's Buffalo Soldier. And now this comes out that the Bills are headlining. Nick. Are we saying that those are connected?
Why did you say my name?
You just felt like the breaking news sounder was going to be appropriate there.
No, I will tell you this. Aaron Wilson's the same guy who was saying that the Chiefs were in on Laramie Tunsil, even though 2 days later, Ian Rappaport said, that was all made up.
So, hey, by the way, I hope he's wrong in this case.
Maybe he has a different NFL sources this time.
This one's one of his good sources.
It is funny, though, that a day, less than 24 hours after DeAndre Hopkins just happened to put a Bob Marley song, Buffalo Soldier.
12 minutes from now, that's probably where Aaron Wilson's getting his report. His sources is Buffalo Soldier got played on his Instagram page.
And then DeAndre Hopkins' next story last night, on his Instagram was him drinking an orange juice and said, anybody else like OJ like I do? And then I was diving deep. I'm like, Buffalo.
How much time last night did you spend on DeAndre Hopkins' Instagram page?
I mean, has he not been the number one topic on our show the last week? Him and OBJ?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, Buffalo Soldier OJ Simpson played for the Bills. I'm thinking I'm just going all over the place.
And you were down the rabbit hole. Really? By the way, the idea that DeAndre Hopkins would choose an O.J. Simpson reference to hit at his possibility of going to the Buffalo Bills.
I'm just saying, Buffalo Soldier, maybe just a big fan of Bob Marley.
Yeah, that seems like it's a pretty popular song. Next up on What's Trending, the Big 12 announcing a unique partnership with Rucker Park for youth clinics led by its coaches this summer. They're aiming to play exhibition games at the legendary court in 2024 over at the Athletic is what the report is. I'll say this. I don't know how it's all going to work out with Brett Yormark as far as how the Big 12 kind of shapes itself, but they're doing a much better job and a completely different job with branding than under Bob Bowlesby. This is a very different vibe for how they're handling it. Obviously, he comes with the Jay-Z background and this idea of image and how you're going to present themselves. They're doing a better job presenting themselves right now. That's for sure.
It's smart. It's extremely smart. I mean, but the old guard of the Big 12 would just be sitting around on their ass, not trying to think of new ideas and things like that. So, yeah, this is a good sign. I mean, it's not conference realignment per se, right? But it's expanding your brand. That's what you should be doing. Expand it out east. Go into other conferences' territory with that. And if you're a coach, you like it, right? Because it's good exposure for your program. If you're any Big 12 coach, if you're Tang or yourself and you're doing a coaching clinic at Rucker Park, one of the most historic and famous venues for basketball in terms of where you can find talent as well, it's a great showcase. Heck, I'll say, we'll talk about K-State in a second. Just playing in Madison Square Garden tonight is a pretty amazing thing for exposure for the conference, for K-State.
Of course it is.
And for that program going forward. That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Text line 913-586-7610. How many beers did you have last night, Alex? Damn. Look, I saw the DeAndre Hopkins Instagram thing, and then I ended up following Hopkins. It turns out I already followed Hopkins on Instagram. I didn't know that at the time, but I was already following DeAndre Hopkins.
I'm gonna need to start doing what you do. Not what you do, but like Twitter sleuths. We'll sit there and be like, so and so unfollowed this team on Instagram. I'm gonna start following who you're following.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
I already unfollowed a couple former Chiefs. I don't need them anymore on my.
Alex. What if Alex unfollows Cody? Would you ever consider unfollowing Cody?
Why?
I don't know if he annoyed you, if he pissed you off.
You said like ex-Chiefs. Like, what if we weren't hosting the show together
technically,
anymore? Would you follow me?
That's. I follow my I still talk to.
But you're friends.
Co-host.
Would we stay friends if we stop hosting the show together? You know.
All right. Full transparency. What's your current contract situation, Gold?
Current contract situation?
Yeah.
Negotiating.
Okay. So, if all of a sudden I wake up one day and I see that you've unfollowed Cody Tapp, that tells me he could be headed for greener pastures.
That's right. That's exactly right.
What's the next market you're looking to go to? You know, outside of this one.
What if he just goes and joins the competition?
Wasn't going anywhere.
Would you ever consider? Okay, right now, just get it on the record.
Never said I was.
Promise you're not leaving and joining the competition.
I can promise that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not going. I'm not going anywhere. I wouldn't call.
I don't even know who would consider switching from one station to the other in this town, and I find it offensive.
I mean, if you're the type of person that would walk across the street and go from there to here, I don't know who the hell you are.
You know what? That person would suck.
Wait, Cody, wait a second. Huh?
Can't think of any examples, honestly. So let's just move on. Can't think of a single person that has ever even considered that, let alone actually done it.
Yeah.
You know?
It makes me question. Whoever has done that really changes my opinion on them. Really does.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. I am excited for K-State tonight.
Are you really excited though?
Honestly, they've been one of the teams who have played better in the tournament than most. I understand they missed a lot of threes in the round of 32 game, which led to it. But because Noel has had his moments in this tournament and some really big moments in this tournament, they've been one of the more entertaining teams to watch, but also from a local perspective. Look, we were excited all three locals got a chance to be in the tournament. Kansas had their run last year and won the national title. Missouri, for the first time in a long time, has a relevant basketball program because it had been several years. I like seeing the locals succeed. From a K-State perspective, it makes our job, but also just the sport, way more interesting if K-State's going to actually start having major moments in the NCAA tournament. Because, yeah, they made an Elite Eight 5 years ago. They haven't been to a Final Four since the 60s. And I think they're going to win tonight, which means I think tomorrow we're going to be discussing what a Final Four run would look like for K-State. And as you well know as anybody, if you get to that point, you actually, there's no more goofing around. I don't think you can have a serious conversation right now about K-State winning the national title. I think you have to get further in the tournament for me to really be kicking that conversation around.
I think they're down to 16-1 at some books. They're still 25-1 at others to win the national championship. And value-wise, it's not a terrible one because all of a sudden, if they did beat Michigan State tonight, at that point, why not?
The winner of FAU
to
and
at least get to a final.
Tennessee?
Why not? You would probably hedge before you actually got to. If K-State found themselves in the national championship game, I would encourage you to hedge just because you got a ticket at 20-1 or something. But look, I think for Kansas State, if you look at their program in 2018, towards the back half of Bruce Weber's tenure, they made an Elite Eight. This is year one of Jerome Tang. And you've already laid this foundation of a Sweet 16 appearance and, potentially playing for a shot in the Final Four by the time we get to Sunday if they take care of business tonight.
And they get to keep playing the underdog card, the free roll card, right?
Yeah, they're a very likable team right now, I would say. Their coach, it starts with him. Likable coach.
Yeah.
I think Noel is likable, but also fun to watch. We saw it play out against Kentucky. And then even the Coach Cal comments, which they've moved on from, but him calling him what he did, I think that also made K-State and Noel more likable. There's the New York tie-in here to playing at Madison Square Garden tonight. So, you're going to maybe need to go on the transfer portal next year and find a point guard if you're K-State or some guards. Being on this stage, having the standalone game last Sunday, and now standalone game tonight to open up the Sweet 16, that's huge for their program just in terms of exposure as well. And when you see the clips come out and you hear from Jerome Tang, if you are someone that's playing college basketball right now and you're thinking about transferring, you've already entered the transfer portal. One, you've seen, it's a program that's capable of being right up there with anybody because they're at the Sweet 16 right now. You see a coach that seems really likable. I'm just saying, very good exposure, and it looks fantastic for Jerome Tang.
You think they're going to lose tonight, or you like them to win?
Yeah, so if you're asking me to pick, I do think Michigan State wins tonight. This, to me, will be the closest game of the evening. The Gonzaga-UCLA game is the one I'm the most excited for, the West Coast game late tonight. I think that those are two teams that can truly go and win the national championship.
Well, Gonzaga's been in the Elite Eight four of the last 7 years.
And UCLA was in a Final Four a couple years ago. But this Michigan State team, they were 2 of 16 from 3, and they still beat Marquette by 9. Now, K-State was 0 for 11 or whatever to start its game against Kentucky and then made 2 crucial threes down the stretch to really pull away. I think Michigan State, and both teams probably will shoot better from 3 tonight, but I think Tom Izzo and Michigan State's ability tonight, I think, to shoot the 3 ball a little bit better, I believe they'll end up winning this game. But I think whoever wins, it's a 4 or 5 point margin at most. I don't think either team's running away with this thing tonight.
How big, you'd mentioned this a little bit, but program-wise, this win, does it move the needle much, or is that got to be more the Elite Eight to the Final Four end? I feel like it's a pretty good swing.
I just told you. I think it has massive implications for recruiting, specifically the transfer portal, because that's where, let's not kid ourselves, that's what this roster's been built on.
And that's also the new recruiting, man. It almost matters more than whatever kids you're getting when they're 18.
If you're Kansas State, that's what this roster is for the most part. Jerome Tang in the summertime had 2 or 3 kids on the roster. And then
he didn't even complete his roster until June.
Well, let's not act like this is uncharted territory for K-State. They've been here 3 times. They went twice under Frank Martin and once under Bruce Weber. So they've been here
They get to
before.
the Sweet 16, yeah.
But you're saying if they get to a Final Four or something like that.
Well, that to me, that's the real swing. This game to me is I think this is the free money game. If you lose it, think about how good you're gonna feel still. You found the coach. You made a Sweet 16 in year 1. You were one of the top 3 teams in the most difficult basketball conference. Your season was a massive success. Even if you lose tonight, it just was. You win this one, and you're sitting at that. That's actually where I think pressure kicks back in. Saturday night, and you're playing for a chance to go to a Final Four, something you haven't done since the 60s when it was a 16-team tournament. We're having a very different conversation program-wise because programs in college basketball are really weird. So, some of these same names that keep popping up. You mentioned Gonzaga and UCLA, UConn. UCLA, UConn, these are programs that have had tons of success, but they go through the ebbs and flows of success, right? UCLA will go to 3 straight Final Fours with Ben Howland, disappear for a decade, show back up and be a Final Four team again. UConn, who was winning titles under Jim Calhoun, will disappear for a few years, show back up, be a really good program, because they never really go away. They just have the down years for their program. They go back out of that. K-State rides that wave, but at a much more extreme level, because they don't have the Final Fours or the championships. They're like the tier below those ones that manage to keep doing this. Getting to a Final Four can help propel you to that. You won't be there by any stretch of the imagination, but it can help you try to maintain a multi-year success part where next year, round of 32, Sweet 16s are expected again versus this year's just like a happy surprise.
I mean, if you're just asking, has the expectation already for next season gone way up? Of course. I mean, we can say the same thing about Missouri as well. Expectations for Dennis Gates in year 2 are going to be much higher, as they should be, right? This is how it works in coaching. This is why if you're Andy Reid, if you're Bill Self, if you're Bill Belichick, these guys that are the top of their profession, it's almost impossible for them to win a lot of times National Coach of the Year and NFL Coach of the Year because the expectation gets so out of whack because of how much winning they have done, frankly. And so that will change. Like whether the K-State wins or loses tonight, next year, multiple tournament wins will be the expectation again, fair or not. It just that's just where people will view them.
And look, that's the same thing with Kansas, right? We say like round of 32. A lot of times that's successful for college basketball programs, but for Kansas, we said that was a tournament disappointment because of course it is. They're Kansas.
We'll talk some Royals baseball coming up, and in 10 minutes or so, your chance to win that 4-pack of tickets to opening day plus parking. To opening day against the Twins next Thursday. And, of course, you can hear Royals baseball all season long on 610 Sports Radio. I do have to bring up something, though, because you shared something in a group message with us, and I feel like I'm going to save this photo. I feel like, Nick, we need to tweet this out.
You're going to use this against me?
I know you like cooking.
Yeah.
I know you like cooking. You brought in the key lime pie. Baked it.
Very good.
That was fantastic last week.
You were a big fan.
I have to ask now, what else are you cooking? Because,
nothing.
Because there was a photo you sent us, and it'll make more sense if we tweet out the photo, Nick, but you look like Heisenberg.
I was painting.
You looked like, guys, he had a tent. He had the full suit, the respirator on, and it was just you standing in your garage. Now, you weren't quite, like underneath that, I don't know if you were like Heisenberg, where you were just in your underwear as well.
No, I had shorts.
And I don't know if any of your neighbors can text in. Please let us know, 913-586-7610. If you saw any fumes coming out of the house, perhaps. What were you doing?
A UPS guy stopped by while I was in the middle of it. Ask him, I guess.
You looked like you were cooking something.
I was painting.
Yeah, but why did you have the jumpsuit on?
Yeah, the whole thing,
I didn't want to get paint all over myself.
Then just wear old clothes. That's what people have, old T-shirts and stuff. You don't go out and buy an entire hazmat suit.
Yeah,
Is that a ludicrous decision to buy a hazmat suit?
Yes.
Yeah. I also got the respirator
mask. No, the mask is fine. If you're painting in a closed garage, like I get it. If you're using like a spray gun, which I assume you were.
But if you're cooking, you need the respirator.
Yes.
You were using a spray.
Yep. Which I bought last year for the decking.
You didn't need to have that suit on. That was so ridiculous.
Why? I don't think that's a ridiculous
put
purchase.
On an old ratty T-shirt, some old ratty shorts. That's why every guy keeps around like that old pair of basketball shorts, that old T-shirt, those old shoes. You don't need to have that suit.
But then the paint would be all over my arms or legs.
It's like every time I cook dinner, I don't put on a chef's hat and an apron.
You invested in all this for
the suit was $12
for painting. And if you're gonna, how many times are you going around paint? Are you painting other people's houses now? No,
I will not be painting other people's houses. It might have.
You know what that is, Gold? It's like when he has to put a Band-Aid on his daughter's knee. He puts on scrubs and he puts his hands up in the air. Like while his wife comes and sanitizes his hands and puts the gloves on, and he's getting cleaned off afterwards. It's like, calm down.
I didn't want it in my hair and my arms. I don't think it's a ludicrous purchase.
The
mask was $20. The suit was $10.
It's the most Cody thing.
$12.
All right, I'm going to save this photo. People need to see the photo, I think, for this to make more sense. But honestly, first thought was, what are you doing to make some more? We talk about side gigs and stuff. I was like, what are you?
Do you need a piece of furniture painted? I guess I'm your guy now.
Oh, that's the code word, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sure.
This would be an easy way to refund the show fund, you know?
Wow, that's true. Yeah, see, people are picking up hazmat suit to paint. Something else is going on, man.
There's not something else going on.
At Cody B. I'm putting it on my at Alex Gold on Twitter.
We get a borderline save this for the snitch line.
Well, that'll be your neighbors, okay? That'll be your neighbors.
I don't have that many
Your
neighbors
can snitch. The UPS driver can snitch if he wants, if you saw something coming out of that house.
I don't think it's ludicrous, Nick, to own a paint suit if you don't want to get paint all over yourself.
I mean, I don't know how many times I have to say the
If
same
I were
thing.
hand painting
Wear
something, it's
the
different.
old T-shirt.
But then I'd just be your arms and legs would still be covered.
Do you have a shower in your house?
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
So
yeah, just take a shower afterwards. Scrub off some of the dried paint on your arms. All
you
right,
can clearly see in
photo's
that
out there.
picture that I was painting.
I should have cropped it.
You act like there's like nobody's ever got paint on their arms and lived to tell about it.
Like you're just ruined my day.
Jesus.
I just think the photo's smart. It's a good cover. Like I painted as well. Do you paint before every cook?
Feels like
we got a lot of law enforcement that listens to this show.
Do we?
I've been checking it out.
There's only one officer
Breaking
that we know
Cody.
for sure that. Okay, I do like to cook, but not that. Just want to paint. This was just to make my ease of painting a large piece of furniture easier. I already own the paint sprayer.
Can you wear that?
I didn't want to hand paint this thing.
Can you
for
wear
what?
That? Just wear that in studio for a day, please.
For Club 610? Very different club. Just wear the whole thing.
Oh, is that how you're trying to spice up Club 610? You decided you start
Party
bringing,
drugs?
You start probably bringing some drinks and some party favors.
Yeah, I'd be a little bit different. Actually, that would probably be more realistic club vibe than we've been giving off to this point. You got to think about that part. You know, how committed, Nick, are you to the club vibe on this show?
What, you want us to?
Huh?
Are you suggesting?
He's suggesting I bring in party favors. I
You
said, how
want to
committed?
smoke meth during Club 610 on Friday?
That's not what I was suggesting.
Oh my goodness!
I don't like, and you guys know this. I don't like when you try to like speak in code, like drug code.
You just said it outright.
Yeah, when you guys are like, some of that good stuff. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
So
meth, because that's what it looked like you were cooking. And I'm not interested.
This is very official. This is I appreciate. This is why our text line is great at times. From the 816, I'm a state law officer. I listen to the show every day. I do believe there's something fishy going on. Hey,
this is an expert.
Then get a tap. You know what? You don't have a warrant. You can say the hell out of my garage.
I mean, is this probable cause, Nick? This photo right there.
Photo is probable cause?
Cropped out the stuff you did paint, and let's get to the bottom of this.
You think that that's probable cause? Just me being in a legally purchased paint suit?
With your background and your history?
My background?
I wonder if
I have a very limited criminal record.
If the police executed a search warrant on your home, I wonder what sort of contraband they'd come up with.
Well, they're not.
You went to Winnetonka. You're telling me you never smoked.
Don't you bring up my high school.
You didn't do any meth in high school.
No.
You've never one time tried it.
Not once. Shocking, I know.
What about crack?
No, I've never tried any.
You've never smoked crack?
No.
Why you keep raising your voice when you say no?
What, do you think that means I'm lying?
Gold, isn't that
So
commonly what people do when they lie?
There's no containers of, what is it from Breaking Bad? It's like the phenylacetone or whatever from Breaking Bad. You don't have any of that in your, none of that in your,
No.
okay.
You'll never, just normal garage supplies.
Someone says the UPS guy was
thinner.
Text line, was the UPS guy delivering cold medicine as well?
You think you just got a bunch of Sudafed delivered to the house?
Bulk from Amazon directly?
I don't think they let you buy Sudafed bulk anymore.
Probably not.
I do think, the more we pry at this, I do think there is some sort of like drug past that you're not telling us about.
What do you mean? What drug past?
I think you've tried stuff.
I'm not, no. I already said no. So.
I know you said no. I mean, that doesn't not case closed, OJ said he didn't do it either. They didn't just say, okay, we'll keep looking.
I think, same guidelines.
All right, coming up next, we'll talk some Royals baseball. We'll give you your chance to win that 4-pack to opening day plus parking right here on 610 Sports Radio.
You're listening to Cody and Gold.
He's so good, and everyone knows it.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Hey guys, it's Cody Tapp, and you have enough stressors in your life. Trust me, we all do. Take the stress out of your sex life and bring fun back to the bedroom. With Blue Chew, the chewable tablet with the same active ingredient as Viagra or Cialis, and you can stop worrying about whether you'll be ready when it comes time to perform. You want that confidence? You want the confidence that you and your partner are going to enjoy your sex life again? BlueChew.com can help you with that, making sure that you feel confident you can perform when the time calls for it. Go to BlueChew.com, use promo code Cody at sign-up, and you can get your first month free. All you have to do is use that promo code and pay $5 shipping, and it'll be in discreet packaging heading right to your door. By the way, it's an online prescription service, so no in-person doctor visits, none of those awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Just ships right to your door in discreet packaging. Go to BlueChew.com, use that promo code Cody, and get this first month free and bring confidence back to the bedroom.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage? You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Mobil 1 can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP extended life oil filter for only $38.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey y'all, this is your girl Cheryl Underwood, and I want to tell you something. My digestive system used to make me feel sluggish, but those days are over. Now I feel great. That's because I increased my fiber intake with the Metamucil 2-week challenge, and I'm still hooked. I just took Metamucil every day for 14 days, and it's really that easy. Metamucil traps and removes the waste that weighs you down, so you feel lighter and more energetic. Now I never want to go back to that heavy feeling. Are you ready for the Metamucil 2-week challenge? For a coupon and daily support, sign up at Metamucil.com today.
I'm McCall from Lee Summit Subaru, and we're committed to helping our community through the Subaru Love Promise, like our commitment to Hillcrest Transitional Housing to help solve homelessness. Lee Summit Subaru also sponsors several pet adoption clinics like Midwest Animal Rescue and events each year such as Dogtoberfest. If you have any charity ideas that you'd like to share with us, then come see us at Lee Summit Subaru. It's all part of the Subaru Love Promise. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru. LeeSummitSubaru.com.
The Ballerson Auto Group is an automotive source for dozens of reasons. 3 great dealerships provide everything you need.
We have over 500 vehicles, virtually anything you would want. Ford, Honda, Subaru, Chevy, Jeep, and more.
We also service all makes and models. All maintenance and parts, all bodywork and detailing, we keep your vehicle looking like new.
We are the oldest, largest family-owned auto group in Kansas City. Almost 50 years of service to over 1 million customers.
Thank you, Kansas City.
It's Josh Klingler. It's that time of year again where I'm throwing stuff on the outdoor flat top for dinner. And I stopped by my neighborhood Hy-Vee store and beeline to the meat department for some ribeye steak to make some cheese steaks. By the way, Hy-Vee Prime Reserve beef is the same steakhouse quality you're going to find in Kansas City's best restaurants. It's the highest quality corn-fed beef raised on family farms right here in the Midwest. I'm also on a salmon kick right now, and I only buy Hy-Vee's Responsible Choice Seafood, backed by their commitment to sustainable and responsible sources. You hungry yet? I'll catch you at the meat and seafood department at Hy-Vee.
Spring into savings this weekend at Hy-Vee's gigantic 2-day Fuel Saver sale. Shop Hy-Vee this Friday and Saturday. Swipe your Fuel Saver Plus Perks card and earn a 50-cent per gallon fuel discount with your $50 purchase. Look for Hy-Vee's everyday value and low price lockdowns throughout the store. Spend just $50 and save 50 cents per gallon. That's a $10 savings on a 20-gallon fill-up. You'll jump for joy this Friday and Saturday only at your Kansas City area Hy-Vee. Valid in store only. See store for details.
You can change your career in just 4 months with Centric.
Go to Centric.com/610 and see for yourself how you can start that new career. We talk about it all the time. It's easy to get into a job you don't want. IT is the future. Make it your future.
More stability, more consistent pay, more career advancement. That's what they offer at Centric, because cybersecurity and IT is the future.
You can pay with a GI Bill and several other financing options available. Go to Centric.com/610 and start your new career in as little as 4 months.
Wendy's 2 for $6 lets you mix and match some of our best items, like Dave Single with a 10-piece crispy nugs, medium strawberry lemonade with a spicy chicken sandwich, spicy chicken with a Dave Single with a strawberry lemonade, strawberry lemonade, if you're into that. Chicken Sam, crispy nugs, strawberry lemonade, Dave's, nugs, Sam. Whew. Pick what you want at a price you want. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's 2 for $6. For limited time, price and participation may vary at U.S. Wendy's. On the card only. Single item at regular price.
Lowe's MVP's bonus days are back for pros. Right now, buy a DeWalt 20-volt Max Power Stack Battery 2-pack at $199 and get a select DeWalt Bear tool free. Plus, earn 3 times the bonus points on all Metabo HPT tools and products. Shop even more savings and bonus points offers during MVP's bonus days at Lowe's. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid 3/20 through 3/31. Subject to change. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. Visit Lowes.com/MVP's bonus points for details.
Did you know Nissan EVs have traveled 8 billion miles? Just a quick trip to Pluto and back. And what did we learn along the way? Well, that an EV can take on the world, like the Nissan Leaf. It can move racing forward and take your breath away, like the all-new Nissan Ariya. We learned to make EVs that electrify. 8 billion miles driven by Leaf owners globally since 2010. 2023 Ariya has limited availability. All-wheel drive expected availability early 2023, subject to change.
I switched to Boost Mobile and got a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Want to know the best part?
It was free?
Nope.
The fact that it's on America's largest 5G networks?
Nope. It's the ding.
Oh yeah, love the ding.
Right? It's all about the ding. It's the dingarooski, the dingaroner, the ring-a-ding-ding.
Unleash your power to save with Boost. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone when you switch. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power.
And the ding.
Limited time offer. New customers only. Available on select networks. 5G not available everywhere. One device per line. Tax excluded. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
This hour of Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Supplement Superstores with 8 metro locations.
Hey guys, it's Nick Schwartz here, and if you're like me, you want a real fitness plan with real results, one thing that could help is 213 Flashpoint. Boost your energy, increase your metabolism, and curb your cravings. Check it out at any of the 8 Supplement Superstores locations in the KC metro area.
Coverage of opening day is brought to you by the KCKPD, accepting applications for new and experienced law enforcement officers. KCKPD.org for more information. Equal opportunity employer.
All right, back here on Cody and Gold. We'll get to the random question of the day in about 12 minutes or so. We were talking yesterday to Josh Vernier right around this time about the Royals. And, of course, opening day a week from today. And coming up in just a few minutes, you'll have your chance to win that 4-pack of tickets plus parking to opening day out at Kauffman Stadium when the Royals take on the Twins. But we were asking about the World Baseball Classic and the unfortunate part of not getting a ton of work at the World Baseball Classic if you were Brady Singer. Yeah, you're representing your country. Unbelievable experience. But Brady Singer is just today scheduled to start against the Padres and get like 3 innings, 45 pitches. Again, opening day.
That's usually about 3 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago, he'd be at that number.
Opening day is next Thursday. That's why he's not pitching on opening day, but that's also why it's not a guarantee he's starting the opening series.
Yeah, the earliest, most likely, would probably be the Sunday game. And I would think that he would be on some sort of pitch limit if he were to do that. And in the opening games, look, you got more guys around. There's more guys fresh, right? So you can get away with some shorter starts in the earlier portion of it. But dude, his last season started worse because he got messed around with a little bit, right? They made him start in the bullpen. Then he has to go work back through being a starter. And then once he got settled in, once he was down to his routine, he knew when he was going to pitch, all that stuff, he was dominant. I don't really want to screw up the first part of his season. Again, please don't take this as the get rid of the World Baseball Classic just because Jose Altuve got hurt or Adam Wainwright starting on the IL or because Brady Singer might not be stretched out. I think what happened here is, do not do if you're going to do this thing, still guarantee them a certain amount of pitching time. And whether it's too late, it's already happened, and this is the case, I am worried that it's going to impact the start to his season.
Well, I mean, it's going to alter it. It doesn't mean you can't have a good 2023, but if you are not going to pitch on an opening day, we thought he would likely have the opportunity to do. To me, he earned that right if he was stretched out based on what he did the final, 15 starts.
He would have been the opening day starter. There's no doubt.
2.2 ERA. I mean, you look at the numbers. He was going to be that. Okay, so fine, you miss opening day. But if he's just now at 45 pitches, by next Sunday, is it possible that he's actually able to be stretched out? I don't know about fully stretched out.
Probably going to be a couple starts.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate. I don't know if it necessarily equates to negative performance more than you're limiting how impactful he can be to your organization early on. Like, I don't think he's going to pitch poorly because of it necessarily.
No,
I just think
there.
he's going to lose opportunities, and he is their best pitcher. So that hurts your club, where you're trying to, of course, like anybody, get off to a nice start to the season. We know that's been a struggle for this organization as of late. By the time you get to May, the frustrations are already there. Like, so, yeah, it's not ideal. It's certainly not ideal, but what are you going to do? You're going to tell these players not to represent their country? In the World Baseball Classic, something that only happens once every 6 years. Although I saw something that they might be bumping it up to 2026 for the next go around or something.
Literally just seconds ago, Rhys Hoskins, who's really good first baseman for the Phillies, just left with a non-contact injury in the middle of a spring training game. So I mean, just minutes ago. So obviously, you can get hurt no matter the circumstance. The World Baseball Classic didn't do it. The problem was not Brady Singer getting hurt. The problem was that he didn't get a chance to get stretched out. He was healthy. He was fine. They just didn't give him enough pitching opportunities. Okay.
You trying to play something?
Bang. Oh, trying to play some sound I wouldn't play.
Is that the cue?
Okay.
Is that
that was the sounder to let you know that you can get a 4-pack of opening.
That's the cue to call in, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, caller number.
Number 9. You want to try that again? You want to just start over? It was so bad. It was so bad.
What did you
I
play?
thought I'd play a sounder of Vinny Pasquantino and ask for caller number 9 to win a 4-pack of tickets.
Okay, stop
to
right
opening
now.
day with Park.
Stop right there. Did you ever maybe consider to, I don't know, run this by the rest of the people on the show? Were we planning on discussing this at any point, or did you just decide to go rogue and say, this is what we're doing right this second? I didn't tell anybody about it.
I'm just going to
call
play
right
Vinny.
now.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Pretty much that.
913-586-7610. 913-586-7610.
Now that you've heard this sounder.
Bang, bang, bang.
You're good to go.
Worst giveaway ever.
Disappointed.
I am disappointed.
4-pack of opening day tickets and a parking pass as well for next week. A week from today, hanging out at Kauffman Stadium. Cannot wait to get out there.
You had mentioned earlier, which I think was kind of surprising me, that Brady Singer is the most bet Cy Young Award winner, but it's because of that. He finished the season with a sub 2.5 ERA, and if you took that over the course of an entire season, if he was a starter, he would have been in the mix for that. But it's his team. I mean, look, I hope that the Royals are a lot better than I'm anticipating. Don't you have to be a certain level of good in order to anticipate? Look, the rules have changed a lot, really, since Carlos Hernandez won it with 16 wins, and then Zach Greinke won it as a member of a Royals squad that didn't have enough wins that also accomplished this. But Brady Singer to win Cy Young, I'm hoping he has a great year. It is a bet. It's a long shot bet, but it feels like kind of a long shot.
Yeah, so he was 50-1 when it opened up. I go back to December, and I'm just basing these off. This is Caesar Sportsbook, but obviously they have odds on FanDuel and BetMGM. But just he was 50-1. That's who sent the information. But there's 50-1, and 24% of all the bets for the AL Cy Young this year were on him. So he's not 50-1 anymore, is what I'm getting at. You can check FanDuel. I haven't looked, but he went down.
I'm a BetMGM man.
You can check. You check whoever you want to check. You can
don't you tell me which app to use.
You can check BetMGM if you want. He's not 50-1 there anymore. He's got more bets than DeGrom and Garrett Cole, but it's a value thing. It's a value thing. We understand.
Yeah, of course.
that.
We all like the value bets because someone who's 4-1, you're not really getting a great price, especially for a bet you have to make the entire season. You're right. If I'm making a bet for 162 games from now, I'm betting on someone 50-1. I'm sure as hell not betting on someone 3-1.
Correct.
To get the pay, because I might get 3-1 100 games from now.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to sprinkle a few bucks on Brady Singer to win Cy Young, sure, why not? Whatever. I think the chances of him winning, the odds tell you that as well, are very, very, very slim. But he pitched well enough to where you think it's all about a value play. With how well he pitched the final 15 games, should he be better than 50-1 to win it, which is what he was in December? And most people looked at that and said, yeah, there's at least some value here. He maybe should be 20-1 or 25-1. And that's all it's about. To where if he were to get off to a good start, all of a sudden you'd feel nice that you have a 50-1 ticket when suddenly he's got the top 10 best odds or top 8 best odds. That's what you're hoping happens, and then you can set yourself up to hedge. That's what it is. But I thought that was interesting. Just looking at where the bets were coming in for him at this time. Of course, when we talk Royals baseball for opening day, it's brought to you by the KCK PD, which Cody might be familiar with here pretty soon based on our prior conversation. They're accepting applications for
I don't live in Kansas City, Kansas. They can't do anything to
and
me.
experienced law enforcement officers. KCKPD.org for more information and equal opportunity employer.
I mean, not anything to me in my home.
There is, as our boss Spec pointed this out, in the background of the same photo where you look like you're Heisenberg and you're cooking meth in your garage. There's the Creed Humphrey cutout is in the back, and he's just popped up over the tent.
Well, that's been living in the garage since our event, the Q&A with Creed Humphrey.
Yeah, was he
over his Protect Your Tailgate stuff?
Lurking.
I feel like that was something that was going to end up in the Cody and Gold garage sale this year. If anybody's interested in a...
Yeah, we are going to do that again. We'll let you know the
I would say it's like 80% of life-size Creed Humphrey cutout.
Yeah, it's good size. It's good. Don't get any paint or any
full.
Chemicals on it, please.
That's why at the tent.
No chemicals.
No chemicals on it.
No chemicals on it.
Otherwise you might worry about it.
Might cause it to warp a little bit.
Nick, were you able to get a caller for that? Did it work out okay?
I'm pretty sure we had plenty of callers. What's the guy's first name or gal's first name? Do you know?
Adam. Congratulations to Adam.
There you go. 4-pack opening day with parking next week. The Drive will have another opportunity for you today during their show.
I think they've actually been doing it a little bit different. So
I thought they had an opportunity today.
Well, you might, but they've been qualifying people all week. So it's a two-step.
But they are technically giving it away today.
They're slightly more organized than our me playing one drop of Vinny Pasquantino.
Bang, bang.
Yeah, they've been qualifying people, so they have a two-step process. Ours is just a one-step.
Seamless.
Call.
Seamless.
That's the step.
Here's the number.
Now,
listen to the show.
Second.
We'll warn you to call and then call.
We've been telling you all week. We've been teasing throughout the show. We told you noon hour today, and we gave it away in the noon hour today. Let's get to the random question.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Nick. Home in the J Southland Tow text line, 913-586-7610. This question today actually comes from my friends over at BetMGM, who, because it's March Madness, are working on their Instagram page on a bracket of the best basketball movies of all time. We've done this with baseball before in this show. Perfect time of the Sweet 16 and K-State playing the first game tonight. So very simply put, I just want to know your top, let's say two, because you say one, we're not opening it up. Your top two basketball movies of all time. I think mine are White Men Can't Jump and He Got Game. Those are two that I have liked this entire time. It's one serious, one less than serious. Oh, there's some serious notes, I guess, in White Men Can't Jump, but it's mostly a comedy. Those are my two favorite basketball movies of all time. I will admit I've never seen Coach Carter. I think that's going to be in a lot of people's list, but I've never seen it.
So I can't argue with either of the ones. My two that come to mind right away is Coach Carter, and then some people didn't like the movie, but I appreciated it. I really liked Glory Road. Texas Western. I really liked Glory Road. I thought that was a really good movie.
I always thought Hoosiers stunk, so that was never going to make my list.
That's just a classic one, but for me, Glory Road and Coach Carter, and I actually would probably put Glory Road high. I just really like that movie.
Are you sure Space Jam doesn't make your list?
Is that so?
Dude, Space Jam is a basketball movie, isn't it?
It is, but it's like I told you what I love about the original Space Jam is just the intro. There's that intro. If you ever needed to get hyped up. The intro where the kid's in the backyard, the young Michael Jordan, as he's played in the movie, where he's shooting hoops with his dad in the backyard. He's like, I want to go to North Carolina. I want to go to the NBA. And he makes a shot, and then they cut to the intro.
How's
and
Space Jam not on your list then?
Yeah.
Space Jam is definitively a basketball movie. The entire premise is they are playing a basketball game.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point about Space Jam. I wasn't thinking in that realm, but that's definitely.
Somebody mentioned Flubber on the text line.
Oh my gosh, Flubber!
When was the last time you watched Flubber? Nick, actually, I got a great idea. You can appear on Carrington's new movie podcast, and you guys can review Flubber. Thoughts?
Are you executive producing his podcast now?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
He did ask us yesterday to go on the movie podcast.
So I'm volunteering you, but to watch Flubber.
Okay.
What are your two favorite basketball movies? There's a million choices, by the way. This is a deep catalog of movies.
Oh, yeah.
Like Blue Chips or Hoop Dreams or...
I'm going to be honest with you.
Basketball?
I'm afraid of being completely honest. And
do it.
No, I don't.
Be honest.
No, I'm going to get crushed by everyone.
Were you going to say Above the Rim now, even though it's not your favorite basketball movie?
I'm going to get crushed.
Say Joanna Man?
No, I'm just going to get killed by everybody.
No, come on, say it. Be honest.
I don't like sports movies.
But you have to have
one
that you... If I were to force you to give me an answer...
Space Jam.
Okay. Text line says, probably thinking High School Musical for Nick. That's what you liked.
What about Hoop Dreams? That's a documentary. It's not a sports movie. It's a documentary.
I've never seen it.
Oh, man, that one's great.
So you don't like any sports movie? At all?
No. Like The Natural, Field of Dreams, none of that stuff, no.
Major League Rookie of the Year?
I like, the one sports movie I like is Friday Night Lights.
Okay.
Major League's good because it's a comedy, like Happy Gilmore.
Air Bud. Oh, Air Bud's another one.
I don't like
Air Bud, man.
I like comedy sports movies. I don't like just like sports movies.
So your top two could be Space Jam and
I think they're
Teen
all
Wolf.
they're all corny. They're all like predictable. Like it's just.
Well, I mean, yeah, Glory Road. We knew what happened at the end.
I just like
what Texas Western
if you
did.
do comedy, then I can get with a
So
sports
Waterboy.
movie. Yeah, that's fine. That's good.
That's not a basketball.
No, but now we're just talking sports and because Nick couldn't give us a basketball one other than Space Jam.
Yeah, Space Jam and
Teen Wolf.
Someone says you can't give Pembroke to the Paseo a shout out. That was a documentary. Doesn't count. That's Carrington's very, very good
Well,
documentary.
Hoopsman's also a documentary, and I mentioned it, I guess. But
that's I don't consider. I'm separating documentary versus movie.
But I mean, Nick, I understand. Like, I think the way you're describing the sports movie is everyone sitting in the theater with their arms around each other, being like, "It's so dusty in here." And I think that there are a lot of sports movies that don't qualify. That's Field of Dreams. That's The Natural. That's Glory Road. I think there's a lot of sports movies like The Basketball Diaries that do not follow that.
Fine, like Mike.
Okay.
You don't even mean that.
Yeah, I do.
You've never seen Mike.
Someone else. So this is the tamest random question you guys have had in a while.
You know what? I think we needed
You
a
did a
return
bunch
to
of
normalcy.
sexual ones over the last week.
Well, sometimes you gotta, find the
semi-pro.
Underrated one? Finding Forrester. Anybody ever see that movie?
Yeah, it's the first time I ever fell asleep in a movie theater.
What's
I'm not kidding.
Finding
I'm not even
Forrester?
kidding.
What's that?
I'm not even
I gotta
kidding. I
Google
went to the
that.
movies with my parents. When
Are
I
you
was a kid.
serious? I like that movie so much. It's really good.
Yeah, I fell asleep during that.
Hold on. 2000.
But
Sean Connery?
I was a little kid with going to the movies with my parents. I'm sure you at that point were
old
like you are now.
Also, my parents didn't take me to the movies. There's 7 of us.
You've always been old. So no, I know you probably went on your own. You were probably driving by yourself at that point.
By the way, this sounds terrible. This
sounds terrible?
It sounds like something Nick or anybody would fall asleep in.
It's very good.
Give me the synopsis.
A unique relationship develops between an eccentric, reclusive novelist and a young, amazingly gifted scholar-athlete. After the novelist discovers that the young athlete is also an excellent writer, secretly takes him on as a protege, they develop an unlikely friendship. As they team up and learn more about each other, they
Now
learn
read
about
Glory
themselves.
Road like this and not sound like a jerk.
With the help of his new mentor, the basketball star must choose the right path.
It's a very good movie. I want you to watch this movie.
Glory Road, after being appointed
No,
the new...
don't. You got to read it like a jerk.
Go. Sorry. I just actually fell. Sorry, I just actually fell asleep listening to Alex.
Yeah, you awake now?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Glory
man.
Road, it's based on a true story, so it's a little bit different. After being appointed the new coach of the 1966 Texas Miners, Don Haskins decides to build a team based on talent rather than race. The conservative townsfolk balk at the new racially diverse lineup despite the fact that the team is winning all their games, and then it goes on from there. They begin to dominate the court with flashy moves. The racial tension increases, jeopardizing the future of the
So
team.
they saw Remember the Titans and like, what if we rip that off, but it's basketball?
It's a true story,
It
jackass.
happened. It's a true story. Texas Western.
Let's just rip off that one.
Yeah, they actually beat Kansas, JoJo White, in the NCAA tournament that year, so it's a real thing that happened.
You just said you hate all sports movies. You don't have an
I've
opinion
never
that Glory
seen the
Road's
movie.
great
I
now.
just know what it's based off of.
I never heard in Finding Forrester until you said. Honestly,
It's a very,
never heard of it in my life.
very good movie. You should watch it.
Okay, calm down. All right, it's not like The Godfather Part 2 here. So
What's the by the way? Right now in theaters, is
Nick
there a
fell
movie?
asleep at age 9, so it can't be a good movie now.
What's the movie right now that you would go see anyway? I could
John Wick.
John Wick.
That's the one that just came out. Have you guys seen it?
I think it comes out tonight.
Okay,
No,
I'm
but I'll
talking
go see it
already,
soon.
Already in theaters. Sorry, I didn't. If there's something coming out tonight,
I would go see Cocaine Bear.
Okay,
Heard it's really good.
I would go see that.
yeah, John Wick. There's previews, but it's not out yet. I guess.
I think I think Nick's right. I think it maybe its premiere stuff is tonight.
Okay.
I'm sure there's something else I would go see that's out right now.
I still haven't seen the new Avatar.
I'm never going to see that.
I need at
The new
least
Marvel
30
movie.
people to die in the movie for me to go see it. So unless
Wow.
there's a basketball movie, where everyone dies.
Wow.
I don't think 30 people die in
action.
Cocaine Bear, but it's more fun because
I need action.
30 people.
And a current movie out that I already went to go see was Puss in Boots. So, got kids, got to go see that stuff. Now I'm pulling up the Rotten Tomatoes of Finding Forrester.
Don't laugh. Don't laugh, Gold.
What?
It's not funny.
Gold, will you watch Finding Forrester now?
No.
Nope. I just read the synopsis. It's done. I'm out.
You're not going to watch this now?
A novelist, and
I'll watch. Hey,
give
look,
me a break.
Look, I'll watch either Coach Carter or Glory Road if you'll watch.
That's way more entertaining.
I'm much more interested in watching Coach Carter than Glory Road.
Somebody
that's
is telling me about a movie on Disney Plus called Chang Can Dunk.
Chang Can
Why
Dunk?
are you laughing?
As in Jerome Tang? You're going to switch it for the song we're trying to do?
It's a ridiculous name.
Chang
Oh, because
Can
we were talking about making
That's
a song.
a ridiculous name. Why is it ridiculous, Cody?
It wouldn't matter the name. It could be Steve Can Dunk. That's a stupid name.
But it's not Steve Can Dunk, it's Chang Can Dunk. And you immediately thought that was ridiculous, which I think is interesting.
Oh, man. Boy, a young Asian American teen and basketball fanatic who just wants to dunk and get a girl ends up learning much more about himself, his best friends, and his mother. You guys want to watch this instead, or you want to watch Finding Forrester?
94% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm, higher than Finding Forrester.
Wait, does it really have 94%?
I'm serious. Yeah. It is. I swear, I just pulled it up. Yeah, 94%.
Is Chang Can Dunk like a really popular movie, and I had no idea?
Keep backpedaling there, pal.
It's a kids and family comedy. 94% on the tomato meter. 81% audience score. It's a Disney movie.
I don't know how many people you need to apologize to today.
None.
Most popular in theaters right now. John Wick's at 94. Looks like. And let's see, Cocaine Bear 68% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That could have 2%. It doesn't matter.
I wonder which group Cody will offend in the 1 o'clock hour.
I'm not going to offend any group.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, that's interesting 5
Glory
minutes.
Road, yeah, Glory Road. And then
Interesting 5
Glory
minutes
Road,
there. Yeah.
Let's just go ahead and recap it all. Glory Road, boring. Chang Can Dunk, ridiculous. You
said you ate all sports movies.
You accused one race of not being able to get tattoos earlier, if I remember correctly.
Also, I did the research on that in the break. That's a very old school, not currently.
It was a religious
Who are we
thing.
going to take on in the 1 o'clock
So
hour?
I wasn't-
Find out. Cody and Gold.
Yeah.
Oh, man. The text line to Nick's theory wants to know if you like We Are Marshall.
Nick?
Not exactly
No?
what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Tragic story.
Yes, it is.
Well, that's the random question of the day.
A tamer, although Cody tried to spice it up at the end. But it was a tamer. Random question.
It was. Past tense.
Yeah.
It was.
Uh-huh. It definitely was at one point in time. Real quick, though, we know everybody complains about refereeing in sports and whether or not we got replay right in sports and do they spend too much time on replay. There was a story out of Egypt, though, about it was kind of a lower-level soccer league. It's the second division, one of the leagues that they have over there. And a ref ruled a goal that it was a goal. So they go, okay, fine. The teams are complaining. They don't have VAR, okay? And so the ref went to the crowd and used the phone of a crowd member during the match to then find out that the goal should be disallowed. So you're in the stands, you're filming, you got a great angle, and they pull up the guy's phone, and the ref based his call and overturned a goal.
Did he get the call right?
Based on the story, it says yes.
Then I don't care.
He said they thought he had scored a late equalizer. The host protested due to a handball. After a long time spent reviewing the video on the phone, the ref decided to rule out the goal. 15 minutes of stoppage time were added. The ref left the pitch under police protection, and they threatened to take legal action against the referee for violating the rules because you're obviously not supposed to just use it off.
I mean, if he gets the call right, then who cares?
Could you imagine?
I mean, it'd be a hell of a way to
game?
lose a soccer match, but if in an NFL game, what, the sport that sometimes still uses a real chain to determine stuff?
Well, the replay is a little more advanced, but I mean, could you imagine if somehow there was an app? Let's avoid the privacy problems here. But there was an app when you went to an NFL game and it allowed them to like tap in. You record it and you tap in and they could just pull any angle from that.
Like they get every angle and then include like there are some real privacy issues there. Yeah, so let's ignore that for a minute.
As TikTok is being discussed today on a national level, yes.
That's political. I want to point that out.
Yes and no.
Are they testifying in Congress?
But they are today. They are, as a matter of fact. Do you have TikTok on your phone?
I do. I don't use it very much, but it's on there.
I'm just curious. Anyway, coming up next, we'll get to the 1 o'clock hour. Talk about something that happened a year ago today. Nick hates me right now. You should see the look he's giving me. And we'll get to the snitch line here on Cody and Gold.
Cody and Gold on 610 Sports Radio and the Odyssey app.
You talk on the radio. Yeah. You're a fanboy.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
We were talking about maybe a good side gig was being a bat boy. So maybe you're realizing, hey, I need a side gig. I'm not getting stable enough pay, consistent enough pay. It's just not enough. I need a new career. Well, how about getting a new career in just 4 months?
I don't know if bat boy is a full-time career, but I know IT is. So you don't have to do gig economy. You don't have to have side work. You can start your new career, as you said, in 4 months just by going to Centric.com/610 and seeing what options are available for you at Centric. They always say their job is to get you a job. And because they work with so many people who are looking for IT workers, they're really successful in making sure you get a job in as little as 4 months.
Yeah, they have a great track record. Over 1,500 companies have hired Centric grads. That's the kind of relationships they have built up to help you find a job in the future. Again, their job is to get you a job. We're talking about Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Cloud offerings, just to name a few of the opportunities.
Cybersecurity. If Nick's been using your computer and you want to make sure that, you're safe, it can cover anything you want, which means you get to choose the career you want. Go to Centric.com/610 to see what a new career in IT could look like for you.
Hey, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. This March, you know what I want you to do? I want you to protect yourself against those dangerous upsets with Bracket Parlay Insurance on FanDuel Sportsbook. Did that 15 seed bust your bracket, or how about the 13 seed? Well, right now, every single customer can get up to $25 back each day if your parlay of 3 legs or more falls just 1 leg short. And with that parlay, you could turn that small, teeny tiny bet into a slam dunk and a huge win. And with the cash out option, you're the one calling the shots. You can close out your bet whenever you want before the game is over. All you need to do is sign up to FanDuel Sportsbook account. So sign in, or if you're a new customer, go to FanDuel.com/CDOT to sign up today. One more time, that's FanDuel.com/CDOT. I want you to make every moment more with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app and the official partner of 610 Sports Radio. 21 President Kansas bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. Max bonus bet $25 per day unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. Gambling problem. Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage? Changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Mobil 1 can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $38.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey y'all, this is your girl Cheryl Underwood, and I want to tell you something. My digestive system used to make me feel sluggish, but those days are over. Now I feel great. That's because I increased my fiber intake with the Metamucil 2-week challenge, and I'm still hooked. I just took Metamucil every day for 14 days, and it's really that easy. Metamucil traps and removes the waste that weighs you down, so you feel lighter and more energetic. Now I never want to go back to that heavy feeling. Are you ready for the Metamucil 2-week challenge? For a coupon and daily support, sign up at Metamucil.com today.
Hi, I'm Rex with KC Real Estate Buyers, and I buy houses for cash. If you want to sell your home fast and easy without a realtor and save thousands in commissions and closing costs, call me today at 816-330-6000. You can sell me your home in as little as 3 days or on your time frame, and I guarantee to make you a fair and honest offer. My home buying process is simple. In fact, I can make you a cash offer right over the phone. Do you have a home that needs a lot of work? Did you inherit a house you don't want? No problem. I can buy your home no matter the condition, the situation, or location. You don't need to clean or fix anything. And remember, there are no commissions or closing costs. If you want to sell your home fast and easy, I'll buy it. Call me today for a free offer. 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000. I'm Rex with KC Real Estate Buyers, and I look forward to working with you. 816-330-6000. Or visit our website at rexbuyskc.com. rexbuyskc.com.
I'm McCall from Lee Summit Subaru, and we're committed to helping our community through the Subaru Love Promise, like our commitment to Hillcrest Transitional Housing to help solve homelessness. Lee Summit Subaru also sponsors several pet adoption clinics like Midwest Animal Rescue and events each year such as Dogtoberfest. If you have any charity ideas that you'd like to share with us, then come see us at Lee Summit Subaru. It's all part of the Subaru Love Promise. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru. LeeSummitSubaru.com.
The Balderson Auto Group is an automotive source for dozens of reasons. 3 great dealerships provide everything you need.
We have over 500 vehicles, virtually anything you would want. Ford, Honda, Subaru, Chevy, Jeep, and more.
We also service all makes and models. All maintenance and parts, all bodywork and detailing, we keep your vehicle looking like new.
We are the oldest, largest family-owned auto group in Kansas City. Almost 50 years of service to over 1 million customers.
Thank you, Kansas City.
US 69 Express Constructors is hiring for all positions. Stop by Doubletree in Overland Park on Thursday, March 23rd from 3 to 6 p.m. for an on-site interview and start earning competitive wages and benefits immediately. We'll see you there.
Planning for an upcoming trip? It's important to know that updated COVID-19 boosters are currently available at no cost to you. Remember that immunity could take time to build. Check eligibility and schedule at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code JOY at checkout. That's harrys.com, code JOY. Enjoy.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motor Studios. Opening day, Thursday, March 30th, starting at 2 on your home for Royals baseball in Kansas City. 610 Sports Radio, KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hanging out on a Thursday, it's Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Nick Schwartz with you. We'll get to a Snitch Line Thursday here in about 12 minutes or so.
I don't think I'm doing anything offensive this week other than what happened on the show.
586-7610. Well, that, again, neighbors, that photo that's circulating now on Twitter of you in a hazmat suit has people questioning it. So we'll see. We'll get to the Snitch Line coming up in just a little bit. But a year ago today, the Chiefs made the trade to Miami of Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill has been gone for a year now, and we know Kansas City at that point in time was still interested in actually having Tyreek on the team. It was not as if that was their plan all along, which is why we'll talk about in a second about where the Chiefs are with their current plan this offseason at the wide receiver spot. But at that point in time, like, they were willing to pay a certain amount of money. Like, the report was $26 to $28 million. It's just after Devontae Adams got the new deal with the Raiders, it became clear it was going to take $30+ million, and that was a number that they were not willing to get to. And so they trade him off, and it was weird that day. We're on the show. It's like the 10 o'clock hour of the show, and within an hour and a half.
Yeah, by 11:30, he'd been traded.
It went from it becoming public knowledge based on reporting that they had given Tyreek and his agent permission to seek a trade to then, maybe the Jets or the Dolphins were like, okay, maybe the Jets might be the better team to trade him to where he gets traded to the Dolphins, and the rest is kind of history. He had a great year for Miami, great year. And the Chiefs, of course, had the number one offense still and won the Super Bowl. They had a great year, and the Chiefs have better cap flexibility. Plus, they ended up drafting a couple players, of course, with those picks as well. Overall, I mean, there's no possible way you regret the trade. You won
the Super Bowl, yeah.
Honestly, they could have lost in the AFC title game. You still don't regret it. You had the number one offense in football, and you won 14 games.
In retrospect, it's why I'm trying not to over-panic based on the fact that I don't currently like the construction of their wide receiver room because their leading wide receiver is a guy who has never surpassed, 700 yards receiving, and at any point in his career. And, you start seeing these lists and all these rumors about where Odell Beckham and those guys can go. And I know we can get into that further, but, go through the whole thing and just look through the value of the trade. It doesn't go one for one because they made several other trades outside of this, but pretty much what it netted them was Trent McDuffie, it netted Joshua Williams, Darian Kennard, and Sky Moore. And I know that if you hear that list on its own, you're like, It's like, would I have traded Tyreek Hill for Trent McDuffie straight up? Because Kennard doesn't play. Sky Moore had 200 yards receiving. And Joshua Williams was a nice fourth corner who had to make some starts for this team in some desperation times, but did matter to this team at several different points. But there's only one guy, in my opinion, of that grouping that we just mentioned with still a chance to be like one of the best players of their position. That's Trent McDuffie. Similar to what Tyreek is, but you got 4 for 1. You got all the financial stability. Hell, you might get the 4th round pick you still had left this year, right? And if that's the case, I think that was so. If that's the case, then everything's still plausible. And because you won the Super Bowl, there's no way. The way I view this is, and I hope that this is the way the offseason continues, because this is the only reason you can bank on the fact that this plan will work for a second consecutive year. That was the first of probably 10 consecutive decisions that Brett Veach got right. He didn't miss. I'm dead. He did not have a single miss from that point on. Traded Tyreek Hill. He brings in MVS. It works exactly the way it's supposed to. They keep Chris Jones around. We talked about that. They keep Frank Clark around. That's successful. He goes to the draft, and every single player outside of Darian Kennard plays for the team. Several of them meaningful minutes. He's nailing 7th round picks. He's traded for Tony in the middle of the season. It was just hit after hit after hit after hit after hit. It was nuts. It was an unprecedented hot streak. Just shooting 100% from 3. Like, I don't think you should go into this offseason and be like, what if I just make all the right decisions again?
Yeah, and I just don't think that's how they approach it. I think we know that plan A and plan B don't always cash for you, and I think we've seen that play out not just last season with the Tyreek Hill trade, but going back, always go back to the Orlando Brown Jr. thing, because we know everybody was all in on Trent Williams, and reportedly they were close to getting Trent Williams, and then he decided to stay in San Francisco. They offered more money, and there was panic at that point in time. And clearly they had to shift to B, C, whatever the plan was for the Orlando Brown Jr. trade. And that ended up working out for Kansas City. Yes, they don't have Orlando Brown on the roster now, but they won a Super Bowl with Orlando Brown Jr. as their left tackle. It worked out. If you look at what the draft class was as tackles that year, that was still the right decision based on who they would have got at 31 or 32, I guess it would have been that year. Yeah, 31 in that year. So we couple the last couple off seasons where they, on March 23rd, had an incomplete picture of their offseason. This unknown. We don't know what the finished product looks like. They have a better idea than we do.
This time it seemed like they weren't in free fall, but it was like, what? Because like that time a year ago, it felt like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
They got no one at wide receiver because, they just traded away their number one wideout, and that seems nuts. And we didn't have a full picture of what the offensive line, we're like, I don't know what the hell's happening here. There were just a lot of questions.
So because of that, they've shown time and time again that the end product, like it's not as if March 23rd, free agency, it's over, it's done, can't better the roster. Again, second and third wave of free agency. You still do have DeAndre Hopkins out there, although we'll get to it, a little update on that in a second. Odell Beckham Jr. is technically still out there. And there's this thing called the NFL Draft, which, it's going to take place in Kansas City. This thing called the NFL Draft still exists. So I'm not panicking yet. You're trying to make up for 900 yards from Juju, 300 from McCole Hardman. That's really what you're looking at. It's not about the names as much as do they feel as an organization, Andy Reid, Mahomes, and I'll add Travis Kelce to this mix because he's a huge part of this and is the reason why this offense works without having a bunch of stud wide receivers. Do they feel that they have guys in-house plus someone else or two they can bring in still that can get them to that number that maybe isn't viewed as, wow, great, sexy number one wide receiver, but someone that they think, okay, if Tony's going to bump up, let's just say conservatively 300 yards, Sky's going to have another 200. We think MVS with more targets, maybe he gets us an extra 200 yards. You start piecemealing it together, and you're like, okay, we're actually not that far off from getting to that 900 to 1,000-yard mark. It might take multiple guys. So I think the panic is crazy at this point in time. Will I be more concerned when officially Beckham and Hopkins aren't available? Yeah. But I think this organization and front office has, to me, earned the trust that I believe that they will have an end product with this wide receiver room that they can accomplish what they feel they need to accomplish. This team was the number one offense last year, and they signed Juju Smith-Schuster, who I was a big fan of. I would have liked back in Kansas City, but it's not like they had to go last year after trading Tyreek Hill and go and sign Jamar Chase to make it to be the number one offense. They had Juju Smith-Schuster and MVS as their acquisitions.
I think that one of the things that stands out is this was also the time that we know when what Brett Veach's offseason strategy has been pretty much the entire time really held true, which is we have a number or an amount of draft pick compensation or whatever, but we have a line. We have a line in the sand, and we won't cross it. Most teams will. Like, it's important to know that most teams, let's say that they're like, we're not paying more than $11 million a year for this player. Let's say for the Chiefs, it was $9 million a year for Juju Smith-Schuster, $8 million a year for Juju Smith-Schuster. And someone's like, well, we'll give him 11. Well, sometimes in the GM's case, a lot of times, as a matter of fact, they'll give up that little bit of extra draft pick compensation. They'll pay the extra couple of $1 million because they like the fit so much. They will go 15%, 20% beyond whatever their number is. And Brett Veach has shown time and time again that there absolutely is a line. Because the Tyreek Hill thing, we all know, and you should accept, their plan was not to not have Tyreek Hill. They wanted to pay him. They sound, by all accounts, it sounded like they had a deal in place. It sounded like they had worked it out. They knew what they were going to pay him. And then Devontae Adams got traded to the Raiders. And he got a whole bunch of money. And Tyreek Hill talked to his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, and he's like, that's a lot more money than I'm being paid right now. And I am on that same level, so let's go get some more. And when it turned out that the Chiefs weren't willing, they were probably willing to go to $24, $25 million a year, and they weren't willing to go to 30. And I understand that that's all paper numbers because the 30 is really like 25, and the 25 is more like 20. It doesn't really matter because the base numbers is a good comparison for it. But Miami was, because most teams give up all the draft pick compensation to pay him $30 million a year.
Jeff Darlington was on ESPN earlier this morning. Here's what he said, though, is the latest when it comes to Odell Beckham Jr. and free agency.
And that's the most important thing I think about this conversation is the fact that just because you see this wide receiver room continuing to shift does not mean that they are done work. We should very much consider Odell Beckham Jr. still on the table as an option for the New York Jets. In fact, we can go even further to say that both sides would still like to see this done. Financials still in the way of actually finalizing this thing, but I still think that Odell Beckham Jr. will wind up with the New York Jets.
Jeff Darlington on Get Up still thinks that Beckham is going to end up with the New York Jets. He's usually pretty locked in, pretty good. Jeff Darlington, well-respected reporter.
Washed up.
It doesn't mean that it can't end up shifting in a different direction. But okay, let's just go with that. I mean, that would tell you potentially that Beckham's not really an option. All right, then what about DeAndre Hopkins? There was a report in the last hour from Aaron Wilson, who, as Nick has pointed out, not always 100% accurate by any means, who sent out a tweet that said DeAndre Hopkins' trade market is headlined by the Buffalo Bills. Financial expectations might impact any further interest from the Chiefs. Ravens not among bidders.
Now, he also said Larry Tunsil was, maybe going to Kansas City, and somebody else refuted that report as being largely unfounded. But
correct.
This is certainly the rumor time, and I don't know. If they end up with neither of these guys, then I guess we just have to accept that the only remaining plans are sign lower-end wide receiver guy, DJ Chark.
And draft someone. Time it together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's probably part of this plan no matter what if those two guys aren't there. Or trade for semi-established wide receiver on the roster. I'm trying to go back in the history. Because, if we got 1 year ago from Brett Veach, it's what do I think he is most likely to do based on what we've seen him do before. And I feel like it's either draft a wide receiver without trading up, mind you, because he's done very little of that. The Trent McDuffie trade up was a rare case for Brett Veach, in a case where they had a guy in the top 10 and decided to go against that based on that. The other option they go with is trade for a guy who is on year 2 or 3 of his rookie deal because he's cheap and will make the most of him. Like they did with Kadarius Toney. That's why I thought yesterday when this whole thing came up, it was like I had planned on being one of the things we talked about to start the show today, that I was going to say the Chiefs should go trade for Elijah Moore. Now, we teased that at the very end of the show. I'm like, I was thinking about that. I was looking at it a little bit. I'm like, oh, man, it makes so much sense. He's like a 600-yard receiver, but he's had nobody throwing him the ball. There's clearly tons of growth potential in there. He's young. You get 2 cheap years. They need to get rid of the wide receiver. It makes so much sense. And then he went to the Browns. That conversation
a trade I would have done, and Elijah Moore is 22 years old, and they only owe him 1.4 this year and 1.8 the next year. So I like the trade a lot for Cleveland.
Listen, man, is there not – okay, I'm sick and tired of this. Is there not one superstar receiver that's willing to, come over to Kansas City on, a veteran minimums contract to just play with the GOAT?
That gets
overblown.
What was that?
Was that James Palmer said that wide receivers were blowing his phone up.
Oh, yeah? What is he doing?
None of them are signing.
He got it on airplane mode? Pick up the phone.
These guys want. Look, I think
the
it's
Chiefs
overblown.
Need help.
People want to win, but they also feel like they know what they're worth, right? and they want to make sure that they're properly compensated. You can want to go to a certain place, but if you don't feel like you're being properly compensated, then you're going to go elsewhere.
If the Chiefs go into next season with like DJ Shark as their number 2 receiver, I'll jump out this window. I will jump out of the window of this 3-story building. No, I'm not going to relax. I won't relax. That's not okay.
Let me ask you: how bad do you think the offense would be, Nick? Let's talk this out. DJ Shark is the receiver they bring in. They also draft a guy. Let's just say in the 3rd round. How bad is the offense? They're going to go from first to what?
I mean, probably on the outside looking into the playoff picture, and I've come to terms with that already.
Outside looking into the playoff picture.
It's specifically if they sign DJ Shark.
Why do you hate him so much?
He's bad. He's so bad.
He's just slow.
He's slow, has no agility.
Hold on, he's tall.
He's a bad route runner.
He's tall, though.
Okay.
So, are you factoring
so
that?
is Boban. Should we go sign him? He's tall. Hey, Rob's tall. Can he go play receiver?
No. Do you think that Andy would find a way to use Boban? Do you think he'd find like a...
No.
I mean, he throws to Jody Fortson.
Guys,
He gets like 5 catches a year.
We need to stop acting like this is okay. Like any of this is okay. Like it's going to be
I'm just not going to freak out about the wide receiver room.
I'm ready. I'm ready to freak.
Go for it.
I'm there.
I'm picking the Chargers. Do they have the vibes this year? They have Super Bowl vibes for you?
Okay. Do you think the Chiefs have Super Bowl vibes right now?
Yes. They always have Super Bowl vibes, bro. They always have Super Bowl vibes.
Forever. But it's like perpetuity. You're going to need to give me a few years down the road before that answer is no. They just won the Super Bowl, so...
Vibes are pretty much all of Super Bowl. Nothing but Super Bowl vibes.
Actually, you know what? I'm back. Because I think Sky Moore... What will happen is it's just like we'll expedite Sky Moore's timeline. He's a 1,000-yard receiver next year. No,
you are the highest. You are the leader in the Sky Moore.
So I'm up in that number.
Camp.
Yesterday I said about 700. Today I'm up to 1,000.
Well, then you got nothing to worry about,
All right,
Nick.
we're good. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I just needed to talk it out.
The number you have reached. You've called the snitch line.
And if I have to tell you again, we're going to take it outside and I'll show you what it's like.
913-662-1270.
Leave him alone!
Please leave your message for Thursdays at 1:15 on Cody and Gold.
And if you think I'm kidding, just try me. Try me.
So we're good? 913-586-7610. A snitch line Thursday here on Cody and Gold. Something you need to get off your chest. Something you've seen around Kansas City. Something you've maybe done yourself.
Or somebody else has done to you. Doesn't matter. This is your time. And look, it can remain somewhat anonymous.
It is. I mean, it is fully anonymous.
We don't give your name.
It really is fully anonymous. We have a phone number. That's it. That's it.
It's true. Right? Well, I mean, we technically have their phone numbers, but I don't think we're going to follow up on this. We have no plans to give any of these things to authorities, despite the fact of this show.
Well, you can't afford. You can't afford to.
I can't afford to what? Bring the authorities into things because I painted one thing in a suit?
I don't think you want to bring that up. I don't think you want to draw attention to yourself, even though that photo of you in a hazmat suit did, as someone points out right away. A radio guy I know was wearing a hazmat suit, cooking up something in the garage last weekend.
They saw me cooking. It wasn't last weekend. I used it yesterday. So this is a liar.
Have you been doing it multiple? They told me that's the first time you've put that suit on. It's the first time you fired it up in the garage.
Wasn't delivered until Monday or Tuesday,
First time you did something in the garage?
What's the other implication of the garage there? Just in general?
It's not normal to wear a hazmat suit in your garage. That's what I think it's not normal.
Yeah,
it's not normal.
From the 816, everyone in my work is throwing this lady in the office under the bus unfairly to try to get her fired.
That's messed up. Now,
do they just not like her? We need a follow-up here.
I mean, that's messed up on the surface, but what has she done to you? We need details.
Are you a part of the everyone part of this who's trying to get her fired? Is she just like an annoying? Because sometimes I think
this person's saying unfairly, which would
like if she's just annoying, that's you don't know. But if she's like actually not working, bringing the team down,
what if
she's causing your job to be worse? But if she's just a talkative person, that might be a little annoying.
If she's annoying, you can't do it. If she's really annoying, though, then I think it's okay.
What about mean?
Like, how much does she get on your nerves?
If she's mean, then that's an HR issue at that point,
So you're saying just follow the proper
channels. If she has an annoying laugh, then I think, here we
go. Details. Here it is. She almost every day messes up our jobs and is annoying.
All right, that's two things.
That's a double dip.
Yep.
Well, it doesn't sound like they're unfairly trying to get her fired at all.
Yeah,
well,
she's
the
messing
annoying
up.
part,
At
sure,
some point, you got to be accountable for messing up. Someone else from the 816 says they gave $10 to a guy begging, and he said, "Merry Christmas," clearly going to buy more drugs. Wow, that's messed up. Okay. How do you know he's going to go buy?
He said Merry Christmas, and it's March.
You're just making fun of.
No, but I feel like you're exactly. You feel like you're making fun of somebody that
should have gave him more.
Someone else says there's just a nice chair on 35 North, right between the 220.
That's a snitch.
222nd exit, right lane. Okay. Do you want to tackle this one that's like 5 texts combined, Cody, from the 913-314? Do you see that?
No, those are too hard. If it can't fit at one text.
I can't read it.
I got it. Snitching on myself, this says, this dude messed with my food during a lunch event. Immediately went to the bathroom and rubbed a paper towel against the door handle, took the thing and rubbed it on his keyboard. He did get pretty sick. Yeah, that's messed up. Someone messed with your food, though, so you feel like you just got him back. He messed with your food.
Yeah, you got even.
So you messed with his keyboard, and then he got sick, though. That's the only problem.
We allow getting even on this show, I think.
There you go. There's a bunch coming in. Snitch line. Sales job keeps ganging up on this guy who isn't performing well. The main guy on him is the leader in sales right now.
Oh, this one's interesting.
It's a fake one already. Cody's already laughing. I already know it's fake.
It was the way he said it.
This one's interesting. This one says from the 913, I was at a bar in North Kansas City and saw Cody having a drink with another woman who was not his wife. And they included the name of the restaurant. They said it was at Restless Spirits.
Okay. First.
Well, have you ever been? No, before you even explain yourself.
I thought he was done with this after the cookie drop-off at the hotel.
Have you ever been to a bar called Restless Spirits?
Yes.
Oh.
Have you been to a bar recently with a woman that is not your wife?
Yes.
And your wife is not
Whoa.
That doesn't matter.
Can you isolate
it's a friend. I can go to a bar with a friend.
So wait, Nick flat out asked you, have you been with someone other than your wife? And you said yes.
He just said 2 restless spirits. That's clearly what he meant.
And?
That's a bar, though, right?
Yes.
And you went out to get drinks.
This is not a snitch. I went out to have a drink with a friend
without
at a bar.
Your wife. Without your wife.
And she doesn't know about it. And she's
she
just now finding out.
She's not just
now
finding
she does.
out.
Yeah, now she does.
She knew before.
Uh-huh.
So you just went out to have drinks with another woman.
No, you probably told her you went out. You probably told your wife you went out with a friend.
That is what I did.
Wait, it's just
but you didn't tell her it was a woman.
She knew
it was
the girl I was going to have a drink with.
It was just you and this woman.
Yes, that's not weird behavior. Men can have friends that are women. It's actually sexist that you don't think
what time did this occur?
It was like 3:30 in the afternoon.
And what did her lips taste like?
That 3:30 part helps you. If you would have said like 9 o'clock, I would have said.
Would that have been more concerning?
Yes.
9 o'clock?
Yeah.
Because that's when you dinged me in the hotel thing, because it was like 11:30 at night.
Yeah, later at night is a little more problematic.
No, it was like 3:30.
If you're having drinks with
3 to 5 in the afternoon.
In the afternoon.
3:30 to 5 in the afternoon.
And approximately at what time did you throw your inhibitions into the wind?
None of that is.
How long did you guys have drinks though?
An hour and a half, 2 hours.
How many drinks did you have?
Does that matter?
How many drinks did you have? Answer the question now.
Does the number of cocktails I had matter?
Yes.
I think I had 2.
How many did she have?
I don't know. Same amount, 2. Is that not an acceptable number of
drinks? At any point, did either of you grab each other's leg under the table?
No. We just are friends and had a drink.
And
the same as Alex might have a drink with a friend tonight.
And can you tell me the genesis of this, the origin of this relationship?
What do you mean? We knew each other in high school.
What was your relationship like in high school?
We were friends.
Is she married?
We were platonic friends.
Is she married?
She is not, but she's in a long-term committed relationship.
Recently divorced, or
so let me ask: of the 2 hours you guys spent together, 3 hours you spent together, how much of that time was spent talking about? How much of that time was spent talking about? If things would have been different,
No, none of it. 0%.
What life would have been like had you guys maybe explored that relationship a little bit more when you were younger?
0% of the conversation was related to anything like that.
Did she contact you before or after you started talking about Blue Chew?
I've just been doing those ads for a couple of weeks, so before, I guess?
Exactly. She heard him and goes, "Oh, what's he up to?
You want some drinks? Want to go get some drinks?"
No, we were really good friends.
She's
sure. Back in the area, and we got a drink to catch up.
So were you on the pill when you guys went out?
What? That makes that sound so much weirder, the way you put that.
What do you mean?
It was just like, when people say the pill, they don't normally mean that pill.
Well, you know which pill I'm talking about, the little blue pill.
First of all, Blue Chew is a chewable tablet with the same
Someone wants to
active
know if
ingredient as Viagra.
Someone
a little bit different.
Someone wants to. You said it's been. She recently moved back to Kansas City. This friend?
No, I think she's been back in Kansas City for a few years.
But you guys hadn't seen each other in a while.
No, we had not.
Okay, because someone points out, you mentioned that you went to high school together.
Correct.
And a couple weeks ago, you mentioned that at least one person at your high school once committed murder.
Correct.
So is she
the person who committed murder? No, both of them were men. The murderers.
Oh, and okay. All right. I think you are dangerous.
Weird.
A B-Dub texted in, and he's right. You're in dangerous territory, man. First, you're dropping off cookies at a hotel at 11 o'clock at night. Now you're having drinks with another woman. Are you open relationship?
You think she just didn't know I was going to go meet this person?
I just don't think you're telling her the whole story. I
did tell her the whole story. I said I'm going to go drink cocktails.
Okay. You told her you were going to go drink cocktails, but that's not really the full story, is it? The full story is I'm going to go drink cocktails with a girl that I used to be intimate with in high school.
That's not the whole story.
Oh, there's more?
Oh, my God.
We can get to it on the other side. If you have more details, we're all ears.
We'll let you gather your thoughts, Cody. Be careful what you say next, and then we'll get to what's trending here and whether or not someone is actually still available out there that we're not thinking of for the Chiefs.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Subscribe and download to the Character Concerns podcast right now on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. 610 Sports Radio.
In just 2 months, it'll be 2 years since I underwent SBK Advanced LASIK for my friends at Dury Vision. I was going back and thinking all the things that have changed since then, things I've been able to do a lot easier traveling, all because of not needing contacts or glasses anymore. A trip to Colorado or going rafting, there's no way I would have been able to wear glasses on the rafting trip. We were getting soaked. Water was coming over us. I just would have been a pain, would have had contacts in all day long. My eyes would have been itchy. It was that. Maybe it was our trip to Nashville over the last 2 years where we were out very, very late on Broadway Street there in Nashville. Next morning, no way my contacts would have wanted to cooperate. None of that matters anymore because I don't use contacts or glasses. I see better than I ever have, and it's because the great staff at Dury Vision told me after my long, extensive consultation that, you know what? You are a candidate. Despite being told you're not a candidate in the past, you can undergo SBK Advanced LASIK. Just call Dury Vision like I did, 913-491-3330, or go online to duryvision.com and find out more information how you can make the best decision ever like I did.
Hey everybody, this is Andrew Filipponi here, bringing you the parlay of the day, brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Things have come a little too easily for Alabama in the tournament so far. Historically, when a team wins its first 2 tournament games by 20-plus points, it does not cover in the Sweet 16. So I'll be taking San Diego State getting huge points against Bama. The game will be low scoring, and that favors the team getting 7 points. But I will take Houston laying big points against Miami. The Hurricanes are the worst defensive team left in the tournament, so in that matchup, I'll take the pre-tournament favorite, Houston. That's it for the parlay of the day. Brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app today and make every moment more with America's #1 sportsbook.
21 plus and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
You can change your career in just 4 months with Centric.
Go to Centric.com/610 and see for yourself how you can start that new career. We talk about it all the time. It's easy to get into a job you don't want. IT is the future. Make it your future.
More stability, more consistent pay, more career advancement. That's what they offer at Centric because cybersecurity and IT is the future.
You can pay with a GI Bill and several other financing options available. Go to Centric.com/610 and start your new career in as little as 4 months.
Integrity, engagement, safety, and transparency. Not just words, but a way of life at the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department. The KCKPD is currently accepting applications for both new and experienced law enforcement officers. Starting yearly pay is over $50,000 a year with opportunity for more. Civilian personal jobs are available in records and dispatch. For more info, email recruiter@kckpd.org. That's kckpd.org. Join the KCKPD team, an equal opportunity employer.
This is Larry Ryan at Ryan Lawn and Tree. Those local Ryan pros and the Clean Red trucks are employee owners, recruited from the best college horticultural programs in the country. They want to make your lawn the best looking lawn on the block. Schedule your free estimate at ryanlawn.com.
I'm McCall from Lee Summit Subaru, and we're committed to helping our community through the Subaru Love Promise, like our commitment to Hillcrest Transitional Housing to help solve homelessness. Lee Summit Subaru also sponsors several pet adoption clinics like Midwest Animal Rescue and events each year such as Dogtoberfest. If you have any charity ideas that you'd like to share with us, then come see us at Lee Summit Subaru. It's all part of the Subaru Love Promise. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru. LeeSummitSubaru.com.
The Ballerson Auto Group is an automotive source for dozens of reasons. 3 great dealerships provide everything you need.
We have over 500 vehicles, virtually anything you would want. Ford, Honda, Subaru, Chevy, Jeep, and more.
We also service all makes and models, all maintenance and parts, all bodywork and detailing. We keep your vehicle looking like new.
We are the oldest, largest family-owned auto group in Kansas City. Almost 50 years of service to over 1 million customers.
Thank you, Kansas City.
Here's football star Tony Romo for Skechers Max Cushioning Footwear.
You know when you go to your kid's game and you have to sit on those uncomfortable, super hard bleachers? That's how I feel now when I wear regular shoes. Why? Because once I started wearing Skechers Max Cushioning, I've been spoiled with how amazing extra cushioning feels. It's like going to sit on those hard bleachers and someone stuck a big cushy pillow on them. Because Skechers maxed out the cushioning with a thick, comfy slice of super light Ultra Go cushioning for a soft, pillowy feel with every step. And the comfort doesn't end there. Max Cushioning also has Skechers air-cooled Goga Mat insoles. And they're machine washable and very affordable. These definitely won't max out your budget. So don't settle for inferior cushioning. Treat yourself to maximum cushion with Skechers Max Cushioning.
You heard Tony Romo. Now feel the difference extra cushioning can make for yourself with ultra-comfortable, machine-washable Skechers Max Cushioning footwear. See all the fashionable styles of Max Cushioning for men and women at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Hey guys, this is Keenan Thompson. I have a problem with you. Yes, you. None of y'all told me that Auto Trader has millions of new and used cars that I can shop from home. I thought we were friends. I put smiles on your face, but I'm not smiling. No one told me that with Auto Trader, a dealer can deliver cars to my home or that I could shop by price on Auto Trader. No one. Consider this friendship that you just learned we had officially over. Finally, it's easy. Auto Trader.
Tax refund shock is everywhere. But what is it?
My tax refund shrank.
Mine too. The culprit? Pandemic-related stimulus payments and tax credits expiring. In this reporter's opinion, you need a tax expert.
Hey guys, Jackson Hewitt guarantees your biggest refund.
And tax prep is 50% off? Going there now.
50% off is a limited-time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Max Motors. 9 major vehicle brands to choose from. MaxMotors.com. It's Truck Month at all 5 Max Ford locations in Richmond, Harrisonville, Butler, Nevada, and Manhattan.
Hurry in while selection is best.
Get a new 2022 Ford F-150 XL Crew Cab 4-wheel drive for only $45,900.
Visit MaxMotors.com.
See dealer for details.
Coverage of opening day is brought to you by the KCKPD. Accepting applications for new and experienced law enforcement officers. KCKPD.org for more information. Equal opportunity employer. What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending.
Number one on What's Trending, Sweet 16 tonight. K-State taking on the 7-seed Michigan State Spartans. The Wildcats are a 1.5-point underdog. Tip-off at 5:30. Pregame coverage at 4:30 here on 610 Sports Radio. We'll talk more about the full Sweet 16 picture tonight and tomorrow coming up in just a little bit. But if you're trying to maybe bet on the Sweet 16, you can unlock a 2-month free trial code from BetQL. Download or open the Odyssey app, create an account or sign in, and follow 610 Sports Radio. A 2-month discount code will then be sent to your email to get some betting advice from BetQL.
Figure out what those 5-star bets are for the rest of the NCAA tournament. I guess I don't have any action on any games yet tonight. Probably need to do that before I leave work.
We will by the time we get there.
Don't worry about that. Next up on What's Trending, Aaron Wilson reporting the Bills could be in on DeAndre Hopkins. Maybe the price could be keeping the Chiefs out of the mix. I think more importantly, from more reliable, at least current sources, Jeff Darlington saying that he still kind of expects Odell Beckham Jr. to end up with the New York Jets. You might remember Diana Rossini's reporting of some of the players that Aaron Rodgers would be interested in playing with in New York. Included Odell Beckham Jr. From their perspective, if you're the Jets, you have to buy all the way in.
It's a 1 or 2 year
thing. If you're going 39, look, if you get Lamar Jackson, you could slow play this thing and play out the string. You're bringing in a 39-year-old starting quarterback. You got to play for the Super Bowl this year and next year and hope that you get one over the next 2 seasons.
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, and if you're Beckham, it would be an attractive place. You played in New York already. You're with the Giants. Now you're with the Jets, so you're familiar with that market. And we've talked about this a couple times, multiple times really, that Beckham's been available. Go back to when he requested that trade out of Cleveland, and his dad was watching breaking down the film and all that stuff. And there were rumors that he was going to go to Green Bay or Kansas City, and he ended up in L.A. He's a big city, big lights kind of guy. He just is. That's always one thing we've talked about with him. So it wouldn't surprise me, I guess. And obviously, I would like him in Kansas City, but if he goes to the Jets, I don't think anybody would be all that surprised. Thinking of New York, next up on what's trending, the Big 12, I think, is doing something that's really smart. They're partnering with Rucker Park, and they're going to have youth clinics led by its Big 12 coaches this summer, and they're trying to play exhibition games in the future at the legendary court in 2024, according to The Athletic. I think it's smart. Expand your footprint. This is a commissioner now.
A branding thing.
That's willing to be aggressive. He's not sitting around. This goes for conference realignment stuff. But if I'm an East Coast conference, I got the Big 12 trying to get a little bit of a footprint in my market. If I'm the Pac-12, we're too busy trying to get a TV deal done still. I think this is a really good sign, and it speaks to the difference of having a commissioner that isn't going to just hope that things come to him. He's going to go out and try to make things happen. And I think it's a good sign from your mark and where things are at for the conference going forward.
Andrew Marchand called those Pac-12 negotiations dicey yesterday. And the reports were this morning that Fox has never been involved in the conversations at all. Reminder, their current deal is with Fox and ESPN that gives the schools over $21 million a year. This is, again, where he'll need to continue to be aggressive so that the Big 12 can be... Honestly, I've said this before. Don't make the mistake of letting the Pac-12 live. Kill them off. Because somebody made the mistake of letting the Big 12 live the last time. They were the weakest conference. The last time we did the big overhaul, they were in the most danger. Someone let them survive, and now you might be low man on the totem pole. The Big 12 should not be looking to just survive this round of conference realignment. They should be looking to kill off the team who's the conference is the smallest, which is clearly the Pac-12 at this point. Lastly, on what's trending, unfortunate news out of baseball, Philadelphia Phillies first baseman Rhys Hoskins left their spring training game earlier today with a non-contact injury in the field. Tremendous year for Philadelphia, had a very good year themselves last season. No official word yet on what the injury is, but you know how this is with athletes, man. Non-contact injuries in the middle of the field usually imply something that's going to cost you a lot of time.
Never good. Doesn't matter. Yeah, like you said, doesn't matter what sport. That's always a bad sign immediately. So we'll see where things are at on the injury front. Again, this is when we were talking about the World Baseball Classic, that the concerns about the injury suffered there and people being critical of the World Baseball Classic. You can have freak injuries that happen in spring training. They do happen, and we unfortunately just saw one with the Phillies today. That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Before we wrap things up, we will get to the Sweet 16. We'll talk more K-State hoops, who will take on Michigan State, as we mentioned, tonight, and give our thoughts on the rest of the Sweet 16 field. But let's get back to the wide receiver stuff. In particular, giving you the updates, right? There's the Aaron Wilson report that says that the Chiefs financially may not be able to compete on the DeAndre Hopkins trade. We'll see if that happens.
Or might not want to. You know, I'd say they couldn't, that they wouldn't want to necessarily.
Yeah, and that the Bills are the favorites, basically, to land DeAndre Hopkins. That's according to his report. And then Jeff Darlington saying that Odell Beckham Jr., of course, and the Jets seems to be the most likely scenario. So that's where we're at on that. But what else is out there? Is there somebody that has a year or two left on their current deal? Maybe it's a rookie contract, that's on a team that's just off the radar that the Chiefs could go trade for. Because in fairness, middle of last season, we didn't think they were going to trade for Kadarius Toney. We knew that Brett Veach, when he was coming out of Florida, liked Kadarius Toney.
Sure.
But we didn't think that was someone the Chiefs were actually going to trade for. So is there... not that type of player per se, but that scenario where, all right, there's somebody that's like wide receiver 2 for another team, and a team knows they're going to have to pay him in a year, and they're not going to pay him, and the Chiefs are willing to pay that guy maybe next year, so they're going to trade for him. Does that exist? No,
I'd rather they do that than sign the available free agent wide receivers, because then in my case, you are handpicking someone off a roster to do it. Why not go after a guy like Ayuk? I know that that's probably more in the long shot camp, but he fits a couple of things, right? He is essentially, in my opinion, the upgraded version of Juju Smith-Schuster. He reportedly, at one point, had some disagreement with the 49ers. They're not going to want to pay both their wide receivers, Debo Samuel and Ayuk. And he, And he's in the NFC, so at least it's slightly more realistic than, I don't know, trading for any other Denver Broncos wide receiver who might be on the market.
That's the thing. I mean, the reason why the Brandon Ayuk one I'll like remotely entertain, it's still very slim, is just because it's an NFC team versus, if the Chiefs were in the NFC and not competitive, and the Bengals weren't competitive, well, then T. Higgins would be our answer. Be like, okay, that's the guy I'd be trying to call
about. Let's talk about the guys who are more realistic.
That's not realistic, yeah. So Brandon Ayuk is slightly bit more realistic. The Mike Evans problem that I have there is Mike Evans, to me, you got to be willing then to give him $28 or $30 million a year. And are you willing to do that? Are the Chiefs willing to do that? And I would guess the answer is no. That's my thing with Mike Evans. Yes, it's an attractive name, great receiver, but he's 29, and you would need to, after this year, where his cap hit this year, by the way, is $23 million, and then he's got multiple void years after that, so he needs a new contract. And so you're going to have to give him another 3-year deal probably.
I just don't
paying him 28 to 30.
Look, I don't need to go as far as Nick about like DJ Chark or whatever, but when you look at the available wide receivers remaining, they are all 28, 29-year-old receivers who had between 450 and 550 yards, which is the same as Elijah Moore, a guy I wanted them to trade for.
Yep.
But the upside was still there. It existed. I think Brandon Ayuk, there is still probably a ceiling. And I don't think that ceiling is as high as some of those guys like Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill and some of those superstars. To me, he is, though, the juiced-up version of Juju Smith-Schuster. He's bigger. He's a little stronger. He's a little fat. He's not like a burner by any means, but he can do all those same things inside the construct of your offense, and you will get those, I guess, 2 cheapish years because the final year of his rookie deal and then the 5th-year option going forward. What I'm trying to figure out is, do they really think they can cover? Because the thing you'd said about the yardage, I think you can technically cover the yardage from an on-paper perspective. Mm-hmm. But the other thing that we talked about with Juju that we're not bringing up as a part of this conversation is a guy you can trust on third down outside of Travis Kelce, because they have not covered that. That would have to be covered with the wide receiver they draft, or the free agent they sign would have to be that guy, but also only be a 500-yard guy, which makes it less likely.
Yeah, or if you believe someone can develop into that. Like I'm not saying it's as confident that it would happen, but I don't think we should just discount and act as if it's not possible that somebody can develop into that role. Yeah,
it's not calling it impossible, but it's much harder to count on.
Well, sure. I mean, like anything, if you know something's a guarantee and you've seen it before, you're going to feel more comfortable. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, the reason why we're interested in DeAndre Hopkins is because I've seen him do it in the league before.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll be good on third down.
The reason why I'm confident if the Chiefs sign Beckham is because I've seen him do it before. That's always, the unknown is what makes it a little more uneasy, maybe for some Chiefs fans. I'm not as concerned, but if we keep throwing out names, I mean, I see it on the text line, Terry McLaurin. Again, Terry McLaurin I'd be fascinated by, but you're going to trade for him and pay him $25 million a year. You got to be okay with that as a franchise and an organization.
And it just depends and the Chiefs haven't really shown a willingness to cross that line. But if this goes down, let's say the Ayuk thing, I view it as the way I would view the Orlando Brown Jr. deal. If he only comes in here for 2 years and you win a Super Bowl, I don't really care that they don't sign him to a long-term extension. At least they would have had him in the building, been able to assess him, and then make those decisions. Yeah, he might.
That's he might. You're right. Like same with DeAndre Hopkins. Like it's one thing to be like, we don't want to give it. Does the player that you trade for, you don't trade the way it usually, you don't trade for someone then have him unhappy that you're not giving him a contract. Usually,
no, but
you got
with Orlando Brown Jr., it's like they planned on giving him an extension. It just didn't work out.
Well, the Orlando Brown Jr. scenario, though, when they traded for him, there was already a mutual agreement, though, that he was going to play out his final year of his rookie contract, and then they would work on an extension. But he was good with playing out the final year of his rookie deal because he was good with it because
never really played a full season of left tackle.
Played left tackle. He thought it was going to earn him some more money, and it did. It really did. Even though we can talk about the contract structure, he did make more money playing left tackle for Kansas City as far as what it got him.
I just think he missed out on money if he had been there the year before. Signed the contract last offseason.
And Denver, you mentioned, I'm really not interested in Jerry Jeudy, and I don't think the Broncos are going to trade you, Jerry Jeudy, even if the market's gotten smaller. Now that the Browns
I don't want Jerry Jeudy anyway because they keep saying they want a first-round pick, and that's absurd.
There's no chance they're getting a first-round pick. No chance. No chance, man.
They keep saying they want it. I think it's foolish.
Yeah, there's no way someone's giving up a first for Jerry Jeudy. That's insane.
It is just it just seems like a ludicrous thought. Like, well, we spent a first. I'm like, yeah, but he's never lived up to that. Like an 800-yard receiver. Sorry, we're not really in the business of. I'm sorry you spent a first-round pick on him, but no thanks, I guess. I'd rather sign Austin Eckler at that point. I can guarantee you he's getting 80 catches and 800 yards. Weirdly enough, Austin Eckler would actually replace the yardage total gotten by Juju Smith-Schuster. Then, of course, they're got to throw to another back, though. Because then in that case, then I got to roll in how much Jared McKinnon caught. That's a whole big mess.
Tonight, K-State, Michigan State, 3-7 matchup. The Wildcats 1.5-point dogs. 5:30 tip right here on 610 Sports Radio. The total for the game, 138.5. It's not the lowest total of the weekend. That would actually belong to probably the least kind of intriguing matchup from a name appeal standpoint. That's Florida Atlantic and Tennessee a little bit later on. But Kansas State, they get to play the underdog role again. They kind of have nothing to lose. They're playing at Madison Square Garden tonight against Tom Izzo and Michigan State. Like, if there's a looser team, I think it will be K-State out of the gate. My question is still going to be both teams, who shoots the three-point ball better than they did the last matchup? Because if you're
both shot poorly.
Michigan State was 2 of 16 from 3 against Marquette, yet they still won by 9, and we know K-State got off to that terrible 0 for 11 start from 3 and yet made crucial threes when needed in the second half.
I mean, a lot of this is just, I think K-State is the more talented team. This is the second straight time where I'm choosing legacy, well-coached, balanced team, or the more talented team. Because that's the same thing that happened in Kentucky.
No, Kentucky was the more talented team. K-State was just ended up being the better. Kentucky was the more athletic NBA-esque team.
Yeah, but I think, talent, I guess, from NBA-esque team, yeah. K-State, though, had the better team. Like, I guess more talent.
They had better guards and experience in that
But I think
regard.
they were the better team the entire year. There were real risks Kentucky might miss the tournament this year. They got hot late.
Sure.
They tried to make up for that, but K-State was the better team all year. Same thing as Michigan State. They've been the better team all damn year. And I know that there seems to be a coaching discrepancy between like him and Cal or him and Tom Izzo, who's one of the best March Madness tournament coaches ever.
Yeah,
I just, Tang has proven not to really shake in the face of that adversity.
And look, maybe being the better team all year, maybe that matters in the game. We would think it's going to be close. We've obviously seen plenty of examples where the team that was better all year lost throughout the tournament. I mean, Arizona was the better team all year. They lost to Princeton. You know what I mean? We can go through. I mean, Kansas was the better team all year. They lost to Arkansas. So, I mean, I don't think that's the end-all, be-all. But, yeah, in a game where we do think it's going to be a tightly contested one and neither team's going to run away with it, I'll go Michigan State in the game. It's a coin flip type of matchup. There's a reason why the spread is what it is. But I do think Michigan State, who was really impressive to me against Marquette, a team that I viewed in pretty high regard. I thought Marquette was going to go on a deep run. They, of course, did not. And being a team by 9 of quality like that, when you were 2 of 16 from 3, is pretty impressive. Then the other game, Arkansas-UConn. UConn's the best team right now in the tournament. Doesn't mean they're going to win the national championship.
They got a lot of talent and they're
but
playing.
They've looked the best through the first 2 games of the tournament. And I think Arkansas is the fact that the spread is now 3.5, to me, is getting a little too much hype for beating Kansas. Like, that was a bad matchup, and they get credit from being down, but they were down 13 points in the second half to Kansas. And I think Connecticut is going to cause some problems for Arkansas. It's not the same as where we looked at and said, Arkansas is a great matchup against Kansas. It's good for Arkansas. I don't think you can say that UConn's a great matchup for Arkansas in this one. So I guess I'm going with 2 of the favorites, even if one's basically a pick-em, 2 of the favorites in the early games.
I don't think UConn, that seems to be the one that we're not even like having much of a conversation about, because I'm pretty sure UConn is winning this game, because to me, they have been the best team across the board. So I feel very confident that, like, as far as just play goes, I like them. I think Tennessee's way better than Florida Atlantic. The UCLA Gonzaga, because we can talk about the other ones tonight.
Yeah,
obviously, the other half of the Sweet 16's tomorrow, and we can talk about some of those games tomorrow. But the UCLA Gonzaga one is fascinating because Gonzaga goes to the Elite 8 all the time. Like, they've been 4 of the last 7 years. This would be their 5th trip to the Elite 8 since 2015. So, I mean, there's no reason to think that they will, and they still have they still have Drew Timme, who is, in college standards, a very difficult mismatch. Look, I don't know what kind of NBA pro he's going to make, but in college, Drew Timme's a problem. And that's why Gonzaga continues to do great things in the tournament and go that far, is because they always seemingly have that kind of player that is a mismatch. I think you like UCLA in that game. I'll take Gonzaga. Yeah. UCLA's had a good tournament run here in the last couple of years, too, but I don't know. Gonzaga just seemingly does it every year, so I'm having a hard time not thinking it's them.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll talk about Kansas City being on a little bit of a stage with Houston and Texas and Miami and Xavier all in Kansas City. As we've been mentioning, though, tickets, if you're trying to go to the game tomorrow, tickets, it's sold out, but on the secondary market, you can get in for $25 if you're trying to go to T-Mobile Center tomorrow for Sweet 16 games, which is pretty crazy if you're thinking about it. But yeah, the one other than the K-State Michigan State game, the game I'm excited about tonight is Gonzaga UCLA. I think it will be the best game, if not second best game. Gonzaga beat UCLA the last 2 times they played. Now that was 2021, but that was the Final Four. That was the half court buzzer beater.
I think now at this point. So we're 50-50. Yeah, we should have made a bet. We only agree on half the games.
I don't need to make a bet with you. I can just hop on FanDuel or BetMGM and make my
no,
bets.
sometimes bet again.
I'll put together a little.
Friends.
There's only 4 games, obviously, tonight, so I'll do a little 4-team parlay for fun. Like I'll just I'll parlay.
Spreads.
I'll just go spreads. A little parlay. I'll go. I guess I don't like going. The only problem is I might go total for one of them. I'm not going to go all favorites covering the spread. I'll probably go Michigan State -1.5, UConn -3.5. I'm going to take the over in that Tennessee Florida Atlantic game.
That's the lowest total of the weekend.
129.5, and then I'll take UCLA -1.5.
Nick, run through yours real quick. Who do you got in the 4 games?
Who's playing again tonight?
K-State and Michigan State.
K-State.
UConn and Arkansas.
UConn.
Tennessee and Florida Atlantic.
Florida Atlantic.
I'm surprised. That was your answer.
Cover the 4.5.
To cover the 4.5 or to win outright?
I don't know.
UCLA, Gonzaga.
Gonzaga.
You look like you're really digging in deep into something over there.
What are you working on over there? You working on a mock draft that gets a nice A- grade?
Working on ending the show.
What, you got something special planned for us?
Yeah, I do actually. Here, do you guys want me to show you? Okay, Here it is, guys. Let me know what you think.
And
that's it.
That's it?
Yeah,
that's all we get today?
That's it, guys.
Okay. Maybe we'll get MJ Melendez on the show tomorrow. We had a little scheduling difficulty with him. We'll see if we can't catch up. We got questions for MJ about do Bat Boys get paid? Should they be speeding up quicker?
Are they on the hot seat?
Are they on the hot seat? Nick was talking about me dyeing my hair.
How much do you tip the clubbies?
Yeah, MJ Melendez definitely dyed his hair blonde, as the entire Puerto Rican team that was playing in the World Baseball Classic did. So, and we'll of course talk opening day. Tomorrow will be less than a week away from opening day at Kauffman Stadium. Talk to you guys tomorrow at 10. The Drive coming up next.
They say, Brandy, you're a fine